Lu Li traversed the divine continent, becoming the eldest son of the Lu family in Qingyun City. However, his inability to cultivate led to discrimination. He was unloved by his parents and estranged from his siblings, enduring cold glances from all. Ultimately, his parents, in their pursuit to elevate his younger brother to the position of heir, cast aside this inconvenient eldest son. Fortunately, this turn of events activated the villain system within him, promising rich rewards upon the completion of tasks. Chapter 1. The Villain System. The Divine Continent, Eastern State. The foremost family in Qingyun City, the Lu family. Within the grand hall of the family estate, the patriarch Lu Tian sat in a position of authority, exuding an air of dominance. Beside him was his wife Yiling, graceful and elegant. Standing below them were three individuals, the eldest son Lu Li, the second son Lu Feng, and their younger sister Lu Shui. The boys were handsome and the girl charming, brimming with vitality. At that moment, all eyes were on Lu Li, each expression varying. Lu Tian's gaze burned with fury, creating a tense and oppressive atmosphere. Unfilial son, your actions render you unworthy of being my child, let alone deserving of the title of eldest son of the Lu family. It seems I must consider abolishing your status as heir. Li heir, as the eldest son of the Lu family. You should comprehend what is proper and what brings shame to our lineage. How could you engage in such disgraceful conduct? You have disappointed me greatly. Lu Tian and Yiling's faces were filled with anger as they unleashed their criticisms upon Lu Li, their expressions reflecting a heart-wrenching disappointment. Lu Li bowed his head, remaining silent, seemingly stupefied by the scolding. Yet, internally, he seethed with resentment. Heavenly fate, why do you toy with me so? In my past life, I was a nobody, overlooked by all, and now, in this new existence as a scion of a prominent family, I am met with disdain from my parents, hostility from my brother, rejection from my sister, and even the servants dare to trample upon me. Was my purpose in traversing here merely to endure such humiliation? Could I not be granted a golden opportunity to dominate and ascend to the pinnacle of life? Unbelievable. As Lu Li absorbed his parents' reprimands, a little demon deep within his heart screamed furiously. Indeed, he was a traveler, and moreover, he had traversed in the womb. Yet, he was devoid of the privileges typically bestowed upon such individuals. For 20 years, his life had been nothing short of tragic. The Lu family was a martial arts lineage with a history spanning hundreds of years, a prestigious clan. His grandfather was a formidable figure in the earthly realm, and his father also possessed similar prowess, renowned as the foremost family in Qingyun City. Yet, he, the eldest son of this illustrious family, was nothing more than a failure, a protagonist trapped in a nightmare, unable to cultivate. However, as a member of the Legion of Travelers, he initially harbored no worries. Brimming with confidence, he firmly believed that he would eventually acquire the essential golden opportunity of a traveler. Yet, as 2 decades passed, he experienced no transformation. Far from gaining any golden opportunity, he found himself deprived of his status as heir. The ancestral teachings of the Lu family dictated that the heir should pass down the lineage, not the younger siblings. It is this ancestral teaching that has plunged him into a predicament, in comparison to his exceptionally gifted younger brother, who radiates brilliance. He feels utterly inadequate and questions his worthiness as a potential heir. Initially, his parents showered him with affection upon his birth. But once it was revealed that he lacked the aptitude for cultivation, their demeanor shifted dramatically. All their love was subsequently directed towards his younger siblings. Throughout his upbringing, all delectable treats were consumed by his siblings first, leaving him with the remnants, while the most entertaining toys were only handed to him after his siblings had exhausted their interest. His parents euphemistically proclaimed that as the elder brother, he should yield to his siblings, admonishing him not to compete with them, but to embody the responsibilities of an older sibling. The excessive favoritism of the head of the Lu family and his wife permeated the entire household, leading not only to his siblings frequently addressing him with disdain and condescension, but also to the servants looking down upon him. At the age of 7, the body-refining elixir bestowed upon him by the family was given to his brother, Lu Feng. When he turned 10, the disciple slot at the Qingyun sect, one of the 3 dominant forces in Dongzhou that rightfully belonged to him, was likewise handed to Lu Feng. Upon reaching 18, when according to family tradition he was to be acknowledged as the young master, this designation was inexplicably postponed. Today, his brother Lu Feng, having just turned 18, hastily returned from the Qingyun sect. Subsequently, Lu Tian convened the family as senior members to re-evaluate the selection of the young master. It was all too evident that Lu Tian intended to appoint Lu Feng as the young master. Yet, as the second son, Lu Feng was ineligible for this title unless the elder son was deemed unworthy. Thus, an outrageous incident occurred. After consuming a cup of tea delivered by a servant, he was overtaken by a primal fury, and coincidentally, Lu Shui appeared at that very moment. In his moment of madness, he attempted to act inappropriately towards Lu Shui, with predictable consequences. Although Lu Shui's talents did not match Lu Feng's, she was still a martial artist, and Lu Li stood no chance of succeeding. He was swiftly beaten into unconsciousness and awoke to find himself dragged to the main hall, where he was met with severe rebuke from Lu Tian and Yi Ling. In that moment, gazing upon his parents and siblings, he felt a profound sadness envelop him. He was undeniably the most unfortunate of all transmigrators, without exception. The identity of the puppet master behind today's events mattered not. He simply wished to distance himself from them forever, never wanting to see them again. Very well. It is all my fault. Entirely my fault. Since this family offers me no place to stand, I shall leave. Surely that is acceptable? Lu Li roared in fury, releasing years of suppressed grievances and resentment, his expression twisting into something almost monstrous. Alert! Host detected extreme despair and rage, triggering the activation of the evil mastermind system. At that moment, a chilling voice echoed in Lu Li's mind. What is happening? A golden opportunity? The evil mastermind system? The unexpected turn of events left Lu Li utterly bewildered. He had waited for 20 long years, and thankfully had not given up, finally encountering his golden opportunity. The system has been activated and is currently scanning the world, gathering information. Please wait a moment. Scan complete. Information regarding the Qingyun continent has been matched. The system is now officially operational, and the first task is being issued. Task: depart from the Lu family and sever all ties. From henceforth, let us remain indifferent to one another. Notice, completion of this task will yield substantial rewards. Leave the Lu family and sever ties? Lu Li was taken aback, suddenly regaining his composure. Truly, this nefarious system demanded that he cut off relations with his family right from the start. He merely wished to run away from home, never contemplating a complete severance. Yet, such a family was hardly worth keeping. Lu Tian's expression darkened. What did you say? Do you wish to run away from home? At that moment, Lu Li felt transformed. With the system at his disposal, he was fearless. He declared boldly, indeed, not only do I wish to run away, but I also intend to sever ties with the Lu family. As these words left his lips, a profound silence enveloped the grand hall. Lu Tian's face grew grim. Surely you jest? Yi Ling sprang to her feet, reproaching, Li Er, do not speak such nonsense. You have erred. What harm is there in a few admonitions? We merely seek your well-being, wishing to guide you away from misfortune. A simple admission of fault will suffice. Lu Shui smirked, a glint of derision in her eyes, and coldly remarked, Mother, this matter cannot be resolved merely by acknowledging a mistake. Who knows if he might err again in the future? If he wishes to sever ties, let him do as he pleases. Lu Feng raised an eyebrow, a fleeting look of delight crossing his face, though he concealed it well, remaining unnoticed. With a genial demeanor, he said, Eldest brother, why must you be so harsh? Who among us is without fault? To recognize one's mistake and amend it is a virtue. You are but a fledgling, and without the Lu family's protection, you may find it exceedingly difficult to navigate the world. Heed your mother's advice, apologize to father, and we shall remain a family. A family? Lu Li laughed heartily. What a notion of family. Lu Feng, have you ever regarded me as a brother? How can you shamelessly utter such words? You seek to take everything from me. Is this your definition of family? Lu Feng furrowed his brow. Eldest brother, I had no idea you harbored such grievances against me. You have misunderstood. Lu Feng's face reflected a state of panic as he angrily glared at Lu Li, shouting, Brother, you have no evidence. Do not slander me. Lu Li responded with a cold laugh. Whether it is slander or not, you are well aware in your heart. Lu Feng retorted, What am I aware of? My character is well understood by our parents. How could I possibly commit such an act? Lu Tian furrowed his brow and said, Your brother possesses a pure disposition and has always held you in high regard. How can you doubt him? Is there truly no trust between brothers? Lu Shui glanced at Lu Feng and then at Lu Li, hesitating for a moment before firmly stating, Second brother is not that kind of person. I believe in him. Yi Ling also added, Li Er, I trust your brother. He is generous and kind to others. How could he harm his own sibling? You must have misunderstood him. Lu Li felt a surge of rage. He merely expressed his doubts and was met with unanimous opposition, while Lu Feng's words were met with unconditional trust. What had he done wrong to deserve such treatment? Lu Tian continued, I understand that you are dissatisfied regarding the selection of the young master. But the family has its own considerations. You are indeed not suited for that position. Furthermore, your brother is not an outsider. You should be happy for him. After all, he is your own brother. Can you not give him a little leeway? Suddenly, Lu Li could no longer contain himself and laughed uproariously, his voice hoarse. He is my brother, so I should give way to him? Am I indebted to him? Lu Li's words shattered his defenses completely, nearly bringing him to tears from laughter. Lu Feng secretly breathed a sigh of relief as he observed Lu Li's seemingly deranged state. a flicker of triumph crossing his eyes. Lu Tian admonished, "Enough. What are you laughing at? You commit such disgraceful acts and still have the audacity to laugh. Isn't this precisely what you desire?" Lu Li continued to laugh uncontrollably, declaring, "Even if I were utterly shameless, I would never harm my own sister. Do you not find it strange? When I was knocked unconscious, did you not check my body? Had you done so, you would have discovered the abnormalities. Yet since I awoke, you have asked nothing, only leveled accusations against me, refusing to listen to my explanations, hastily condemning me." Lu Tian and the others were taken aback. Lu Li's behavior today was indeed quite unusual. However, in the aftermath, their first thought had not been to ascertain the truth, but rather to instinctively fixate on the matter of the young master's selection, believing they could decisively conclude it, thus neglecting further consideration. In retrospect, it was undeniably unfair to Lu Li. They found themselves at a loss for words. Lu Li continued to shout, "You must be secretly rejoicing at this moment, thinking I have finally acquired a stain on my reputation, allowing you to openly strip me of my inheritance, thus enabling my own brother to ascend to the position of young master. Is this what you desire? Very well, take it all. I, Lu Li, hereby sever all ties with the Lu family. From this moment forth, I am without father or mother, without brother or sister. I am no longer the young master of the Lu family." The words echoed thunderously throughout the grand hall. Lu Feng's eyes sparkled with delight, prompting him to quickly lower his head to conceal his expression. Yi Ling, however, turned pale, her anger palpable as she exclaimed, "Lear, even if you harbor discontent, you cannot utter such heartless words. I gave you life and raised you. The Lu family has treated you well. Do you truly believe that you can sever ties with us at your whim?" Lu Shui scoffed, retorting, "Mother, there is no need to concern yourself with him. He possesses no abilities and yet dares to issue threats. If he were to step out of this door, he would struggle even to find sustenance. He is merely trying to intimidate us. He would never genuinely sever ties with the Lu family." Upon hearing this, Yi Ling also felt a sense of validation, her ire rising as she said, "How dare you threaten your own family? You were so endearing in your childhood. How have you become this way? You are truly infuriating your mother." Gradually regaining his composure, Lu Li's expression remained inscrutable as he declared, "I mean what I say. From this day forth, I am no longer a disciple of the Lu family." "Are you certain?" Lu Tian's gaze was frigid as he fixed his eyes on his eldest son, his anger barely contained. He had always been authoritative within the family, his word absolute, and no one dared to oppose him. Upon hearing Lu Li's frantic words earlier, he had felt a flicker of guilt, but now, with the audacity of such rebellious declarations, that guilt dissipated entirely. It was truly outrageous. How could a son threaten his parents with severance? Such a disloyal child was better off without. "I am certain," Lu Li replied resolutely, without a hint of hesitation. "Very well." Lu Tian slowly rose, his countenance dark as he pronounced, "In the name of the head of the Lu family, I hereby declare that from this moment on, you are expelled from the family, and shall henceforth have no ties to the Lu clan. Husband, you." Yi Ling's complexion drained of color. She wished to interject, but upon witnessing Lu Tian's unwavering expression, she realized that he was in a foul mood. Her words would be futile, and she chose to remain silent. Lu Shui trembled slightly, her face revealing a flicker of compassion, but she seemed to recall something, quickly reverting to her indifferent demeanor. She cast a glance at Lu Li, a cold smile playing at her lips. Lu Feng, however, felt a surge of joy within him, though his exterior remained composed. He stepped forward and implored, "Elder brother, you bear the blood of the Lu family and shall always be its young master. Father, mother, please do not blame my elder brother. He is merely speaking in anger. I beseech you not to cast him out. All the faults lie with me. Fenger, you are not at fault. This matter does not concern you." Lu Tian acknowledged Lu Feng with a nod of approval before turning his icy gaze back to Lu Li. "Look at your brother, in this moment. He still stands up for you, while you have done what?" Lu Feng urged, "Elder brother, why do you linger there? Apologize to father at once." Silence. Lu Li could no longer tolerate the hypocrisy of this insipid individual. He retorted, "If one wishes to keep a secret, one must not act in a way that invites discovery. Do you truly think I am oblivious? I was simply caught off guard. The tea you served today was tampered with. I witnessed you with the maid who delivered it. Enough. Elder brother, what have I done to wrong you, that you would slander me so?" With a thunderous roar, Lu Feng seemed to be engulfed in an overwhelming excitement, a formidable aura erupting from within him, surging forth like an unstoppable torrent of steel, crushing everything in its path. Lu Tian and his companions' expressions shifted slightly, instinctively channeling their energy to resist this force. However, Lu Li was in a dire predicament. Having never trained, he was utterly unprepared to withstand the might of a warrior. With a resounding crash, Lu Li was violently propelled backward, crashing heavily to the ground, blood gushing from his mouth. Brother, I didn't mean to. Lu Feng suddenly snapped to awareness, his face turning pale with fear, standing frozen in place, overwhelmed by guilt. Lear, Yi Ling and the others were taken aback, rushing to check on him. Don't touch me. Lu Li spat blood, pushing them away, laughing maniacally. Even if I die, you needn't concern yourselves. This is the son you have raised. Ruthless enough to strike down his own brother. Ha! As he laughed, blood continued to spill from his mouth. He felt himself slipping away, his heart shattered. Lu Feng had clearly acted with intent, wishing to silence him forever. I didn't mean it. I truly didn't mean it. Lu Feng said repeatedly. Guilt etched on his face, his hands tugging at his hair in self-recrimination. Lear, are you alright? Your brother didn't intend to hurt you. Please don't blame him. Let me see your injuries. Wake up. Lu Li's eyes gradually closed, the frantic calls around him failing to anchor his fading consciousness. Upon hearing, your brother didn't mean it. Please don't blame him. His heart turned to ash, resigning to the thought that perhaps it would be better to simply perish and end it all. Host has completed the task. Rewards are being distributed. At that moment, the system's voice echoed in his mind, jolting him back to a semblance of clarity. The task was complete. Yet, he was on the verge of death. What good were the rewards now? Host has gained immortality. Immortality? Truly? Lu Li's breath quickened as an enigmatic force surged through his limbs, warming and soothing him, rapidly mending his injuries. Even his shattered heart began to heal. Immortality. It was indeed immortality. Lu Li felt exhilaration wash over him. In that instant, the power of immortality resonated with his being, a grand and majestic voice reverberating in his mind, revealing the true essence of what immortality entailed. Indestructible and eternal. Even the gravest of wounds could heal, and should his body be reduced to ashes, he could still be reborn anew. This was immortality, utterly invincible. Ha! Lu Li felt his body restored to its former state, brimming with vitality. With a spirited leap, he sprang to his feet, unable to contain his laughter. From this day forth, the world was his to traverse, free from fear of anyone or anything. Chapter 3. Estrangement from Family. Vengeance. Unfettered Lu Tian and the others were momentarily taken aback. Just moments ago, Lu Li had been on the brink of death. How could he now appear so vivacious? The laughter emanating from him bore no trace of injury. Was it possible that he had feigned his demise? Lu Feng gazed at Lu Li, his expression one of utter bewilderment, with a hint of astonishment flickering in his eyes. Lu Tian's countenance darkened. You dare to feign death? Feign death? Lu Li's laughter ceased abruptly. He looked coldly at his parents and siblings, declaring, No, I did not feign death. The young master of the Lu family has perished. The person before you now has severed all ties with you and the Lu family. As I step beyond this threshold today, we shall be as strangers henceforth. With that, he resolutely turned and strode away. Li Er, come back. Yi Ling called out, moving to pursue him. Lu Tian grasped Yi Ling's arm, forcibly pulling her back. He fixed his gaze on Lu Li's retreating figure and coldly remarked, Let him go. I wish to see how he fares without the Lu family. Yi Ling urged. But there are no buts. Lu Tian's expression was grave. His unyielding aura as the family head emanated a commanding presence that discouraged dissent. Lu Shui interjected, Mother, do not concern yourself with him. He will surely return, humbled and disheveled. This is a perfect opportunity to temper his arrogance. Yi Ling considered this and, though still somewhat anxious, remained rooted in place. Lu Feng's gaze flickered, and he lamented, I did not intend to harm my elder brother. It is my fault for having just broken through to the 9th layer of the Xianguang realm, unable to control the surging power within me. If anything were to happen to him, I would pay with my life. Lu Tian reprimanded, Nonsense. What do you mean by paying with your life? Is your life so worthless? Lu Shui countered, Second brother. Eldest brother is perfectly fine. He is merely putting on an act to make us believe he is gravely injured, hoping to elicit our sympathy. You need not feel guilty about this at all. Yi Ling hurriedly approached, grasping Lu Feng's hand, and reassured him. We all know you did not act with malice, and your elder brother is unscathed. He merely spat some blood. So do not be overly hard on yourself. Lu Feng nodded gently, his eyes slightly reddening as he lowered his head, a barely perceptible smile gracing his lips. The four of them watched as Lu Li exited the family hall, gradually receding from view until he finally vanished. Disperse. Lu Tian waved his hand, and the four of them each went their separate ways. Lu Feng left the hall and walked swiftly in one direction, hastening back to his own small courtyard. Feng Er, a charming young woman approached with a smile, unabashedly taking Lu Feng's hand, her face radiating affection. Lu Feng's face blossomed into a sunlit smile. Mother, I am back. The young woman nodded slightly, inquiring, What transpired? Has that wretched child been cast out? Lu Feng exclaimed with excitement, I just expelled them. From now on, No one will contest my position as the heir of the Liu family. The beautiful woman replied, that is splendid. However, do not let your guard down. Those ineffectual individuals must be swiftly dealt with to prevent any leverage against us. A glint of coldness flashed in Lu Feng's eyes as he assured, Mother, rest assured. I will handle it thoroughly. Well, I've prepared your favorite dishes. Come and savor the flavors. Any meal made by you is bound to be exquisite. I suddenly find myself quite famished. You certainly know how to please your mother. They sat down to dine, enjoying a warm and harmonious moment together. Meanwhile, Lu Li strode purposefully towards the entrance, eager to leave this place, feeling he could not remain for a moment longer. Suddenly, a charming figure caught his eye, causing him to halt in his tracks. It was the maid, Xiao Mei, petite and delightful, exuding an endearing charm. However, upon seeing her, Lu Li's expression darkened. The problematic pot of tea had been served to him by her. Seeking vengeance without delay, he resolved to teach her a painful lesson. Young master. Xiao Mei noticed Lu Li and promptly bowed, a flicker of panic crossing her face. What did you put in the tea you delivered today? Lu Li inquired. Xiao Mei trembled slightly, confused. What did I put? Of course, it was just tea leaves. Wretched girl. Lu Li raised his hand and struck her across the face, the sound echoing sharply. Ah! Xiao Mei cried out, tumbling into the nearby water basin. Fortunately, the water was shallow. After floundering momentarily, she awkwardly stood, coughing violently. Panic etched on her face. With a swift motion, Lu Li pressed her head down into the water, coldly demanding, Tell me what you added to the tea. Was it the second young master who instructed you? Xiao Mei, shivering, replied, Young master, what are you saying? I don't understand. You don't understand, do you? Allow me to clarify, Lu Li sneered, forcefully submerging her head once more. Bubbles rose as Xiao Mei struggled, attempting to surface, but Lu Li held her down. Her breaths becoming labored, her face reddening from lack of air. With a sudden motion, he pulled her head from the water, his demeanor icy. Will you speak now? Gasping for air, Xiao Mei exclaimed in terror, I don't know. Then let us continue, he said, plunging her back into the depths. This cruel cycle repeated, with each submersion lasting longer. Eventually, overwhelmed by the fear of death, when she was once again pulled from the water, she cried out in panic. It was the second young master who poisoned the tea, claiming it would help the first young master's health. I truly know nothing else. Wretched girl. Lu Li cursed once more, delivering a vicious slap that sent blood spraying from her mouth and nose, before kicking her back into the water, indifferent to her fate. As he turned and departed, many individuals within the Lu residence observed the eldest son exiting with an impassive expression, his garments stained with blood. Sensing that something was amiss, yet refraining from inquiry, merely standing at a distance and whispering among themselves. Upon leaving the Lu household, the moment Lu Li stepped beyond the threshold, he was suddenly engulfed by a profound sense of liberation, akin to a fish soaring through the boundless sea or a bird soaring through the vast sky. It felt as though he had shed a heavy burden. And in that instant, he became remarkably unencumbered. He exhaled a long-held breath of frustration and leisurely strolled down the street, reminiscing about the past as if it were merely a fleeting dream. In that moment, he felt reborn, accompanied by a system and endowed with immortality, rendering him fearless and truly free to pursue whatever he desired. This was the life he had yearned for. The only tinge of regret lingered in the fact that, in this martial arts world, he was unable to cultivate his abilities. If only he possessed formidable strength, it would be utterly perfect. Perhaps the system has a solution? System, can you resolve my cultivation dilemma? He inquired, but there was no response. System, are you there? Still, silence prevailed. In the bustling thoroughfare of Qingyun City, amidst the throngs of people, Lu Li wandered aimlessly with the crowd, murmuring to himself. He silently asked his question a dozen times, yet still received no reply, causing a flicker of anxiety within him. Could it be that the system had vanished? Suddenly, an unanticipated mechanical voice reverberated within his mind, startling him before filling him with elation. The system was still present, and it was poised to issue a new task. What could this task entail? And what rewards might accompany it? Lu Li stood still, holding his breath, awaiting the voice in his mind to resonate once more. Task details. Remain in place and await the 99th woman to pass by, offering her a passionate kiss. Lu Li was left utterly speechless. This task was absurdly frivolous. A kiss for the 99th woman passing by. A passionate kiss, no less. System, are you serious? He thought. A tempest of disbelief coursing through his mind. Is this task misassigned? He queried, but received no answer. After several more attempts to engage the system, it remained unresponsive, seemingly programmed solely to issue tasks without any intention of communicating with its host. What to do? Lu Li found himself in a quandary. While he bore no aversion to this task and, in fact, was quite willing to undertake it, he was aware that in this martial arts world, lives were deemed expendable. Kissing an ordinary woman might result in mere reprimands and a slap, but should he inadvertently kiss a female martial artist, the consequences could be dire. Wait, that was not quite right. He possessed immortality, rendering him invulnerable to harm. Safety was no longer a concern. Nevertheless, the audacity of such a scandalous task revealed the system's mischievous nature. If future tasks were to follow this lewd pattern, would he not become the world's greatest rogue? That seemed a digression. He needed to make a decision. Should he complete this task or not? Chapter 4. The Celestial Realm. Lu Li inquired, System, what rewards await upon the completion of the task? He deemed it essential to clarify, for if the rewards were lavish, he would muster the courage to persevere. However, the system offered no explicit response. Only a mechanical counting resonated within his mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The throngs of people before Lu Li were bustling, and soon, 8 women passed by. The system granted him no time for contemplation. The task had commenced. Lu Li's nerves heightened as he fixated on those who strolled past, anxiously anticipating the 99th woman. Should he be affectionate? Should he be affectionate? Regardless, the completion of the task took precedence. He resolved to go all out. After all, he would be engaging with someone, and he hoped it would be a stunning beauty. Lu Li's thoughts were tumultuous, drifting through fantasies. As if attuned to his innermost desires, when the system reached the count of 99, a graceful silhouette entered his vision. It was a girl clad in white, with fair skin, striking beauty, and long legs. Her figure was exquisite, a veritable paragon of beauty. Fortune had smiled upon him. His luck had surged. Lu Li's eyes sparkled with excitement as he approached nonchalantly, but soon his expression froze in shock. The girl bore a long sword at her waist. Moving with the swiftness of the wind, her actions decisive, clearly a warrior. Indeed, she was a martial artist, and one he recognized. Lin Miao Miao. The eldest daughter of the Lin family, one of the 4 prominent families in Qingyun City. Oh no, what a stroke of bad luck. Lu Li felt a pang of anxiety. Lin Miao Miao was notoriously fiery and overbearing, possessing profound cultivation in the condensation realm. He had previously avoided her at all costs. Should he dare to kiss her cherry lips, he feared he might be met with a flurry of blades in the next instant. What to do? Urgently seeking a solution. In his hesitation, he was unexpectedly tripped by a figure brushing past him, causing him to stagger and lurch uncontrollably toward Lin Miao Miao. What? Lin Miao Miao, ever vigilant, instinctively grasped the hilt of her sword, prepared to draw it. Yet upon realizing it was Lu Li, her movement faltered. The eldest son of the Lu family was known to be unable to cultivate, merely an ordinary person. This was common knowledge throughout Qingyun City. Lin Miao Miao relaxed her guard, and seeing Lu Li about to tumble before her, she instinctively reached out to assist him. In that moment, Lu Li had no time for further contemplation. Opportunities like this were fleeting. He seized the chance to wrap his arms around Lin Miao Miao's slender waist, leaning in to bring their faces close together, lips meeting directly. Lin Miao Miao's body stiffened, frozen as if carved from wood. Lu Li felt the softness of her delicate form, their breaths entwined, their lips brushing tenderly, sending electric sensations coursing through him. He was completely enraptured, utterly mesmerized. Their gazes locked, lips pressed together, they shared an intimate closeness. In that instant, the air thickened. Time stood still, as if the world around them had come to a halt. After a considerable time had passed, Lin Miao Miao's dark, glistening eyes shifted slightly, and her fair complexion was suddenly tinged with a delicate pink. A powerful force erupted from within her, forcefully striking Lu Li. Boom! Lu Li was directly sent flying, soaring through the air for several meters before crashing heavily to the ground, landing in a disheveled heap, blood gushing from his mouth like a fountain. He felt as if his internal organs were ablaze. The excruciating pain nearly caused him to faint. This woman was formidable, struggling to rise. Lu Li found his limbs weak and devoid of strength, feeling as though he was on the brink of death once again. To be struck down twice within a single day was truly lamentable. System, what kind of self-destructive task is this? Lu Li cursed inwardly, yet he remained remarkably composed. His immortal body was already at work, rapidly healing his injuries, and the pain gradually subsided. Was this considered task completion? Yet, why was there no reward? Onlookers nearby were left in a state of astonishment. What had just transpired? Was that not Lu Li, the young master of the Lu family? Had he lost his senses? To kiss Lin Miao Miao, the young lady of the Lin family, in broad daylight. Zhao Ting, the young master of the Zhao family, had long proclaimed Lin Miao Miao as his woman. If he were to learn that she had been kissed by another man, he would surely be enraged to the point of bloodshed. A spectacle was surely in store, as Zhao Ting would undoubtedly seek retribution. Not to mention, Lin Miao Miao would not let this transgression go unpunished. Hush, do not speak. The The young lady of the Lin family is about to unleash her fury. The crowd, eager for entertainment, whispered among themselves, their eyes fixed on Lin Miao Miao, whose face was flushed with embarrassment as she marched angrily toward Lu Li. Instantly, they held their breath. Silence enveloping the scene. "You scoundrel, I shall kill you." Lin Miao Miao, filled with indignation, unsheathed her long sword, pointing it menacingly at Lu Li's face. The chilling sword aura emanating from her, captivating all hearts. Lu Li, feeling guilty, dared not utter a word. He coughed up the blood that had lodged in his throat, staining his clothing crimson, deliberately feigning a pitiable state, hoping Lin Miao Miao would spare him. Though he could not die, injury was painful, and he wished to avoid experiencing the sensation of death once more, if possible. Lin Miao Miao was consumed by rage. After maintaining her pristine purity for 18 years, this scoundrel had sullied her. Her first kiss was lost. At that moment, she felt a burning desire for vengeance, contemplating murder. Yet upon realizing that it was unintentional, a mere accident due to a fall, she hesitated to act. Moreover, Lu Li's status prevented her from going too far. After much deliberation, she stamped her foot in frustration and declared, "Do not let me see you again. Otherwise, I shall strike you each time we meet." With that, she cast a fierce glare at Lu Li before swiftly turning away. Task completed, rewards being distributed. The voice of the system echoed in Lu Li's mind. The task was accomplished. He had bled profusely, and it had not been in vain. The task reward has been granted. The host has attained the first level of the Celestial Realm. The Celestial Realm. Lu Li's heart raced with exhilaration as he felt an immense power surge within him, akin to a torrential wave sweeping through his entire being, igniting a profound excitement. It was genuine qi, the very essence of a martial artist's strength. He had truly attained the Celestial Realm. In the continent of Shenzhou, martial cultivation is categorized from low to high as body refinement, qi, Dan condensation, mysterious light, earthly barrier, celestial barrier, and void traversing, each level comprising 10 stages. To reach the Celestial Realm signifies one as a formidable martial artist in the Eastern Province, earning deep respect. The void traversing realm denotes a regional overlord, possessing the power to alter the very fabric of reality and traverse vast distances in an instant, a true pinnacle figure. Having merely completed a single task, he had inexplicably achieved the first level of the Celestial Realm. Even the Qingyun sect, one of the 3 dominant forces in the Eastern Province, regards Celestial Realm practitioners as elders, individuals standing atop the pyramid of power. Among the 4 prominent families of Qingyun City, the mightiest among them barely reaches the earthly barrier. Were it not for the palpable sensation of that overwhelming force within him, he would scarcely believe it to be true. He had leapt from an ordinary individual lacking martial prowess to a figure of strength. What a tremendous windfall. Chapter 5. Fearless Laughter. Ha. Lu Li could no longer contain his joyous laughter. The system was truly remarkable. "Oh, beloved system, I cherish you for eternity." Overwhelmed with excitement, Lu Li's face flushed crimson, and with blood staining his lips, he appeared as if he were on the verge of death's door. He was dying. With such grievous injuries, salvation seemed impossible. Would the Lin family retaliate against the Lu family for the death of their young master? The gathered onlookers pointed at Lu Li, indifferent, as if it had nothing to do with them. Such is the coldness of human sentiment. Silence. If every one of you perished, I would still endure. Lu Li suddenly sprang to his feet, bellowing, which sent the crowd scattering in fear. The young master of the Lu family was enraged, truly a force to be reckoned with. Lu Li snorted disdainfully and turned away, heading straight for the southern city gate. Venturing outside the city, he sought a place to test the extent of his newfound Celestial Realm power. Qingyun City belonged to the Great Li dynasty, and the guards at the city gate, upon seeing Lu Li drenched in blood, initially intended to stop him. However, recognizing him as the young master of the Lu family, they dared not question him and allowed him to pass without hindrance. Exiting Qingyun City and distancing himself from the main roads, Lu Li arrived at a desolate wilderness. In the world of martial arts, strength reigns supreme. Now deemed a Celestial Realm warrior, he would henceforth let his fists do the talking. Feeling the surging power within him, a sense of invincibility washed over him, and he could not resist unleashing a punch. Boom! With a thunderous sound, the air erupted, reverberating like a clap of thunder. The ground ahead, spanning 100 feet, instantly collapsed and shattered, transforming into a wasteland. The might of a single punch is truly terrifying. Lu Li marveled inwardly. Feeling an exhilarating rush, the sensation of effortlessly shattering the earth with his fist was utterly delightful. Observing that the surroundings were deserted, he stealthily ventured into a nearby forest, commencing a series of punches and kicks to gradually acclimate to the surging power within him. Boom, boom, boom. Before long, the forest reverberated with thunderous sounds, echoing continuously, punctuated by the occasional crash of falling trees and flying rocks, startling nearby birds and beasts into frantic flight. After approximately an hour, Lu Li sensed a significant improvement in his control over the internal energy, prompting him to depart the forest and head towards Qingyun City. Fear was a thing of the past. Nothing could intimidate him now. Lu Li's spirits had never soared as high as they did at this moment, compelling him to hum a tune. As he approached the southern gate of Qingyun City, the sky gradually darkened, heralding the onset of night. A considerable number of individuals were queuing at the city gate, eager to enter. Upon hearing his peculiar melody, they turned to gaze at him, their expressions betraying bewilderment. For these outsiders were unfamiliar with the young master of the Lu family, regarding him as if he were mad. His recent fracas in the forest had left his garments tattered and stained with blood, and his eccentric humming indeed resembled that of a lunatic. While others mocked his apparent madness, he found amusement in their inability to see through his facade. Shaking his head dismissively, Lu Li ignored the gazes of the crowd and strode confidently toward the gate. He felt as if he had transcended the mundane world, rendering these mortals beneath his notice. Queuing to enter the city? An impossibility, now and forever. Lu Li bypassed the lengthy line, moving directly to the front. Halt! No cutting in line, one guard exclaimed, only to recognize him and display a mixture of surprise and a sardonic smile. Step aside. Don't obstruct my path. I'm in a hurry, Lu Li declared coolly, not pausing as he advanced into the city, dismissing the guard as a mere foot soldier. The guard's expression turned frosty. Times have changed. Do you think you are still the young master of the Lu family? The family has just announced your expulsion. You are now a mere mortal. Do not flaunt your airs here. Go to the back of the line. Lu Li was taken aback, surprised by the swiftness of the Lu family's actions to disseminate news of his dissolution that very day. Nevertheless, he shrugged off the matter and continued forward. Stop. I told you to queue. Did you not hear? Before the guard could finish, Lu Li seized him by the throat, lifting him effortlessly, causing the guard's face to flush a deep shade of purple. Boy, you're courting death. Let him go. 6 guards nearby rushed in upon witnessing the disturbance, drawing their weapons, their blades glinting menacingly. Get lost. Lu Li waved his hand, unleashing a powerful gust that sent the 6 guards tumbling, their weapons flying from their grasp as they screamed, crashing several meters away, blood spewing from their mouths as they perished. Dead. Lu Li paused, momentarily shocked. He had not intended to kill, merely to deliver a slight reprimand. It seemed his control over his strength was still somewhat lacking. However, it matters not. If death is to be, then so be it. Once the blade is drawn against him, one must be prepared for the consequences. A warrior. Those who were on the verge of entering the city were struck with terror, retreating hastily. You may leave as well. With a flick of his right hand, Lu Li sent the guard flying. Having already crossed the threshold of violence, the life of one more held little significance. The guard cried out in alarm, colliding with the city wall, and without a sound, his head exploded, blood and brains splattering in a gruesome display. The onlookers gasped in horror, their legs trembling uncontrollably. Such brutality. My apologies for delaying your entry into the city. I shall take my leave now. Please, continue on your way. Lu Li grinned, striding boldly into Qingyun City under the astonished gazes of the crowd. This was his first act of murder, and though a slight discomfort lingered, it was not overpowering. Such is the nature of this world, where human life is as inconsequential as grass. Having been raised in a prominent family, he had witnessed many scenes of death, and through constant exposure, he had grown desensitized. The guards were soldiers of the Lord's mansion, but he held no fear. The strongest lord was merely at the earthly realm. Should they dare to provoke him, he would crush them without hesitation. The Dali dynasty indeed boasted powerful warriors. Otherwise, they could not have conquered such vast lands. However, most resided in the imperial city, and Qingyun City lacked their presence. Even if there were hidden experts within the city stronger than he, with his immortal body, he felt no apprehension. Lu Li resolved that from this moment forth, he would seize every opportunity for enjoyment, indulging in all that he had previously refrained from. Whoever dared to provoke him would meet their demise. Such was his audacity. As Lu Li meandered through the streets of Qingyun City, night fell completely. When silence enveloped the night, he located a clothing store, forcefully breached the door, discarded his tattered, blood-stained garments, and donned a fitting outfit. Instantly, he appeared revitalized and strikingly handsome. As for the act of burglary, given his formidable strength, what harm could it cause? Who would dare voice an objection? He had not resorted to brazen daylight robbery, which was commendable in itself. This one outfit was insufficient. He might as well take a few more. Though he had no place to store them, and carrying them on his back was impractical. A thought struck him, and he silently inquired, "System, surely you possess storage space?" If not, he would be quite disappointed. After posing his question, he awaited a response, initially expecting none, yet suddenly sensed a spatial presence. Indeed, there was storage space. Lu Li rejoiced. The system was indeed aloof, often ignoring him, yet proved reliable in critical moments. He carefully examined the storage space, discovering it to be vast, likely capable of containing an entire city. Without hesitation, he gathered several sets of clothing and tossed them into the space. Then he turned to leave, ensuring the door was securely closed behind him. After all, having taken someone else's belongings, it would be rather discourteous to leave the door ajar. He prided himself on being a person of principle and would not engage in such unrefined acts. As Lu Li was about to depart, he suddenly sensed an unusual presence. Turning his head, he beheld a grand palanquin standing not far away, flanked by several figures who were gazing intently at him. This is bad. I've been discovered. Chapter 6. This is not stealing, it is taking. Startled, Lu Li's guilty conscience kicked in, prompting an instinctive urge to flee. Yet, a moment later, he recalled that he was a formidable warrior of the heavenly gang realm, possessing an immortal body and thus feeling no fear. Why should he escape? Good evening, everyone. What brings you out here at such a late hour? Shouldn't you be at home resting? Lu Li boldly approached, casting a sweeping glance over the group. He was no longer the same as before. With his increased prowess, his vision had soared to new heights. It was evident at a glance that these individuals were martial artists. 7th layer of the condensed Dan realm. 8th layer of the condensed Dan realm. 9th layer of the condensed Dan realm. Astonishingly, they were all from the condensed Dan realm, suggesting they belonged to a certain faction. This imposing display might intimidate ordinary individuals. But to him, it was hardly a challenge. If he so wished, he could easily crush them with a flick of his wrist. Lu Li, what are you doing? A middle-aged man with a scarred face, resembling a minor leader, spoke coldly. Lu Li replied, you know me? What I'm doing is none of your concern. I advise you, it's dangerous at night. It's best not to meddle in others' affairs, or it could cost you your life. The scarred man's expression darkened. Are you threatening us? Lu Li chuckled. Though your appearance is less than appealing, you are quite astute. Indeed, I am threatening you. Enraged, the scarred man could not tolerate being called ugly, despite it being the truth. Unforgivable. His entire being trembled as his aura surged, unleashing the full might of the 10th layer of the condensed Dan realm, causing the air to tremble. Just as he prepared to unleash his fury, a sharp voice emerged from the palanquin. Such an arrogant individual. Even after being cast out, you dare to act so brazenly. Upon hearing this, Lu Li's expression shifted slightly. That voice sounded so familiar. Could it be? A white figure flashed through his mind, and his gaze instinctively turned in that direction. The palanquin curtain fluttered, revealing a graceful figure stepping forth, her eyes resembling stars, shimmering in the night. Their gazes met. It's you. Lu Li was taken aback. Lin Miao Miao, her face frosty, declared, I clearly told you not to appear before me. If you do, I shall strike you every time we meet. Do you treat my words as mere whispers? Lu Li rolled his eyes. Who is appearing before you? It is you who has come before me. You. Lin Miao Miao's brows furrowed in anger. When speaking to me, you had better refrain from being glib, or I shall not be polite. Lu Li smiled. Feel free to be impolite. I'm not afraid. Lin Miao Miao retorted coldly. You are no longer the young master of the Lu family. How can you still act so recklessly? Are you not afraid of being killed? Who granted you such audacity? Lu Li answered. Have you heard of Liang Jingru? What? Lin Miao Miao was momentarily stunned, then coldly scoffed. Who is Liang Jingru? I do not know her. Speak. What mischief were you up to inside? Lu Li replied. Why should I tell you? What does it concern you? Lin Miao Miao retorted. How does it not concern me? This tailor shop is an enterprise of the Lin family. You sneak in at the dead of night. Are you not attempting to steal? Lu Li scoffed. Is that truly grounds for accusation? How unfortunate I am today. Stealing? Such harsh words. I merely took a few garments. Unfazed, Lu Li exuded confidence. For strength breeds assurance, and he feared no one. In the world of martial arts, might is the ultimate truth. Ah, so you admit to theft? Lin Miao Miao exclaimed. You shameless thief. Fortunately, I happened to pass by. Otherwise, you would have succeeded. You shall not escape today. I will have you imprisoned. Lu Li asserted, once more. I say, I took them. I did not steal. Besides, I have no intention of fleeing. You cannot do anything to me. Humph. With your frail physique. One slight move from me, and you would crumble. How dare you boast here? Lin Miao Miao, realizing something was amiss, scrutinized Lu Li from head to toe, her charming face gradually darkening. This fellow had no apparent cultivation during the day. Why then did he exude such profound energy now, giving an impression of unfathomable depth? Could it be that this rogue was a martial artist all along, merely concealing his true self? To encounter such coincidence twice in a single day seemed too fortuitous. Did he have ulterior motives in approaching her? Lin Miao Miao recalled that humiliating kiss, feeling as though she had been ensnared in a trap. Enraged, she declared, You scoundrel. I shall slay you. Before she could finish, she drew her sword and lunged at Lu Li with fierce intent. Miss, do not act impulsively. Scar-faced man interjected. Seizing Lin Miao Miao, his gaze remained fixed on Lu Li as he said, as a lady of noble lineage, you ought not to strike so readily. Allow me to handle this. Fuming, Lin Miao Miao responded, fine. Yang Chao, do not kill him. Beat him soundly first, then capture him. I have questions to ask. Understood. Yang Chao commanded 5 subordinates to surround Lu Li slowly. Lu Li shook his head. I have warned you all, dangers lurk in the dark. Why will you not heed my words? Yang Chao barked, enough of your nonsense. Will you surrender, or shall we force you? You need not lay a hand on me. Simply lie down. With a gentle wave of his hand, devoid of any grand display of power. Yang Chao and his men he was a master of the Xianguang realm, and I came to obstruct him. You must flee. Yang Chao, while spitting blood, struggled to rise, fixating intently on Lu Li. Although his eyes were filled with terror, he resolutely positioned himself in front of Lin Miao Miao. Lin Miao Miao appeared to be petrified with fear, rooted to the spot. The young master of the Lu family was indeed a martial artist, possessing skills surpassing the Xianguang realm. Why had he remained concealed for so long? To achieve such mastery at a young age was already a mark of genius. Yet the Lu family had cast him out. What could be the reason? Was there a hidden secret in this matter? Could the Lu family be orchestrating some sinister plot? Lin Miao Miao's mind was in a whirl. Lu Li chuckled ominously, saying, leave? Do you think you can escape? He deliberately lowered his voice, infusing it with a chilling tone that sent shivers down their spines, while subtly exuding his formidable aura, locking onto the two. Instantly, Lin Miao Miao and Yang Chao felt an overwhelming pressure, as if a mountain were crushing down upon them, rendering their bodies tremulous with fear. Such a powerful force. This man was extraordinarily strong. Their faces turned pale, as if they had plunged into an icy abyss, a paralyzing dread blossoming from the depths of their hearts, leaving them breathless. What do you intend to do? Lin Miao Miao stammered, her voice quaking with fear. What do you think I want? Lu Li sneered, his gaze roaming over Lin Miao Miao's delicate form with a predatory intensity, accompanied by a sinister laughter that would send any woman into a frenzy of alarm. Chapter 7. I am the man you will never possess. Lin Miao Miao's complexion paled. Do not act recklessly. I warn you. I am the young lady of the Lin family in Qingyun City. If you dare to lay a finger on me, you shall never leave Qingyun City. Lu Li responded with a strange laugh. What do you mean by that? Which that are you referring to? Lin Miao Miao faltered, her neck flushed with embarrassment, fury simmering within her. Yet she was too afraid to unleash it, her body trembling uncontrollably, nearly brought to tears. Seeing the young lady being toyed with, Yang Chao's anger flared. You brat. Don't think that your prowess in the Xianguang realm makes you invincible. The Lin family has masters of the Digang realm standing guard. You have severed ties with the Lu family. No one is backing you now. It would be wise to know your limits. If you withdraw now, we can pretend this never happened. Otherwise, are you threatening me? Lu Li's expression darkened as he fixed a piercing gaze upon Yang Chao, his eyes sharp as blades. Yang Chao felt a piercing pain in his eyes, his entire being shaken as an invisible force surged forth, compelling him to retreat several steps before collapsing onto the ground. What a terrifying gaze. Trembling uncontrollably, he struggled briefly, but his limbs grew weak, rendering him unable to rise, a sense of dread washing over him. Just a glance from the opponent had robbed him of his will to resist. It was simply terrifying. Yang Chao felt as though all hope had fled, collapsing helplessly onto the ground. Witnessing this scene, Lin Miao Miao's fear intensified. This man was overwhelmingly powerful. Why are you interrupting while I am speaking to your young lady? Lu Li reprimanded, turning his attention back to Lin Miao Miao. Noticing her flustered expression, he felt he had frightened her sufficiently. This young girl had quite a temper. Had she not possessed an immortal body, she might have shocked him to death at that moment. Now, they were even. Lu Li chuckled. It seems you are rather afraid of me. Lin Miao Miao bit her lip in silence, her timid demeanor evoking pity. Lu Li reassured her. There is no need to be afraid. I was merely jesting. Answer me one question, and if you respond correctly, I shall let you go. Really? Lin Miao Miao, skeptical, gazed at Lu Li with wide, blinking eyes. Lu Li nodded affirmatively, indeed. All right. My question is, did I take the clothes or steal them? Lin Miao Miao pondered for a moment before hesitantly replying. Take? Lu Li snapped his fingers, satisfied. Congratulations, you are correct. In truth, I am a good person and have never stolen anything. Lin Miao Miao's lips twitched as an inner demon screamed. If you are a good person, then there are no bad people in this world. However, she dared not voice her thoughts. Well then, I shall take my leave. You should return home and get some rest, he said before turning to depart. Lin Miao Miao was left in a daze. Was he really leaving just like that? Was he truly joking? How could she explain what had transpired earlier? He had clearly approached her with ulterior motives and had even taken her first kiss. The thought of it ignited her fury. Her first kiss was meant for her future husband, and it had been stolen by this insufferable man. What a despicable rogue. It was utterly unworthy to give her first kiss to someone like him. Yet, he did possess a certain charm, with an impressive demeanor and striking looks. Not to mention considerable strength. As Lin Miao Miao pondered this, a peculiar flush crept across her cheeks. Watching Lu Li's retreating figure, she suddenly called out, "Hey, where are you going now that the Lu family no longer wants you?" Lu Li paused, turning back with a smile. "Does where I go concern you? Could it be that you have taken a liking to me? You speak nonsense." Lin Miao Miao's face turned crimson, and she lowered her gaze, muttering, "I would never like you." What was with that coy tone? Lu Li shivered, suddenly sensing a crisis. Could it be that Lin Miao Miao truly had feelings for him? That would not do. Women would only slow his draw. Yang Chao and the others stood agape, staring at the young lady before them, who was nervously fiddling with her garment. Her demeanor betraying a shy vulnerability that was a far cry from her usual haughty self. Was this truly the Lin family heiress, who had always been disdainful of men? Had she truly developed feelings for this fellow? This simply could not be. This fellow has been cast out by the Lu family, yet still wears a nonchalant demeanor. It is imperative to keep a safe distance. Lin Miao Miao, do not indulge in delusions. I am a man you shall never possess. Lu Li suddenly turned serious, asserting that a robust life requires no woman, and it is best to draw clear boundaries to avoid future complications. Upon hearing this, Yang Chao and others nearly erupted in outrage. Is this the language of a sensible man? A man you shall never have? What status does the young lady hold? Men from all over the world line up to marry into the Lin family. They would never desire this narcissistic fellow. How utterly absurd. Who would wish to claim you? Lin Miao Miao, akin to a cat whose tail has been stepped on, was instantly infuriated, exclaiming in indignation, "You'd best leave. I no longer wish to lay eyes on you." "Then I shall take my leave." Lu Li sighed in relief and continued on his way. Observing Lu Li's expression of relief, Lin Miao Miao felt humiliated, and her anger intensified, causing her to stamp her foot furiously. "Curse that man. You better not fall into my hands. Otherwise, you shall beg for mercy on your knees." Lin Miao Miao gritted her silver teeth, seething with indignation. "Huh, women." Lu Li chuckled lightly, relishing his freedom. What need had he for women? A nuisance. "Farewell, Lin Miao Miao. May we never meet again." Mission triggered. Lu Li felt a surge of energy, yet another task awaited him. What could this mission entail? What rewards would it yield? He found himself filled with anticipation. Mission content. Lin Miao Miao develops feelings for the host. The host is to directly refuse, severing her desires swiftly. Lu Li. What manner of mission is this? His excitement dwindled to confusion. Lin Miao Miao harboring feelings for him was somewhat understandable. After all, beautiful women are drawn to heroes, or rather, to the strong, and he presently embodied strength. Thus attracting admiration from women was entirely normal. However, he had already declined her advances. Did he now need to reject her once more? Moreover, Lin Miao Miao had not explicitly declared her affection. At most, she merely entertained such thoughts. What merit is there in this refusal? Would it not incite resentment? This wretched system. It contributes nothing good, only spawning troubles. A nefarious system, indeed. Now he comprehended. He was bound to a rather unscrupulous system. What a predicament. If he were to persist with these tasks, he would undoubtedly become the most infamous villain under heaven. What to do? Perhaps severing the bond would be best. System, what would happen if I failed to complete a task? Lu Li silently pondered. The idea of severing the bond was merely a fleeting thought. How could he bear to part with it? Despite the tasks being farcical, they offered rewards that would enhance his strength. Only a fool would consider disengagement. Of course, even if he wished to sever the bond, it might not be feasible. As the system was rather aloof, primarily concerned with issuing tasks and paying little heed to him. Chapter 8. I do not like you should the mission fail. The host shall receive no rewards. Lu Li's expression shifted slightly. He had anticipated that the system would remain unyielding, yet he was taken aback by its response this time. Was this due to his inquiry regarding a task-related matter? He felt he was beginning to grasp the system's nuances. The absence of rewards for failure, devoid of any punitive measures, was rather humane. May I cancel the mission? Lu Li inquired once more. The host may cancel the mission at any time. Do you wish to cancel this mission? Absolutely not. Lu Li exclaimed hastily. It was inconceivable to cancel. A task so easily accomplished would be a pity to forfeit. Although it might be somewhat cruel to the young lady, he could only express his regrets to Lin Miao Miao. Turning back, Lu Li approached Lin Miao Miao. Gazing at her graceful figure and stunning visage, she was indeed a great beauty. The system had detected the budding affections this girl harbored for him. And it must be true. This damn charm. What do you want now? Lin Miao Miao asked, a hint of panic in her tone. Why had he returned? Staring at her so intently? Was his earlier demeanor merely a facade? Perhaps he intended to reverse his approach to pique her interest? It must be so. Convinced she had unraveled his intentions, Lin Miao Miao's fluster faded, replaced by a self-satisfied smile as she instinctively arched her back, accentuating her flawless figure. No one could resist my allure, not even him. Humph. Honestly, have you developed feelings for me? Lu Li suddenly queried. Lin Miao Miao was momentarily taken aback. He had posed this question before. Now, hearing it again, she could not help but feel a surge of shyness, her heart racing like a startled deer. Why did he persist in asking this? And with such a grave expression? Was he about to confess his feelings? Surely not. Should she refuse or accept? Elated, she was unable to suppress the fluttering of her heart. It must be said, at times, women can be bewildered, especially in the presence of a man with whom they have shared intimacy. Once ensnared in their own thoughts, they tend to interpret everything in that light. In that moment, Lin Miao Miao's intellect seemed to plummet. Gazing at Lu Li with dreamy eyes, her bashful demeanor completely overshadowed her usual haughty disposition. Yang Chao and the others had already risen, and upon witnessing their lady's demure demeanor, they were utterly dismayed. Miss, are you aware of what you are doing? What has become of your modesty, your pride? Do not let this fellow enchant you. Wake up. Lu Li spoke earnestly. Lin Miao Miao, you are a wonderful woman. Lin Miao Miao's heart leapt with joy. It was happening. He truly was about to confess. Should she respond in kind? She lowered her head, blushing as she said, in truth, I am not as remarkable as you think. However, I will never harbor feelings for you, for I do not fancy virtuous men. So, you might as well give up. I shall say it once more. I am a man you shall never possess. Upon finishing his declaration, Lu Li decisively turned away, akin to a flash of lightning in the night, vanishing into the vast darkness without a trace. Has he fled? Just like that? Yang Chao and the others exchanged glances, their faces shifting from pale to flushed as they beheld the imminent fury of the young lady, shrinking back in fear, too frightened to utter a word. Lin Miao Miao finally regained her composure. Overwhelmed with shame and indignation, she could not restrain herself from letting out a piercing scream that shattered the silence of the night, sending countless night birds into a frenzy. You despicable scoundrel! Shameless rogue! You cannot escape. I will hunt you down. I shall have your head. Yang Chao, I command you to assemble our forces immediately, scouring the entire city. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we must find that wretch. What are you still doing? Hurry! The young lady of the Lin family had completely lost her composure, personally directing hundreds of guards from the Lin residence as they rushed through the streets and alleyways, searching every nook and cranny, causing a stir throughout the city. What on earth is happening? It's the dead of night. It only then did Luo Cheng speak. The young lady was kissed in public. Boom. Lin Xinghe suddenly rose, an overwhelming aura emanating from him, causing the very air to tremble. Luo Cheng was forced to retreat repeatedly, beads of sweat quickly forming on his forehead. The young master had grown even stronger. Wiping away the perspiration, Luo Cheng couldn't help but feel a surge of trepidation. Lin Xinghe's face darkened. His sister was his Achilles heel. Anyone who dared to touch her would surely perish. Who was that person? Lu Li. Lu Li? The same fellow just expelled from the Lu family? Indeed, it was he, and his power was formidable. Previously, he had remained inconspicuous, but now his true strength had surfaced, effortlessly defeating 6 condensed Dan realm guards beside the young lady with a single strike, likely a master of the Xianguang realm. I do not care whether he is of the Xianguang realm. Anyone daring to provoke my sister will pay a dreadful price. Go summon Elder Wang. Understood. Meanwhile, deep within the Zhao residence, a furious roar suddenly erupted from a courtyard. Lu Li, how dare you lay hands on the woman I desire? You must be possessed of extraordinary courage or simply tired of living. I declare that your demise is certain. Even the heavens cannot save you. This furious shout reverberated throughout the Zhao residence, and as orders were issued, the atmosphere within grew increasingly agitated. This night, Qingyun City was destined for unrest. Chapter 9. A test for the ruler. Host has completed the task. Rewards are being distributed. Lu Li had not fled far when a notification rang in his mind, invigorating him instantly. Having previously completed tasks that granted him immortality and the Tiangang realm cultivation, he anticipated that this reward would be equally exceptional. How thrilling. The host has obtained a piece of Supreme Bone. Will you fuse it? Supreme Bone? Lu Li was overjoyed. Supreme Bone represented extraordinary talent. Merely one piece endowed its bearer with supreme potential, far exceeding the Dongshu realm. What a stroke of fortune. What am I waiting for? Fuse it. Supreme Bone fusion successful. Lu Li felt a tremor throughout his body as a rib in his chest suddenly radiated brilliant golden light. Upon introspection, he observed that this rib was adorned with countless mysterious runes, each stroke and line appearing as if woven by the very fabric of the universe, containing unfathomable power. This was the Supreme Bone. Lu Li's eyes sparkled with excitement. Although only one of his bones had transformed into supreme bone, the change it wrought was monumental. He felt as though he had undergone a profound metamorphosis. His mind was clear, and his aptitude and comprehension had surged exponentially. Even the true energy within him resonated with the supreme bone, undergoing subtle transformations, becoming more refined and potent. In that moment, he was utterly convinced that his combat prowess had dramatically increased. Battling within his realm would be effortless, and even confronting foes beyond his realm would no longer pose a challenge. With a piece of supreme bone, he could contend against heaven and earth. Lu Li was engulfed in a surge of fervor, and under the influence of the supreme bone, a myriad of martial arts insights flooded his mind, akin to the opening of a new portal that unveiled a breathtaking expanse before him. His cultivation soared rapidly, from the second layer of the celestial realm to the third. In merely a few breaths, he transcended 2 realms. Such a breakthrough speed leaves one to ponder. Who else could rival it? Ha! Unable to contain his exuberance, Lu Li erupted into joyous laughter. The exhilaration of such swift advancement was simply delightful. Yet, the effects of the supreme bone extended far beyond this. In the ensuing period, his cultivation would continue to ascend steadily, though the final state it would stabilize at remained uncertain. The prowess I possess now is entirely due to Lin Miao Miao's contribution. Should I express my gratitude towards her? Lu Li mused, stroking his chin, feeling a sense of glee. That little girl must surely despise him now. But there was little choice in the matter. It was a task issued by the system, one he could not evade. To grow stronger, he had no option but to follow the system, treading further along the path of villainy. System, please continue to issue tasks. I am ravenous for more. Lu Li silently implored, welcoming a dozen tasks, for he would labor tirelessly from dusk till dawn without complaint. However, the system remained unresponsive. Deep in thought, Lu Li realized that tasks were not simply bestowed at will. They triggered only under specific circumstances. If he could decipher the nuances of this, receiving 10 or 8 tasks a day would render him invincible in no time. A newfound vigor surged within him. What exactly constitutes a specific circumstance? Reflecting upon the moments when tasks were activated, he realized he had not been engaged in any particular activity. The system had issued tasks seemingly at random. Moreover, upon recollection, none of the tasks had been virtuous. The first involved betraying his family, while the subsequent 2 entailed teasing Lin Miao Miao, a clear display of mischief. Hence, if he were to proactively engage in wrongdoing, would the system then issue tasks? An epiphany struck Lu Li, igniting a spark of excitement within him. Then let me embrace mischief. As long as it leads to rapid strength, I shall accept the role of a rogue. Nevertheless, I shall only embody villainy while undertaking tasks. In my everyday life, I shall undoubtedly remain a paragon of virtue. This, he assured himself, solidifying his resolve and shedding the burdens he carried. As he surveyed his surroundings, his gaze fell upon a small child squatting in a dimly lit corner nearby, prompting him to stride purposefully towards the boy. The child was a little boy, his face smudged with dirt, his clothes riddled with patches, and he clutched a skewer of candied fruit, savoring it with delight. In such darkness, a solitary boy on the street certainly raised suspicions. He hardly appeared. The young boy was startled, his hand trembled, and the candied hawthorn nearly slipped from his grasp. He stared blankly at Lu Li, seemingly rendered speechless by fear. Give it here. Lu Li snatched the treat away, casting it aside without a second glance. And with a whoosh, it disappeared from sight. Wow. The boy was so frightened that he burst into tears, exclaiming, "My candied hawthorn. Mother." Lu Li remained unfazed, a cold smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. There is a saying that rings true in the world. Single women and unaccompanied children are the most vulnerable. Cry all you want. Calling for your mother will be of no use. Let us see how long you can maintain your facade. Lu Li, with a heart of stone, was utterly unmoved, while silently pondering. Having committed this misdeed, surely, a mission should be forthcoming. However, before he could await the task, an ear-piercing shriek echoed through the air. Which scoundrel dares to bully my son? Do you wish to meet your end? Lu Li's heart raced as he turned to see a plump woman hurriedly emerging from a shadowy corner, her hands fumbling at her waist, seemingly adjusting her trousers. This woman had been hiding in the corner, relieving herself. Lu Li's expression twitched as he suddenly realized his error. The boy was not lurking for any nefarious purpose, but merely left unattended while the adult had stepped away. My dear son, are you all right? The woman rushed over, enveloping the boy in her arms. Mother, he stole my candied hawthorn and threw it away. The boy cried out, his voice filled with indignation. The woman glared at Lu Li, her voice sharp as a blade. You scoundrel, why do you torment my son? Do you know who my man is? He is a renowned butcher in this area. Be wary, or you may find yourself on the receiving end of his knife. Misunderstanding. Lu Li managed a strained smile. This is all due to your stepping away to relieve yourself, leaving the child alone, which caused this misunderstanding. Before he could finish, he realized how inappropriate his words sounded and quickly silenced himself. The woman, flustered and furious, retorted, "What business is it of yours if I relieve myself? If you utter another word, I swear I will douse you." Luli was left speechless, taken aback by the woman's fierce demeanor. "Crazy woman. Come, son, let us depart." The woman shot Luli a furious glare, dragging her son away while muttering curses, leaving Luli bewildered in the wind. To his dismay, there was no mission. Luli felt utterly disappointed. He had endured a scolding without gaining anything. Had he misjudged the conditions for triggering a task? No. He must try again. Luli resolved not to reach a conclusion so hastily. He took a step forward, rounding a corner, where he encountered a burly man approaching him. In the dead of night, wandering through the dark alley, this man was likely up to no good. This time, he was certain the situation would prove fruitful. "Halt!" Luli shouted once more. The man, Zhang Ming, appeared bleary-eyed and unsteady, swaying as he walked. His mind preoccupied with thoughts of the alluring young woman from earlier, unable to suppress a lewd chuckle. Indeed, it seems that married women possess an unparalleled allure, exhibiting a myriad of enticing postures that render one utterly captivated. Zhang Ming's mind swirled with lewd thoughts when suddenly, a loud shout pierced the air ahead, startling him and causing him to tremble. He looked up to find a young man with a delicate visage, and his irritation flared. "What do you want?" Zhang Ming was unfamiliar with Luli. Even as the head of one of the 4 prominent families, it was impossible for everyone to know him, let alone the inconspicuous young master of the Lu family. "What do I want?" "I want you," Luli retorted, delivering a powerful kick that sent Zhang Ming flying several meters. He landed with a thud, rolling on the ground in a disheveled heap. Chapter 10. The Qingyun gang. "You're asking for death." Zhang Ming, suddenly jolted from his drunken stupor, felt a surge of rage. Just as he prepared to rise, a heavy foot descended from above, pressing forcefully against his chest. Boom! The resounding impact of his back colliding with the ground sent waves of pain coursing through him, nearly making him vomit blood. "Brother, let us not resort to violence. Let us discuss this calmly," he pleaded in a panic. Realizing the weight of the foot on his chest indicated he was dealing with a martial artist. Fear gripped him, and he chose to relent, lying on the ground and feigning a pitiful demeanor. "What is there to discuss?" Luli inquired coldly. Zhang Ming's face paled as he stammered, "Brother, you were sent by Master Li, weren't you? I was wrong. Please spare me. I promise to sever ties with Madame Li and will never see her again." Luli observed, "This man is indeed of questionable character, entangling himself with a married woman." Seeing Luli silent, Zhang Ming assumed he had a chance and continued, "To be honest, I never intended to engage in such immoral acts, but Madame Li is simply too seductive, actively pursuing me. In my youthful recklessness, I lost control and made a grave mistake." "Silence," Luli admonished. "You shamelessly cavort with another man's wife, corrupting morals and spreading disgraceful behavior that deserves universal scorn. Where's your sense of ethics? Where's your integrity? And where is Madame Li's chamber?" Zhang Ming, hearing Lu Li's righteous words, felt guilt wash over him, his face flushing crimson. However, upon hearing the last question, he was taken aback. This fellow was not sent by Master Li. Ha ha! A wave of relief washed over Zhang Ming, and he laughed heartily. "Brother, I never expected us to be like-minded." "Who said we are like-minded?" Lu Li's expression darkened. That last remark had merely slipped from his lips. He would never confess to harboring such thoughts. Zhang Ming chuckled. "We're all men here. Let us drop the pretense. I understand your intentions. Madame Li is indeed a rare beauty. What man wouldn't he be enamored? If you wish to pursue her, I can smack." Before he could finish, a resounding slap landed on his face, leaving him momentarily dazed. "Brother, what was that for?" "Don't try to be chummy with me," Luli retorted, delivering another slap. "Speak one more word of nonsense, and I will end you." Zhang Ming was struck twice in quick succession, feeling a fiery sting across his face as blood trickled from his lips. He found himself perplexed by Lu Li's intentions and dared not utter another word. "System, will you not issue a task?" Lu Li pondered silently, yet predictably, there was no reply. It seemed that triggering a task required more than merely engaging in misdeeds. Disheartened, Lu Li attempted once more to provoke a response through further violence, but to no avail. Was this still insufficient? Releasing Zhang Ming, he furrowed his brow in contemplation. At that moment, Zhang Ming, nearly resembling a battered swine, seized the opportunity as Lu Li ceased his assault to scramble to his feet and make a hasty retreat, only to collide head-on with a group of men clad in black. "Zhang Ming, halt!" The black-clad figures surged forward, brandishing blades and swords, their fierce demeanor matched by the menacing dragon tattoo that adorned their exposed arms, indicating their affiliation with a formidable faction. The Qingyun gang. Zhang Ming's expression shifted dramatically. Lu Li's interest was piqued. He had heard of the Qingyun gang, a notorious organization entrenched in Qingyun City, led by Duan Qingyun, a figure of considerable martial prowess who commanded a cadre of warriors. Though not comparable to true sects, they were a significant force, second only to the 4 great families in the region. His gaze swiftly scanned the 7 members of the Qingyun gang before him, recognizing them as mere lackeys devoid of true martial prowess, which diminished his interest. "Gentlemen of the Qingyun gang, have you come seeking me?" he inquired, bowing his head and donning a sycophantic smile. "Who else would we seek?" The tall, gaunt leader stepped forward, tossing a hefty cleaver at Zhang Ming's feet with a clang. "I am Zhao Dashan, and I collect debts on behalf of others. Li Yuanwei has decreed your demise. Will you take the blade to yourself, or shall I assist you?" Zhang Ming's complexion drained of color. This was disastrous. They had come to execute him, to sever my own life force. "That is unacceptable," he stammered. "Brave sirs, as the saying goes, one should spare those who seek mercy." Before he could finish, Zhao Dashan delivered a swift kick, sending Zhang Ming sprawling to the ground. "I spare no one. Spare me your prattling," he bellowed. "It appears you will not be severing anything yourself. Brothers, let us proceed to beat him senseless." The members of the Qingyun gang surged forward, unleashing a torrent of fists and feet upon Zhang Ming, who howled in agony and writhed on the ground. "Stop. No more. I was wrong. I beg you spare me. Ah, not there. Brothers, help. Help me." As Zhang Ming's cries for mercy grew more desperate and futile, he turned his gaze toward Lu Li, pleading for assistance. "You there, which path do you tread? The Qingyun gang conducts its business without interference from outsiders. I advise you, do not meddle." Zhao Dashan glared fiercely at Lu Li, his expression rife with menace. Lu Li replied calmly, "I am merely passing through. You may continue your business." Upon finishing his words, he clasped his hands behind his back, traversing past the crowd, lost in his own thoughts. Save someone? That was utterly inconceivable. It was none of his business, and he had no inclination to meddle in others' affairs. This principle guided his interactions, for he detested complications. Lu Li's steps faltered. Could this truly trigger a task? He was somewhat taken aback, yet that mattered little now. Having a task meant he must fulfill it. As for contravening principles, were they not established precisely for the purpose of being challenged? His aversion to trouble only necessitated its resolution. Task objective: rescue Zhang Ming and severely punish the disciples of the Qingyun gang. What is the meaning of this system? Was it not solely designed for malevolent deeds rather than virtuous ones? Why had it suddenly turned to the path of righteousness? Could it be that the system had undergone a transformation? No, that cannot be right. Zhang Ming was indeed a scoundrel for entangling with another man's wife. His demise would be justly deserved. Thus, rescuing Zhang Ming was not an act of valor, but rather a complicit act of wrongdoing. Indeed, the system would never allow him to perform a good deed. "Boy, did I permit you to leave?" Zhao Dashan interjected, blocking his path, a sinister smile curling at the corners of his mouth. Lu Li replied, "Then I shall not depart." Zhao Dashan coldly retorted, "You may leave, but only if you leave behind a toll." With a sudden motion, Lu Li delivered a slap across Zhao Dashan's face. "Ah!" Zhao Dashan cried out, sent flying several meters before crashing to the ground, rolling about, his face bruised and battered. Lu Li remarked nonchalantly, "You tell me to leave. Then you tell me not to. Am I to go or stay? You are causing me great confusion. You are a martial artist." Zhao Dashan gazed at Lu Li, blood oozing from his mouth and nose, a mix of astonishment and fury washing over him. To send a man flying with a mere slap was no feat of an ordinary individual. This boy was indeed a martial artist. Lu Li paid no further heed to Zhao Dashan. With a wave of his hand, he conjured a gust of wind, and the disciples of the Qingyun gang, who were pummeling Zhang Ming, were caught unawares, sent hurtling through the air, collapsing to the ground, groaning in pain, struggling to rise. Zhao Dashan and his cohorts were rendered speechless. Zhang Ming, overjoyed at his unexpected rescue, shakily rose to his feet and staggered towards Lu Li, expressing his gratitude. "Brother, your great kindness shall not go unacknowledged. Your great kindness shall not go unacknowledged." Lu Li interrupted, "Was my rescue in vain?" Scram. With that, he delivered a kick directly to Zhang Ming's chest. The system's task merely required Zhang Ming's rescue. It did not prohibit a reprimand. Such a scoundrel, who would engage in an affair with a married woman, deserved a thorough lesson. Zhang Ming fell to the ground, clutching his chest, feeling as though a steel needle were piercing his heart, causing him to gasp in agony. Lu Li dealt with both sides, leaving everyone bewildered. Chapter 11. Gifted Abilities? Lu Li addressed the gathered members of the Qingyun gang. "I have spared this adulterer, Zhang Ming. Now, will you depart on your own accord? Or shall I thoroughly thrash you before you leave?" Upon uttering these words, an eerie silence enveloped the entire scene. Zhang Ming's lips twitched, uncertain whether it was due to pain or provoked by Lu Li's words. This lad, despite his defense, resorted to such unseemly language as scoundrel. While it may have held a kernel of truth, it was undeniably a cruel insult. Zhao Dashan and his companions seethed with fury. The Qingyun gang had long been a tyrant in Qingyun City, accustomed to dominance. Even the four great families paid them due respect. When had they ever been subjected to such disdain? Were martial artists truly so formidable? The Qingyun gang had no shortage of them. Kid, which faction do you belong to? State your name. Zhao Dashan struggled to rise, glaring at Lu Li. Though fear gnawed at him, the backing of the Qingyun gang bolstered his confidence. If he could not win through strength, he would rely on his connections. It seemed they were eager for a beating. In a flash, Lu Li closed the distance. His fists a whirlwind of motion, each strike landing with resounding force. Ah, please spare me, don't strike my face. There are places you cannot hit. The Qingyun gang members, just rising, were reduced to cries of despair, their wails echoing through the air. Some bore swollen heads, others were drenched in blood, while a few suffered broken limbs. Zhao Dashan fared the worst. Blood streamed from his head, and he clutched his groin, hopping in agony, his face contorted in pain. Stop! We surrender. Zhao Dashan finally succumbed to fear, his voice a desperate howl. The intense Zhang Ming exclaimed in shock, his gaze sweeping over the countless corpses strewn across the ground. His complexion turned ashen, and his legs trembled uncontrollably, nearly succumbing to terror. Merely uttering a single word had resulted in the demise of so many. How terrifying and ruthless. Lu Li remarked, "What are you dawdling for?" Startled, Zhang Ming, fearing he might also meet the same fate, stammered, "Thank you, sir, for your timely intervention. Your life-saving grace is something I shall never forget." Lu Li retorted, "Stop with the empty words. Let us get to the point." Zhang Ming hesitated for a moment, then appeared to grasp the implication, hurriedly stating, I understand. You wish to know the whereabouts of Lady Li, correct? She resides at..." Lu Li's expression darkened. "What do you understand?" "I merely wish to express that I am currently low on funds. If you wish to show gratitude, just hand over some money. Spare me the meaningless chatter." This scoundrel, with his devious schemes, thought he had found a kindred spirit in his mischief. But how could he ever engage in such vile acts? It was utterly absurd. Zhang Ming awkwardly replied, "You want money? But I have none." Lu Li's face grew grim. "How could you possibly have no money? Hurry and produce it, or I shall be compelled to utter the word robbery." Zhang Ming protested. "Isn't this precisely robbery? Must it be stated?" Frustrated beyond measure, he lamented that he had just saved Lu Li, only to find himself threatened with robbery. How could such a person exist? "I truly have no money. Since you say so, I shall resort to robbery," Lu Li sneered. While the system tasked him with saving lives, it had not prohibited him from robbing. He was currently destitute, facing numerous inconveniences. He desperately needed some funds for unforeseen circumstances. Seeing Zhang Ming so stingy, Lu Li decided not to waste time. He unleashed his perception, enveloping Zhang Ming entirely, only to discover that this fellow truly had not a single coin to his name. "Get lost," Lu Li exclaimed, visibly displeased. He regretted having eliminated Zhao Dashan and the others. Had he known, he would have robbed them first and then dealt with them. Zhang Ming, feeling as if he had received a reprieve, fled. Task completed, reward dispersing. The task reward arrived. Lu Li's mood lifted slightly. He was not entirely empty-handed. The host has acquired the innate ability, indestructible golden spear. To his astonishment, it was an innate ability. Lu Li rejoiced. Such an ability represented the pinnacle of martial arts, with boundless power. Wait, something felt amiss. Indestructible golden spear? What on earth was that? Surely, it couldn't be what he imagined. Lu Li glanced downward, silently attuning himself, and indeed sensed a surge of energy flowing into his lower abdomen, merging with a particular part. He instantly shuddered, involuntarily quivering, and soon felt an overwhelming strength coursing through him, igniting a sense of invincibility, as if he could stand against 1,000 foes. No words were necessary. Those who understood would comprehend. From this moment forth, he was formidable and undefeated. Alas, Lu Li found himself at a loss for words. What kind of innate ability was this? Indestructible golden spear. Did he truly need it? It seems that men universally require certain things. Yet what he truly desires is to enhance his strength. This dog system, why can't it dispense some more legitimate rewards? Lu Li felt a sense of helplessness. He initially considered debating the matter, but, recalling the system's aloofness, he knew it would likely disregard him. Thus, he resigned himself to the situation. Now armed with the indomitable skill, wouldn't it be a shame not to utilize it? Lu Li mused to himself, pondering this dilemma that warranted thorough examination. Although women might influence the swiftness of his draw, it is essential to occasionally hone one's blade to prevent it from growing dull. Just moments ago, When Zhang Ming informed him of Madame Li's whereabouts, he should not have interrupted. Alas, regretting it now would yield no benefit. Shaking his head to dismiss the errant thoughts swirling in his mind, Lu Li strode out of the alley, intent on seeking a tavern for the night. As for the cost of lodging, it was of little consequence. He might lack coin, but he possessed strength. Lu Li had not ventured far when he suddenly sensed something amiss. The streets and alleys nearby were teeming with individuals, seemingly searching for something. Adhering to the principle of not meddling in others' affairs, he attempted to take a detour, only to find that every street was swarming with a thorough search. And they bore an uncanny resemblance to Yang Chao and his companions. It dawned on him that they were searching for him. A grin spread across Lu Li's face. Clearly, those individuals were Lin family's guards, and given the late hour, it was evident that Lin Miao Miao was frantically seeking him. She must be quite beside herself. However, he felt no panic. Spotting a tavern nearby, he waltzed in without a hint of disguise. Possessing strength meant he could act freely, without the need for subterfuge. Chapter 12. A word like thunder, shocking the entire scene inside the Qingyun tavern. A young attendant dozed behind the counter. Lu Li approached, gently tapping on the surface. And when he received no response, he coughed loudly. The attendant jolted awake, momentarily disoriented, and upon noticing Lu Li, he beamed. Esteemed guest, are you in need of accommodation? Indeed, I would like a decent room for the night. Certainly. You look somewhat familiar. Have you visited before? Have I? I can't quite recall. It is common for esteemed guests to forget. It's perfectly normal. One night will cost 1 or 2 silver coins, with payment required up front. The two exchanged glances, understanding each other without words. The attendant's expression gradually turned cold. This is the finest tavern in Qingyun City. If you lack funds, you are not welcome here. It is a waste of time. Please leave. Wow, how utterly superficial. Lu Li exclaimed. What if I have no money? Who decreed that one cannot stay without funds? Bang. Lu Li slammed his palm onto the counter, leaving a deep imprint. The attendant, startled, stared at the mark, utterly bewildered. Lu Li threatened. Am I permitted to stay or not? The innkeeper's face turned pale as he stammered. Why yes, we can accommodate. He's merely a worker, striving to make a living. There's no need to confront formidable characters. After all, it is the boss who bears the loss, not him. That seemed reasonable enough. I won't put you in a difficult position. Inform your employer that if there are any issues, he may approach me directly. Lu Li successfully checked into the Qingyun Inn, albeit disappointed that such tyrannical behavior had not triggered a quest. The system was lackluster, 1-star review. In truth, given his current level of cultivation, sleep was unnecessary. However, in the dead of night, while others slumbered peacefully, he would not engage in such foolishness. He had no need for meditation, so he could only succumb to sleep. Additionally, with the Lin family guards conducting a thorough search of the city, hiding away to rest was a prudent choice. Lin Miao Miao would certainly never suspect his audacity in staying at an inn. Of course, he was not afraid of the Lin family. He simply sought to avoid unnecessary troubles. After all, Lin Miao Miao was a virtuous person who had bestowed upon him many rewards, deserving of special consideration. The following day, at the Lu residence. What did you say? That ungrateful wretch dared to provoke the Lin family's eldest daughter? Lu Tian's expression darkened. Yi Ling, doubtful, interjected. Fenger, could you be mistaken? Lu Feng replied. This matter is absolutely certain. I have confirmed it repeatedly. There can be no error. Lu Shui scoffed. He was always a lecherous scoundrel. Is it not entirely expected for him to act in such a manner? The others fell silent upon hearing this. Lu Tian remarked. The news of that wretch being cast out has already spread. Did he not face dire consequences for his insolence towards the Lin family's eldest daughter? Lu Feng's demeanor grew serious. No, brother, it appears he has transformed entirely, demonstrating formidable strength. He defeated 6 of the Lin family's condensed Dan realm guards with a single strike. Impossible. Lu Tian and the others exclaimed in unison, disbelief etched upon their faces. Lu Feng cautiously continued, Father, Mother, this matter is irrefutable. Brother truly defeated 6 condensed Dan realm martial artists with a single blow, all of whom were in the latter stages of their realm. He may very well possess Xianguang realm cultivation. Has he been secretly cultivating all this time? The 4 exchanged glances, realization dawning upon them. They recalled yesterday's incident. When Lu Li had been injured by Lu Feng's released aura, yet remained lively and spirited. This was indeed peculiar. If Lu Li possessed Xianguang realm cultivation, it would explain much. 20 years old, Xianguang realm, and all achieved without any familial resources to support him, as all of Lu Li's cultivation resources had been allocated to Lu Feng. To have silently cultivated to the Xianguang realm alone was undoubtedly the mark of a martial genius, though Lu Tian and Yi Ling were reluctant to admit it. They were acutely aware that their favoritism toward Lu Feng and Lu Shui, while remaining indifferent to Lu Li, stemmed from the fact that their eldest son could not cultivate. In a family such as the Lu's, which valued martial prowess, being unable to cultivate was a grave sin. Had Lu Li revealed his talent for cultivation sooner, his standing within the Lu family would have been entirely different. Why did he choose to conceal it? Yiling suddenly spoke. Husband, since Lier is capable of cultivation and possesses considerable talent, why not bring him back? Lu Shui trembled slightly. She wished to voice her thoughts. Her lips moved. Yet no words emerged. Lu Feng frowned slightly. His hands clenched tightly as he anxiously regarded Lu Tian. Lu Tian shook his head resolutely. That is out of the question. Expelling him from the family is no trivial matter. To cast him out yesterday and welcome him back today, what would others think? It would only serve as a source of ridicule for the other 3 prominent families. Yiling replied. But, Lu Tian interrupted. No need to elaborate. This is absolutely impossible. If he dares to sever ties with the family, he must bear the consequences alone. Let him endure hardships for a year or so, and learn the harsh realities of the world. Once he recognizes his mistakes and returns to the right path, then he may kneel before me to seek forgiveness. And only then will I consider allowing him back into the family. His words were resolute, leaving no room for negotiation, and Yiling dared not press further. Lu Feng secretly exhaled in relief. Lu Tian continued. Fenger, you need not worry. Regardless of the circumstances, the position of the Lu family's heir is yours, and it will be confirmed in the coming days. Lu Feng felt a surge of joy within, yet maintained a composed exterior. It matters not who among my elder brother and I assumes the role of heir. Our family should remain united. My only hope is for my elder brother to return safely. Lu Tian replied with warmth. If your elder brother possesses even half of your merit, your mother and I shall have much less to worry about. Once you become the Lu family's heir, return to the Qingyun sect to diligently cultivate, striving to break through to the earthly barrier realm and contend for a position among the true disciples. If successful, the Lu family shall surely soar to great heights. True disciples. Lu Feng's eyes gleamed with fervor. Father, mother, rest assured I promise you, I will secure my place among the top 10 true disciples of the Qingyun sect. Excellent. Ha ha. Lu Tian laughed heartily. Yiling and Lu Shui could not help but smile as well. Lu Li awoke late, feeling refreshed. He washed up and prepared to descend for a meal, not for the sake of satiating hunger, as he had already transcended the need for sustenance, but merely to indulge his palate. Upon reaching the lower floor, he spotted the innkeeper from the previous night and greeted him with a smile. However, the innkeeper appeared visibly anxious, uttering not a word before turning to flee. Lu Li frowned, swiftly reaching out to grasp the man's shoulder, reprimanding. Why do you run? Have you committed some wrongdoing? No. How could that be? The innkeeper's gaze darted, struggling to conjure a smile that resembled a grimace more than anything else. Noticing the unusual atmosphere, Lu Li turned his attention to the spacious inn lobby, which was nearly empty, with dozens of dining tables occupied by merely 3 groups, all of whom exuded formidable strength and presence. They were all martial artists, most at the Qi Si and Dan condensation realms, with one individual at the 2nd level of the Xian light realm, likely the leader of this group. At that moment, the dozens of individuals were glaring at him with unfriendly expressions. Lin family guards? As Lu Li beheld the familiar figure clad in combat attire, understanding dawned upon him. He averted his gaze, fixing it upon the innkeeper, his expression turning icy. How dare you betray my trust? The innkeeper trembled, stammering, and no, I didn't. The Qingyun Inn is inherently a property of the Lin family. Another asset of the Lin family? Lu Li expressed his surprise. In his previous days of languid existence, he had only a fleeting knowledge of the Lu family's holdings, while the affairs of the other 3 prominent clans remained somewhat obscure to him. Indeed, the Lin family wielded considerable influence in Qingyun City, their presence palpable at every turn. I'm famished. Quickly bring forth some fine wine and exquisite dishes. Lu Li released the innkeeper, patting his shoulder, and sauntered toward a table by the window. Dismissing the hostile glares surrounding him, he seated himself with unhurried composure. What are you still dawdling for? Hurry. Observing the innkeeper frozen in place, Lu Li shot him a fierce glare. The innkeeper flinched, instinctively glancing toward the Lin family's guards. Noticing their silence, he nodded. I shall attend to it at once, esteemed guest. Please wait a moment. Lu Li casually grasped the teapot on the table, pouring himself a cup of tea. After savoring a delicate sip, he took a keen interest in the Lin family's guards, smiling as he inquired, Where is your master? Silence ensued. Lu Li continued, You sought me out for an entire night. What is it that you desire? Still, no response came. Lu Li shook his head in disdain. It appears you are merely lackeys, obediently following orders without the courage to speak. Lu Li, do not be so arrogant. Outside the Lu family, you possess no grounds for such hubris. One of the guards, a martial artist of the 2nd tier of the Xiangwei realm, slowly rose, fixating his gaze upon Lu Li with a darkened countenance. Lu Li chuckled. Finally, someone capable of speech. What is your name? The man puffed out his chest proudly, declaring, I am Wang Kuan, steward of the Lin family. Lu Li scoffed. Merely a lowly steward. How proud you are. Wang Kuan retorted with a cold snort. Do you think yourself remarkable? Were it not for the young master instructing us to observe you without taking action, I would have apprehended you long ago. The young master? Lu Li's expression shifted. You mean Lin Xinghe? It is said he is a martial genius, possessing the cultivation of the 7th tier of the Xiangwei realm at such a tender age. I wonder if that is true. Wang Kuan replied. The young master is en route. If you remain obedient, you will soon discover the truth. Lu Li remarked. Your young master holds no authority over my patience. But considering that the Qingyun Inn is graciously hosting me today, I shall wait for the duration of a meal. He observed the innkeeper beginning to serve the dishes and felt no urgency. This indeed was the finest inn in Qingyun City, offering a plethora of delectable dishes. And the speed of service was astonishingly swift. With the area sealed off by Wang Kuan and his companions, the inn was exclusively at Lu Li's service, ensuring promptness. Oblivious to the surrounding tensions, Lu Li indulged heartily, savoring his meals with unabashed delight. In no time, the table was cleared, having succumbed entirely to his voracious appetite. With a satisfied belch, Lu Li wiped his mouth and stood up contentedly. Time's up. Your young master is too slow, and I can no longer wait. With that, he stepped toward the exit. You cannot leave. Wang Kuan and his companions suddenly sprang to their feet, rushing forward to encircle Lu Li, grinning with a flash of teeth. Lu Li taunted. Are you itching for a beating? Wang Kuan scoffed. Who are you trying to intimidate? I know you defeated Yang Chao and his lot, but so what? Even if you are at the Xianguang realm, I, Wang Kuan, am not afraid. Get lost. Suddenly, Lu Li emitted a thunderous roar that reverberated like rolling thunder, shaking the entire establishment. Wang Kuan and his associates felt their hearts race, as if struck by an unseen force, leaving them on the brink of vomiting blood. Just as they were reeling in shock, a ripple emanated from Lu Li, sweeping outwards like water waves, obliterating everything in its path. Boom. Bang. A cacophony of explosions erupted, and the Lin family members were hurled backward, blood spraying from their chests where the waves had struck. Even Wang Kuan, formidable as he was, could not withstand the force. He spewed blood as he was flung across the room, crashing heavily against the wall before collapsing to the ground, dazed and disoriented. Simultaneously, every table and chair on the first floor shattered, debris scattering across the floor, leaving chaos in its wake. The onlookers were astonished. Merely uttering a single word had incapacitated dozens of martial artists, and the residual shockwave had devastated an entire floor. This terrifying spectacle left all present utterly speechless. What is this possible? Wang Kuan stammered as he struggled to rise, blood continuously flowing from his mouth. He gazed at Lu Li, his heart surging with tumultuous waves. So powerful. How could this man be so strong? He is in the 2nd layer of the Xianguang realm, yet he has been gravely injured by a single shout. What kind of strength is this? Is he perhaps at the Digang realm? As this thought crossed his mind, a chill surged from his heart to his head, leaving him feeling as if he had plunged into an icy abyss. Chapter 13. Do you wish for life or death? Lu Li remarked. TSK, with your meager strength. You dare to obstruct me? Truly oblivious to your own mortality. The others scrambled to their feet, fear etched on their faces as they looked at Lu Li, none daring to utter a word. Lu Li turned his gaze to Wang Kuan, smiling. Are you beginning to feel fear now? Wang Kuan's heart quivered, unable to meet Lu Li's gaze. He lowered his head slightly and replied, We concede today. The mountain does not shift, but the water flows. We shall meet again another day. Farewell. With that, he signaled to his subordinates and turned to leave the tavern. Lu Li coolly interjected, Did I permit you to leave? Wang Kuan froze, turning back with a hint of nervousness. What more do you want? Lu Li replied coldly, If I were weak, would you spare me? There is no such fortune in this world where one simply walks away after losing. Wang Kuan's expression darkened. We are the Lin family's guards. We bear the family's honor. You would do well to consider your actions before proceeding. Lu Li remarked, Do not threaten me, or I shall be compelled to end your lives. Wang Kuan's expression shifted, and though he wished to utter more defiant words, the coldness in Lu Li's demeanor filled him with an inexplicable dread, ultimately silencing him. Lu Li continued, That is the right attitude. If you lack strength, then be more compliant. Now answer me, do you wish to live or die? Wang Kuan opened his mouth, yearning for life, yet with so many subordinates watching, he found it difficult to admit it openly. Lu Li's countenance darkened. Your silence implies a desire for death? If so, I shall grant you that wish. I have yet to take a life, and this could serve as practice. His voice, frigid and laced with murderous intent, sent chills through the air. Wang Kuan felt the weight of that murderous aura, his limbs turning cold, panic surging within him. This young man was not jesting. He truly intended to kill. We wish to live, Wang Kuan stammered, his face flushed with humiliation, wishing he could vanish into the earth. Lu Li chuckled. If you wish to live, it comes at a price. What? Wang Kuan was taken aback. What are you waiting for? Step forward and pay up. Do not think to hide anything. Bring it all forth. Within the span of a single incense stick, Wang Kuan and his companions exited the Qingyun Inn, each one dejected and lost in despair. Not only had they endured a beating, but they had also been thoroughly robbed. The humiliation was unbearable. At that moment, they just wanted to leave this place of disgrace swiftly, return to report to their young master, and devise a plan for retribution. Wang Kuan, why do you all look so woeful? Who has bested you? Suddenly, a mocking voice echoed, dripping with schadenfreude. Wang Kuan seethed with anger, ready to explode. When he lifted his gaze to see two figures approaching, causing his expression to shift, Zhao Ting, Situ Mingyue, the young master of the Zhao family arrived. Accompanied by a graceful woman, Situ Mingyue, Zhao Ting's personal bodyguard. Wang Kuan regarded Situ Mingyue with a flicker of apprehension. It was said that she hailed from a powerful sect. Her background shrouded in mystery, and possessed a cultivation level of the fifth realm of Xinguang. She was inseparable from Zhao Ting, their relationship ambiguous. By day she was a protector, by night a companion. This was common knowledge, yet few dared to speak of it. Young Master Zhao, what do you desire? Wang Kuan asked coldly. Zhao Ting, known for his debauchery and numerous romantic entanglements, harbored an interest in Lin Miao, and as Lin's steward, Wang Kuan could not muster a pleasant demeanor. Zhao Ting replied, I heard that Lu Li is here. Has he departed? Wang Kuan, his mind racing, responded, he is inside. If you seek him, you may enter now. Zhao Ting sneered, you were bested by him, and now you wish to ensnare me? Lin Xinghe truly raises a pack of useless wretches. Watch closely, and see how this young master teaches that boy a lesson. With laughter ringing in the air, he strode confidently into the Qingyun Inn. Situ Mingyue followed closely, casting a flirtatious smile back at Wang Kuan and his companions, exuding charm. What an insufferable vixen! Wang Kuan muttered under his breath, yet he could not suppress a surge of longing, taking a considerable time to regain his composure. Such a captivating beauty in this world. If only he could have a taste of her charm, it would be worth sacrificing 10 years of his life. Zhao Ting truly revels in extraordinary fortune. A wave of envy washed over Wang Kuan, and a tinge of jealousy brewed within him, intensifying his animosity as he secretly wished for Zhao Ting to meet his demise at the hands of Lu Li. Within the Qingyun Inn, Lu Li was brimming with spoils, having stowed away the pilfered silver into his storage space. Just as he contemplated leaving, he unexpectedly collided with Zhao Ting and Situ Mingyue. Lu Li. Zhao Ting's expression darkened ominously. Zhao Ting. The moment Lu Li laid eyes on him, he sensed trouble looming, undoubtedly stemming from the incident involving Lin Miao. He chuckled. Did you come specifically to find me? Zhao Ting snorted disdainfully. Need I spell it out? You know precisely what you've done. What have I done? Lu Li feigned innocence. Yet Zhao Ting's lips twitched as images that incited his jealousy flooded his mind. Kid, do not test my limits, or you shall regret ever stepping foot in this world. Ah, I remember now. You mean the incident where I kissed Lin Miao? Silence. Isn't it about the time I touched Lin Miao's backside? Shut your mouth. Zhao Ting's forehead throbbed with veins, his eyes nearly ablaze with fury. He had already regarded Lin Miao as his own. Yet this scoundrel had taken advantage of her without his consent. At that moment, jealousy gnawed at his heart like 1,000 ants. He could not swallow this humiliation without exacting revenge. With a sinister grin, Zhao Ting declared, Lu Li, without the protection of the Lu family, you are nothing before me. Do not think that just because you have learned a trivial bit of martial arts, you consider yourself a master. You are far from it. Now, kneel and kowtow 10 times, then crawl through my legs, and I might spare your life. Otherwise, I shall have you minced and fed to the dogs. Unfazed, Lu Li retorted, is that all you've got? You think a third-tier Xinguang realm will intimidate me? Zhao Ting replied, what need is there for me to dirty my hands on you? Mingyue, I leave him to you. Do not kill him, just break his limbs first. At your command. Situ Mingyue responded with a smile, swaying her hips as she approached Lu Li. Playfully, Zhao Ting could no longer endure the situation. Feeling a troubling hue of green emerging from his scalp, with a pallid countenance, he exclaimed, Situ Mingyue, cease your flirtations and take action immediately. Situ Mingyue, her smile vanishing in an instant, fixed her enchanting gaze upon Lu Li, her voice icy as she declared, I am about to shatter your limbs. Are you prepared? Mission triggered. Mission objective. Execute the Dragon Claw technique to incapacitate Situ Mingyue and Zhao Ting's limbs. Host has comprehended the martial technique, Dragon Claw. Splendid. A mission has arrived. Moreover, I have grasped the dragon claw technique. Lu Li's heart surged with joy as a thunderous resonance filled his mind. An influx of information exploding within his memory. It was indeed the training method for the dragon claw technique, a creation of the system, exceptional in quality. Upon comprehension, it felt as though he had practiced for decades, enabling him to wield it instantaneously. Chapter 14. Dragon Claw. As Lu Li reveled in the understanding of the dragon claw, he inevitably became somewhat distracted. In the clash of masters, victory and defeat hinge upon a mere moment. Even the slightest flaw could determine life or death. Swiftly, Situ Mingyue seized the opportunity, launching her assault. She transformed into a fleeting shadow, as swift as thunder and lightning, closing the distance in an instant. I shall sever your hands first. Situ Mingyue giggled, her allure captivating, as if whispering sweet nothings to a lover, yet her strikes bore no mercy. Her arms extended, fingers curled like talons, aiming for Lu Li's shoulders. The force of her attack was so immense that her fingertips carved through the air, producing a terrifying sound of ruptured space. Should she connect, it would surely result in shattered tendons and broken bones. What a ruthless woman. A glimmer of cold light flashed in Lu Li's eyes. A mere fifth tier of the profound light realm posed no threat to him, no matter how ferocious the attack. It was inconsequential and easily countered. Boom. Lu Li raised his hand, unleashing a palm strike that caused the air to explode, a wave of energy sweeping in all directions. Situ Mingyue let out a muffled groan, feeling an overwhelming force surge towards her, forcefully pushing her arms aside and exposing her chest. She was taken aback. This young man possesses an extraordinary vigor, beyond my capacity to contend with. Realizing the precariousness of her situation, Situ Mingyue understood that facing him head-on would lead to her defeat, prompting her to retreat hastily. What an opportunity! With the mission freshly activated, Lu Li's mind was filled with the techniques of the dragon claw, and he instinctively executed it. Buzz! Lu Li curled his fingers into a claw, his speed astonishing. Akin to fleeting light, his 5 fingers left trails of afterimages in the air, whistling through the wind. With a strike of the dragon claw, the surrounding space momentarily stilled. An invisible force enveloping Situ Mingyue. Her retreat faltered as her left arm was unexpectedly seized. What a remarkable move, the dragon claw. A gleeful expression adorned Lu Li's face. This martial art was formidable. In the moment of execution, he felt an unerring sensation of hitting his target, and indeed, the outcome confirmed his expectations, a direct hit. The system's craftsmanship was, without doubt, exquisite. However, as his fingers sank into Situ Mingyue's arm, he felt a warm and gentle touch. So delightful that he hesitated to break it immediately. On the other side, Situ Mingyue felt a tremendous pain in her arm, which took her by surprise. She looked down to see a claw gripping her arm, as if a mysterious power were seeping into her body. Waves of tingling sensations coursed through her, causing her inner energy to flow uncontrollably, surging like tumultuous waves, as if yearning to merge with that hand. Could this be a special constitution? Situ Mingyue's heart raced, and a peculiar flush appeared on her delicate face. The cultivation method she practiced was designed to absorb yang and replenish yin, making her acutely sensitive to special physiques. Just the touch of Lu Li's palm triggered a reaction within her, a sensation she was all too familiar with. It was evident that Lu Li possessed a unique constitution that would greatly benefit her cultivation. This boy has such a special physique. He must be made to submit to me, becoming the stepping stone for my breakthrough. Situ Mingyue felt a surge of delight, gazing at Lu Li as if he were a treasure, her eyes brimming with possessive desire. She did not retreat nor withdraw her arm, but rather leaned in closer, drawing them nearer together. Their eyes locked, each harboring their own thoughts. In that moment, the air seemed to solidify, as if time itself had come to a standstill. Situ Mingyue, what are you doing? Zhao Ting's jealousy boiled over, and he could not restrain himself from shouting in anger. Witnessing the ambiguous scene before him nearly drove him to the brink. Situ Mingyue was his woman, although she had not been pure before him. After their encounter, he would not allow anyone else to touch her, not even her arm. That damned scoundrel was utterly unforgivable. First Lin Miao Miao, and now Situ Mingyue. Was there no woman he desired that this guy would spare? How could he endure this? Today, he would make Lu Li wish for life to escape him, and death to elude him. Act swiftly, stop dawdling, and break his limbs. Zhao Ting, seeing Situ Mingyue's lack of response as she gazed at Lu Li with affection, grew even more furious and roared once more. At that moment, Situ Mingyue was oblivious to Zhao Ting's fury. She had found a new target and was prepared to cast Zhao Ting aside. She deliberately swayed her waist to entice Lu Li, laughing sweetly. Dear sir, isn't my arm delightful to touch? Indeed, it was quite pleasant, soft and supple. Lu Li felt a surge of satisfaction within. Though his face wore a scornful expression, you've been touched, and yet can still law. Shall we find a room to engage in a profound exchange? Wow, such directness. Yet the task remains unfinished. When it comes to women and tasks, any man knows how to make his choice without a second thought. Thus, Lu Li resolutely shook his head. Woman, do not think to tempt me. I am not so easily won. I must have you today. Situ Mingyue suddenly withdrew her smile and raised her hand, striking Lu Li's forehead with a forceful slap. The gust of wind surged, demonstrating formidable power. Indeed, the words of women can often be deceptive. She had just claimed reluctance to strike, and now she had taken action. Lu Li chuckled coldly, refusing to flinch or evade, allowing her hand to collide with his head. Boom. As the force approached, the air exploded, sending a shockwave radiating from Lu Li's head, sweeping in all directions, shaking the entire Qingyun. The power behind this slap was palpable, enough to induce pain merely from observation. Well done. Excellent strike, Zhao Ting exclaimed with excitement. But his expression quickly froze. Lu Li stood motionless, a smile lingering on his face, his hand still clasping Situ Mingyue's arm without a tremor, as if her earlier blow had merely been a playful scratch. Situ Mingyue's expression changed drastically. How is it possible to withstand her strike at such close range, especially to the head, and emerge unscathed? This man's strength was extraordinary. Since you have struck me, I shall not hold back. Receive my claw, Lu Li bellowed, his fingers gripping tightly. Crack! A sharp sound echoed as Situ Mingyue's left arm broke, bending at a horrific angle, exposing her white bones. And blood gushed forth like a fountain. Chapter 15. The Destruction of the Flower. Ah! Situ Mingyue screamed in anguish, the excruciating pain in her arm dawning on her the gravity of the situation. Fear surged within her, prompting a frantic retreat while she glanced down. Her left arm was grotesquely broken, blood flowing freely, rendering it utterly useless. In that moment, an overwhelming wave of panic and terror engulfed her, with anger and hatred igniting within her like a raging wildfire, threatening to consume everything. She no longer cared about Lu Li's extraordinary constitution. Her sole desire was to kill him swiftly. Lu Li, I will kill you. Situ Mingyue's eyes reddened, and she lunged at him in a frenzy. Overestimating yourself. Lu Li scoffed, his expression cold. His right hand grasped forward, the dragon claw technique in full display, and with a piercing sound. 5 streams of finger force cut through the air, instantly penetrating Situ Mingyue's right arm, legs, and abdomen. Situ Mingyue cried out once more as she was hurled backward, crashing heavily to the ground, blood spraying and staining the surface. The disparity in their strengths was insurmountable, placing them in entirely different realms. Situ Mingyue struggled to rise, but found her limbs shattered by the force, rendering her unable to stand. Unable to exact her revenge, she was instead gravely wounded. Overwhelmed by rage, she spat out blood and fainted. Task accomplished. Half of the mission complete. Lu Li turned to Zhao Ting with a smile, saying, "You actually didn't flee. Truly deserving of being the Zhao family's young master. Your courage is commendable." Zhao Ting shivered uncontrollably, retreating in terror, his face a canvas of shock and fear. It was not courage that he possessed, but rather a stunned state of disbelief. What had this man just done? He had rendered Situ Mingyue a delicate beauty, utterly powerless. How could he be so ruthless? Although he had committed countless heinous acts, he had never stooped to such barbarity against a woman. Moreover, Situ Mingyue was at the 5th tier of the Xingyue realm, yet she had offered no resistance, being swiftly subdued, her fate uncertain. How could this young man be so formidable? With such strength, he had managed to endure in the Lu family for 20 years without revealing his true nature. The mere thought of his cunning sent shivers down Zhao Ting's spine. "Don't come any closer," Zhao Ting stammered, his voice trembling with mounting dread. Lu Li approached him step by step, chuckling ominously. "How can I not come closer? Didn't you say you wanted to break my limbs? I am a firm believer in an eye for an eye, so your limbs are as good as gone. Why you dare? I am the Zhao family's young master, and you have been expelled from the Lu family. You have no backing, no one to support you. If you lay a hand on me, you will face consequences beyond your comprehension." Zhao Ting threatened, his bravado faltering Beihai. "It can be said that we have become acquainted through conflict. From this moment onward, we shall be good brothers. If you desire a woman, I can readily offer you one. Situ Mingyue is quite splendid, skilled, and playful. If you fancy her, she shall be yours from now on." Lu Li thought, this wretched creature, to save his own skin, will utter any words. Good brothers? Who claims such a bond with you? Skilled and playful? That cannot be right. How could he possibly be that sort of person? Lu Li could not help but glance at Situ Mingyue, lying on the ground. Her figure was stunning, voluptuous, with all the right curves exuding the allure of a mature woman. She was simply flawless. However, her limbs were severed, bloodied, and gruesome, which filled him with an overwhelming sense of guilt. "This has nothing to do with me," It was all the system's doing. If it were not for the task, how could I commit such acts? Yes, it is the system that is the true culprit. Lu Li murmured to himself, casting aside the burden of guilt, and redirected his gaze. It seems Situ Mingyue is your woman. Are you willing to abandon her? Zhao Ting replied, how could that be? She is merely my guard. Beyond that, we share no relationship. Lu Li countered, do you think I would believe that? A scoundrel like you deserves to have his limbs broken. With that, he seized Zhao Ting by the shoulder and lifted him violently. Zhao Ting, startled, exclaimed, what are you doing? Let me go? Get away. Lu Li flung his AR, however. He also grasped the martial art known as the Dragon Claw technique, which is quite commendable. Could it be that the additional acquisition of the Dragon Claw technique is the reason for the mere reward of 10 years of cultivation? This seems highly plausible. For the system does not bestow benefits without cause. The Dragon Claw technique should indeed be part of the reward. With this thought, Lu Li felt a sense of relief within. Chapter 16. The coming storm. Now that the task has been accomplished, Lu Li gazed out the window, his eyes glimmering with a cold light, as murderous intent surged within him. Zhao Ting and Situ Mingyue were no pushovers, and certainly would not let matters rest. Thus, he resolved to take decisive action. He noticed the crowd on the street beginning to disperse, as Zhao Ting and Situ Mingyue were unexpectedly carried away by several strong men. Having reached the end of the street, in a moment of distraction, they turned the corner and vanished from sight. They managed to escape rather swiftly. Consider yourselves fortunate. Lu Li had no intention of pursuing them. Those two were too weak, akin to ants scurrying on the ground, daring to crawl recklessly before him, easily crushed beneath his foot. However, once they were out of sight, he saw no reason to expend further effort. What do you intend to do? The ground floor of the Qingyun Inn was in disarray, with a corpulent middle-aged man and a dozen attendants huddled in a corner, trembling at the sight of Lu Li. Having consecutively assaulted members of the Lin and Zhao families, this individual was nothing short of a madman, and a formidable one at that. They wished fervently for Lu Li to depart and never return to the Qingyun Inn. Lu Li fixed his gaze upon the plump man and inquired, who are you? I am Lin Yukai. Others call me Manager Lin. Manager Lin, is it? Your surname is Lin. Thus you must be connected to the Lin family, correct? I shall be staying here for a while longer, so do not refund my room. Staying for a while longer? Manager Lin's face turned pale. He longed to refuse, but dared not. With the young master of the Zhao family having had his limbs severed, what fate awaited him should he decline? He simply could not afford such a risk. Disregarding Manager Lin and the others, Lu Li turned and strode towards the exit. With no particular destination in mind, he intended to continue residing at the Qingyun Inn, undeterred by the prospect of trouble from the Zhao or Lin families. Should they prove unwise, he would simply eradicate them. In this world, murder bore no penalties. Those with strength could act as they pleased. Lu Li, how is it that you possess such strength? Wang Kuan, concealed in a nearby corner, watched Lu Li's departing figure, his expression shifting dramatically. Setting aside Zhao Ting, Situ Mingyue was a master of the 5th layer of the Xiangwei realm and had been defeated so utterly. This situation had spiraled beyond control. It was imperative to inform the young master at once. With a grave demeanor, Wang Kuan hurried back to the Lin estate. Within the grand hall of the Lin estate, Lin Xinghe was conversing with Lin Miaomiao. Wang Zhishir, why have you returned? Did I not instruct you to keep an eye on Lu Li? Lin Xinghe furrowed his brow upon seeing Wang Kuan enter the hall. Young master, a grave situation has arisen. Wang Kuan recounted in detail the events that transpired within the Qingyun Inn. Lu Li, your strength is indeed somewhat beyond my expectations. Lin Xinghe's gaze flickered, deep in thought, his expression growing more solemn. Lu Li interrupted Zhao Ting's limbs. Well done, that fellow deserves it. Lin Miaomiao, however, wore an excited expression. Sister, can you please focus on the main issue? Lin Xinghe glared at Lin Miaomiao and said, Lu Li has defeated Situ Mingyue, which signifies that his cultivation is at least above the 5th level of the Xinguang realm. With such prowess at such a young age, how could the Lu family possibly cast him out? This matter is likely more complicated than it appears and must be approached with caution. Lin Miaomiao pouted. I don't care about that. He dared to do such a thing to me. He must pay the price. If you hadn't stopped me, I would have gone to the Qingyun Inn to teach him a lesson. Nonsense. Lin Xinghe reprimanded. Do you think you can defeat him? The reason I restrained you is that I just received news that disciples from the Tai Su sect have appeared in Qingyun City, seemingly with significant actions that could possibly alter the existing power structure in Qingyun City. This is a serious matter and cannot be taken lightly. I need to make some arrangements to prevent the Lin family from falling into a passive position. Tai Su sect. Lin Miaomiao's expression changed slightly. The Tai Su sect is a prominent sect of the current age, with powerful figures in the Dongsu realm. Compared to them, the Lin family is utterly insignificant. However, she had not provoked the Tai Su sect, so there was no need for concern. She huffed, Lu Li bullied me. Should it just end like this? Lin Xinghe replied. The Taisu sect is about to convene the three major families to discuss important matters, which could present a great opportunity. The Lin family must seize it. Until then, it is best to avoid creating trouble. Here is the plan. You will invite Lu Li to the Lin residence. I will have a proper discussion with him and, by the way, test if he truly has been expelled from the Lu family. Lin Miao Miao's eyes twinkled with mischief. What if it's true? Lin Xinghe responded. Then that would be perfect. He has no background or support, yet dares to bully you. What a foolish endeavor. We could simply eliminate him then. Lin Miao Miao was startled. That doesn't seem right, does it? Lin Xinghe chuckled. What is the matter? Are you reluctant? Lin Miao Miao's face suddenly flushed crimson. Of course not. I wish F. Meanwhile, at the Zhao residence, Zhao Ting and Situ Mingyue were ensconced in wheelchairs, their hands and feet bound in bloodied bandages, their faces ashen. Who did this? Zhao Kuang, the head of the Zhao family, regarded the two with a countenance dark as a storm cloud. Father, it was Lu Li, Zhao Ting exclaimed with fury. I want him dead. I want him utterly annihilated. Lu Li? Zhao Kuang's eyes flickered with a glint of coldness. That useless young master of the Lu family? For him to best you both, he must possess considerable strength. That devious Lu Tian has concealed his eldest son for so many years. And now he has cast him out. What is he truly plotting? Zhao Ting bellowed, regardless of the Lu family's schemes. I demand that Lu Li meets a fate worse than death. Zhao Kuang furrowed his brow and suddenly turned to Situ Mingyue, his tone laden with significance. Miss Situ, I have heard you are also a disciple of a prominent sect. What is your perspective on Lu Li? Situ Mingyue replied, her demeanor calm. The notion of being a disciple of a great sect is merely hearsay. I am without affiliation, a solitary wanderer. As for Lu Li, I find him somewhat inscrutable, making it difficult to pass judgment. Is that so? A fleeting expression of disappointment crossed Zhao Kuang's eyes. For the time being, you both should focus on recuperating and refrain from venturing out. With that, he turned to leave. Zhao Ting hastily interjected, as for Lu Li, rest assured, he will not escape from Qingyun City. Zhao Kuang departed without a backward glance. Left in silence, Zhao Ting and Situ Mingyue exchanged glances. After a considerable pause, Zhao Ting suddenly commanded, Situ Mingyue, leave my room. Situ Mingyue chuckled lightly. What is this? Have you grown weary of my presence? Zhao Ting retorted angrily. How can you even ask? At the Qingyun Inn, why did you not heed my commands? Were you not enamored with that Lu Li? Then go find him. In a swift motion, Situ Mingyue leaped and tackled Zhao Ting to the ground, sending the wheelchair toppling over. What are you doing? Zhao Ting exclaimed sharply. Situ Mingyue perched atop him, licking her luscious lips, and teasingly replied, what else could I possibly do? Naturally, it is to indulge in you. Zhao Ting fumed. At such a time, you still think of such matters? Are you truly that starved for attention? A moment later, Situ Mingyue emerged from the room. Her complexion flushed and her spirit invigorated. Remarkably, her previously broken limbs were now restored to their original state. While the world knows the method of absorbing yang to replenish yin as a means of gaining cultivation, few realize it can also devour innate talent. Situ Mingyue slowly opened her right hand, revealing a luminous orb the size of a fist, a mysterious smile creeping onto her lips. Absorbing another's cultivation is easily detected, leading to incessant troubles. Yet, consuming innate talent remains unnoticed, which is the true path of replenishing yin with yang. With that, she pressed the orb against her dantian, gradually absorbing it through her cultivation method. A thunderous roar resonated within her, followed by an overwhelming surge of power as her cultivation soared. She had ascended to the 6th layer of the Xian light realm, in the realm of Xianguang, the 7th heaven. Unexpectedly, Situ Mingyue shattered 2 realms in an instant, ascending to the 7th heaven of Xianguang. Such a rapid advancement, if witnessed by others, would surely leave them astounded. Zhao Ting, your cultivation aptitude has been thoroughly usurped by me. From this moment forth, your progress will stagnate and gradually decline. You are of no further use to me. Farewell. And as for Lu Li, what peculiar constitution do you possess? I wonder if devouring you would enable my ascension to the earthly gang realm. My eagerness is becoming insatiable. Hee hee. Situ Mingyue chuckled heartily before quietly departing from the Zhao residence. In the room, Zhao Ting slowly regained consciousness, feeling utterly weakened, his head spinning. He could not help but curse, that wretched woman. She actually knocked me out. How increasingly audacious she becomes. No, I must consume some supplements. A man's dignity must not be forsaken. Chapter 17. A child makes choices, adults desire both at the Lu residence. News of Lu Li incapacitating Zhao Ting and Situ Mingyue swiftly reached the Lu family. Within the grand hall, Lu Tian maintained a grim silence. While Yi Ling and the others dared not utter a word, the atmosphere thick with tension. After a prolonged silence, Yi Ling could no longer contain herself. I never imagined Lier could defeat Situ Mingyue and Zhao Ting. It seems his cultivation must be at least above the fifth heaven of Xinguang. My husband, considering we provided him with no cultivation resources. He has attained this current level. His aptitude may well rival Feng's. We must bring him back immediately, lest we squander his innate talents. Upon concluding, Yi Ling gazed at Lu Tian with anticipation for his decision. Lu Shui, her expression complex, found herself astonished that the brother she had always regarded as a waste had surpassed her in strength. Yet, she remained troubled by Lu Li's past actions toward her. Wait. My brother possesses such formidable power. What could he possibly wish to do to me? I could not resist him, so how could I have knocked him out? Is there truly more to this story? My brother mentioned there was an issue with the tea. A flicker of doubt surged within Lu Shui, causing her to glance at Lu Feng. Lu Feng's eyes twitched, and he smiled. I am glad to see my brother possess such strength. Father, why not heed Mother's suggestion and bring him back? Impossible. Lu Tian retorted coldly. That rebellious son exhibited mediocrity while at the Lu family. As soon as he left home, he was eager to showcase his strength. For whom is he putting on this display? Does he wish for the Lu family to regret his departure? Such childishness. With such a temperament, he will struggle to achieve greatness. Defeating two Xinguang cultivators is hardly remarkable. Does he truly believe himself exceptional? The Lu family is replete with talented disciples, and we do not lack for his presence. Yi Ling interjected anxiously, My husband, enough. This matter shall not be mentioned again. I will never easily allow him to return to the family. Lu Tian seethed, a fire simmering within him. Had he known of Lu Li's capabilities earlier, he would never have cast him out. Lu Li's concealment and his current astonishing performance felt like a resounding slap in the face to him. If Lu Li were to return to the family in such a manner, how could he possibly face the world? As the esteemed head of the family, does he not care for his dignity? Upon witnessing Lu Tian's fury, Yi Ling, who usually followed her husband's lead, dared not utter another word. After a while, as Lu Tian's anger began to subside, he turned to Lu Feng and inquired, I have heard that a disciple from the Taishan sect has appeared in Qingyun City, gathering several prominent families to discuss important matters. Do you know what this pertains to? Lu Feng replied, I am unaware. The Taishan sect is formidable, ranking among the 3 top powers in the eastern state alongside the Xintian sect. It would be unwise to provoke them. Whatever their disciple intends to do, we should simply remain uninvolved. Lu Tian nodded. That disciple from the Taishan sect did not extend an invitation to the Lu family, likely out of respect for your affiliation with the Xintian sect. It is perhaps best that we refrain from participation and observe the developments. He then instructed, You two may leave. I have matters to discuss with your mother. As Lu Feng and Lu Shui exited the family hall, the siblings engaged in conversation. Lu Shui remarked, Elder brother, I find the previous incident troubling. Although he often appears carefree, I cannot believe that he would treat me in such a manner. He claimed that the tea he drank was tainted. Third sister, Lu Feng furrowed his brow. What do you mean by that? Are you suggesting that I truly poisoned the tea? Of course not. How could I doubt you, second brother? I was merely contemplating whether someone else sought to harm him. Lu Feng responded, Elder brother is the eldest son of the Lu family. Who would dare to harm him? Do not entertain such thoughts. By the way, the Xintian sect will be admitting a new cohort of disciples this year. You should apply, and leave the rest to me. I will ensure that you become a disciple of the Xintian sect. Then I thank you, dear brother. Lu Shui exclaimed with delight. The Xintian sect is the most prestigious sect in the eastern state. Who would not wish to join? In her excitement, she promptly cast aside her earlier concerns. We are family. There is no need for thanks. For now, refrain from wandering and focus on your training to swiftly advance to the Xinguang realm. Lu Feng affectionately ruffled Lu Shui's hair, smiling gently before turning to leave. My second brother is too kind. I truly should not doubt him, Lu Shui thought, feeling a twinge of guilt as she watched him depart, standing still for a moment. She was about to leave when she suddenly noticed 2 servants carrying a maid who appeared unwell. Wait, what has happened to her? Lu Shui inquired. The servants halted, and one respectfully replied, Miss, Xiaomei tragically passed away last night. What? Xiaomei is dead? Lu Shui gasped, realizing that Xiaomei had been attending to her elder brother. How could it be that Xiaomei died just after he left the Lu family? Suddenly, a thought struck her, and her heart raced. How did she die? We are unsure. She did not rise this morning, and when we checked on her, she had already ceased to breathe. Set her down, I wish to see. With a grave expression, Lu Shui examined the body and quickly discerned that Xiaomei had perished from a shattered heart. Xiaomei was murdered. A chilling realization gripped her as she pondered whether this was a case of silencing a witness. Lu Li wandered outside, hoping to trigger a quest. But despite his extensive stroll until afternoon, the system remained unresponsive. Oh system, why not release a task? He muttered, I am not particular, whether it involves mayhem or manipulation. I am willing to undertake anything. Come on, let the tasks come forth with greater fervor. He shouted these thoughts inwardly, attempting various temptations and provocations, yet to no avail. The system was impervious to such tactics, leaving him with no choice but to return in disappointment. Upon his arrival at the Qingyun Inn, he spotted Wang Kuan and Lin Miaomiao seated in the lobby. They instinctively stood upon seeing him. What are you doing? Waiting for me? Luli inquired. A faint smile playing on his lips as his gaze lingered on Lin Miaomiao, his eyes brightening momentarily. This young lady had appeared again. Their previous encounters had triggered 2 quests, marking her as a veritable task prodigy. He couldn't help but feel a flicker of anticipation for what might unfold this time. Lin Miaomiao, seemingly lost in thought, flushed slightly, shooting Luli an indignant glare as she exclaimed, "Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. My brother wishes to see you. Come with us to the Lin residence." "Not going," Luli replied curtly. "Why not?" She pressed. "I'm not acquainted with him." "Why would I go? I distinctly heard you say last night that you wished to kill me. What if you've laid a trap? I could walk right into it and meet my doom." Lin Miaomiao's brows furrowed in indignation. "I am not as despicable as you think." "Despicable? How so?" "I am upright and forthright," he retorted. "You kissed me yesterday. Isn't that despicable? You shameless scoundrel." She shot back. "Ah, so you're still brooding over that. Here's a proposition. I'll allow you to retaliate, and then we can bury the hatchet." Lin Miaomiao paused, intrigued. "How would I retaliate?" "Quite simply. Replicate what I did to you," Luli said, a playful grin spreading across his face. "Come now, plant your lips upon mine. Let your creativity flow." "I won't mind at all." Lin Miaomiao was taken aback, and it took her a moment to comprehend that she had been playfully teased by this insufferable rogue once again. Tempting lips? How conceited can one be? She thought. Her face flushed with embarrassment, rage bubbling to the surface like a volcano on the brink of eruption. Wang Kuan, witnessing the unfolding drama, was left speechless at the audacity of Lu Li's words. This man had no boundaries. Sensing that the young lady was on the verge of exploding, he hurriedly intervened. "Luli, you shameless scoundrel, I shall slay you," Lin Miaomiao declared, launching herself toward him. "Miss, don't be impulsive," Wang Kuan exclaimed, swiftly pulling her back. "Release her." "Miss, you are no match for him." Lin Miaomiao's body trembled. Though she was furious, she had not lost her wits. This man had defeated both Situ Mingwei and Zhao Ting, and even Wang Kuan and his companions had suffered at his hands. Charging at him would only result in her own humiliation. Calm down. Calm down. This fellow is too formidable. He is simply beyond my capabilities. Only by luring him to the Lin residence can I hope to redeem my honor." Lin Miaomiao took a deep breath, gradually calming herself. Luli frowned slightly. This young lady truly possesses remarkable patience. Yet, that is not the crux of the matter. His eloquent and vigorous performance in portraying the villain had been masterful. So why had the task not yet been triggered? What on earth is this system doing? "Luli, I have long since dismissed yesterday's events from my mind. You should visit my brother at the Lin residence and clear the air. After that, everything will be fine. What do you think?" Lin Miaomiao suddenly spoke in a soft, delicate tone, her sparkling eyes enchanting. When she noticed Luli looking her way, she feigned shyness and cast a flirtatious glance. Wang Kuan was nearly astounded, his eyes bulging. What is happening here? The young lady, usually so poised and formidable, now appears as a demure little woman. Is this truly the same young lady? Luli could not contain himself and burst into laughter. Lin Miaomiao gasped. "What are you laughing at?" Luli replied, "I apologize. I rarely laugh unless I cannot help it. Your earlier demeanor was simply too contrived." "Where was it contrived?" "It was that feigned flirtation, which utterly failed to exude any allure." You, Lin Miaomiao, exasperated, dropped the facade and said sternly, "Enough with the nonsense. Are you going to the Lin residence or not?" "Absolutely not." Luli resolutely shook his head. A true man keeps his word. If he says he will not go, then he shall not. Suddenly, a thought struck him. Why not go? After all, he possessed an immortal body and feared neither dragon's lair nor tiger's den. Moreover, the strongest in the Lin family was merely at the earthly gang's realm, presenting no threat to him. If he did not go, he would gain nothing. If he did go, perhaps the task would be triggered. After conversing with Lin Miaomiao for so long, without any task appearing, it would be prudent to try with Lin Xinghe instead. After taking advantage of the younger sister, he could do the same with the brother, an alternating strategy. That shall be my course of action. However, having already declined, would it not be rather embarrassing to change his mind? What to do? A true man must keep his word. When faced with the choice of pride or the task, which should he choose? Lin Miaomiao glared. "You truly will not go?" Luli responded, "Of course not. A true man speaks no empty words. If I say I will not go today, then I shall not, unless it be tomorrow. Only a child makes choices. An adult can have both." Lin Miaomiao was taken aback. "Tomorrow? That will not do. My brother is already waiting for you. You must go now? Lu Li replied. When I choose to go is not for you to decide. I shall visit the Lin residence tomorrow at noon. Let your brother await my arrival. With that, he brushed past Lin Miao Miao and ascended the stairs. That scoundrel. Lin Miao Miao gritted her teeth, watching Lu Li's retreating figure. Wishing she could rush over and give him a good beating, but alas, she was no match for him. Wang Kuan inquired, Miss, what shall we do now? Lin Miao Miao retorted, what else can we do? We must simply wait until tomorrow. At that time, I shall ensure he regrets it. Humph. Upon finishing her words, she turned away in anger and left in a flurry. Wang Kuan quickly followed suit. Chapter 18. The invitation from Lin Xinghe the next noon. As Lu Li stepped out of the Qingyun Inn, he spotted Wang Kuan standing at the entrance like a guardian deity. Lu Li inquired, what are you doing standing here? Afraid I might flee? Wang Kuan chuckled, not at all. I am here to guide young Master Lu. Nodding, Lu Li replied, then let us proceed. The two made their way to the Lin Manor. After a short while, Wang Kuan tentatively remarked, young Master Lu, at such a young age, possesses remarkable strength, which is quite rare. Yet, why has your name not been well known before? Lu Li smiled and replied, perhaps my younger brother is too dazzling, overshadowing my brilliance? Wang Kuan responded, you jest, young Master Lu. The second young master of the Lu family indeed possesses extraordinary talent, but you are no less impressive. Lu Li smiled quietly, and Wang Kuan, sensing the mood, refrained from further inquiries. After about the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, the two arrived at the Lin Manor. The towering gates exuded an air of grandeur, imbued with the essence of ages, instilling awe and revealing its lineage as a prestigious family with a long-standing heritage. Two guards at the entrance recognized Wang Kuan and slightly bowed in greeting, allowing the two to enter. The Lin Manor was expansive, adorned with verdant trees and filled with the sweet sounds of birds and fragrant blossoms, winding like a labyrinth. Following Wang Kuan for some time, Lu Li finally reached the great hall of the Lin Manor. The siblings, Lin Xinghe and his sister, had been waiting for quite some time at the head of the hall. Wang Kuan approached Lin Xinghe respectfully and announced, young master, Lu Li has arrived. Lin Xinghe nodded slightly, remaining silent, his expression icy and authoritative, exuding an invisible pressure that surged toward Lu Li like a tidal wave. Clearly, he intended to assert dominance over Lu Li. However, Lu Li remained unfazed, not even stirring the corner of his garment, and calmly remarked, Lin Xinghe, is this how you host your guests? A flicker of surprise crossed Lin Xinghe's eyes. It seemed this young man was not inferior in strength. The Lu family truly nurtured talents. With Lu Feng already so exceptional, Lu Li was equally outstanding. A pair of remarkable heirs indeed, evoking envy. However, the notion that such a genius had been expelled from the Lu family was beyond Lin Xinghe's comprehension. As Lin Xinghe's imposing demeanor softened, he burst into laughter and stood up, saying, Brother Lu, your prowess is indeed commendable. I could not resist testing your strength. If I have offended you in any way, I hope you will forgive me. Lu Li replied, Lin Xinghe, there is no need for pleasantries. What prompted your invitation? Lin Xinghe said, I appreciate your straightforwardness, Brother Lu. Let me be direct. Now that you are no longer a disciple of the Lu family, would you have any interest in joining the Lin family? Lu Li responded, I have no interest. Raising an eyebrow, Lin Xinghe pressed, have you not considered it at all? Lu Li replied, no need for consideration. I cherish my freedom and do not wish to be constrained. Lin Xinghe countered, if it is freedom you seek, I can offer that. Though the Lin family may not rival the Lu family, we are not lacking in stature. As long as you are willing to join the Lin family, feel free to state any conditions. Lu Li replied, if you have summoned me today solely to discuss this matter, then there is no need for further conversation. Lin Xinghe fell silent, his countenance slightly displeased. Lin Miao Miao, unable to remain seated, sprang to her feet and reproached, Lu Li, do you think the Lin family is unworthy of you? Lu Li responded, I never claimed such a thing. Lin Miao Miao scoffed. Then why do you refuse to join the Lin family? Lu Li replied, is a reason even necessary? I simply do not wish to join. You, sister, should step aside. Lin Xinghe dismissed Lin Miao Miao with a wave, fixing his gaze on Lu Li as he began to speak slowly. Let us set aside the matter of joining the Lin family for now and address the issue of you bullying my sister. Lu Li furrowed his brow, not due to Lin Xinghe's words, but rather because the task had not yet been triggered. Was this visit in vain? System, have you dozed off? Do not be idle. It is time to issue the task, Lu Li silently thought. As expected, the system remained unresponsive. Why are you silent? Lin Xinghe raised his voice. Lu Li replied, there is nothing to discuss. I have indeed bullied your sister. What do you intend to do about it? Speak plainly. Lin Xinghe stated, a woman's reputation is of utmost importance, especially for someone like my sister, a lady of refinement. The actions you have taken have already spread throughout Qingyun City, causing exceedingly negative repercussions. Do you not believe you should be held accountable for this? Accountable? Lu Li was taken aback, glancing at Lin Miao Miao and then at Lin Xinghe, uncertainly asking, "You cannot possibly be suggesting that I marry Lin Miao Miao, can you? Dream on." Lin Miao Miao scorned. "How could you even utter such a thing? What is going through your mind?" Lu Li exhaled in relief. "As long as that is not the case, I am quite relieved." Lin Miao Miao, witnessing Lu Li's expression of relief akin to discarding a hot potato, felt a surge of humiliation and retorted angrily, "What do you mean by that? Am I not worthy of you?" Lu Li replied, "That is not the point. It is merely..." Lin Miao Miao pressed, "Merely what?" Lu Li stated, "I mentioned before that I do not like you." This reason was sound and compelling. To distance oneself from women, one need only utter those words. Lin Miao Miao's face instantaneously flushed crimson. Not liking her. With her beauty and esteemed background, what man could possibly feel that way? Struck by this revelation, Lin Miao Miao felt humiliated once more, exclaiming in exasperation, "Lu Li, sister, refrain from speaking so much." Lin Xinghe pulled Lin Miao Miao behind him, turning his attention back to Lu Li with a smile. "I admire you greatly. You and my sister are quite well matched." "Brother, what nonsense are you spouting? Who is a match for him?" Lin Miao Miao fumed, stamping her foot. Lu Li interjected, "I have already said that I do not like your sister. Do not hastily pair us." Lin Xinghe countered, "Disliking her now is inconsequential. Over time, you will surely come to appreciate her." "Brother." Lin Miao Miao could no longer bear to listen. "Did we not agree to teach Lu Li a lesson? Why suddenly shift the conversation to matchmaking? What exactly is going on?" Lin Xinghe chuckled. "All right, let's not dwell on it. Matters of the heart cannot be rushed. You should interact naturally and let things develop on their own." Lin Miao Miao rolled her eyes. "I have no intention of getting close to him." Lu Li interjected, "Lin Xinghe, do you truly think so highly of me?" Lin Xinghe regarded Lu Li with a penetrating gaze and replied, "I have always been quite discerning when it comes to people. You will surely achieve great things in the future." Lu Li's expression shifted subtly. He was no ordinary man, possessing a unique system. It must be said, Lin Xinghe's perception was indeed quite accurate. Suddenly, Lin Xinghe changed the subject. "By the way, I am heading to the Shirley Xiang restaurant shortly. Taishan sect is convening a meeting of the 3 major families. Would you like to join and witness the prowess of the disciples from a prominent sect?" Taishan sect. Lu Li's heart raced. The Taishan sect was a formidable faction, said to be guarded by powerful Dongshu realm experts, commanding respect throughout the realm. He was merely at the Tiangang realm, and the Dongshu realm posed a certain danger to him. Even though he possessed an immortal body and felt no fear, he preferred to avoid unnecessary troubles. "I won't go," Lu Li stated. Task triggered. Task content: accompany Lin Xinghe to the Shirley Xiang restaurant. The system actually responded. Lin Xinghe asked, "Are you really not going? Opportunities to interact with disciples from prestigious sects are rare. You won't get another chance if you miss this one." Lu Li replied, "It would be strange if I didn't go." Chapter 19. The Gathering of Major Powers. "Well then, it's about time. Let's be off," Lin Xinghe said with a smile. "Brother." Lin Miao Miao pulled Lin Xinghe aside and whispered, "You may choose not to teach him a lesson for my sake, but why take him to Shirley Xiang? What are you thinking?" Lin Xinghe responded, "As I mentioned, he is a talent worth cultivating, but he is from the Lu family. Although he has been cast out, do you not fear there may be a hidden scheme? That is precisely why I must test him, keeping him close under my watchful eye. Even if the Lu family harbors any intentions, I will be the first to notice. Moreover, you should get along with him. If romance blossoms between you two, a union between the Lin and Lu families could be beneficial." "Brother, what nonsense are you talking about? That is impossible." Lin Miao Miao stamped her foot, her face flushed, then shot a fierce glare at Lu Li. Lu Li's lips curled into a subtle smile, a mix of amusement and intrigue. Although they endeavored to keep their voices low, given his Tiangang realm cultivation, he could easily sense the world around him and heard their conversation clearly. Lin Xinghe's intention to cultivate a relationship with him did not displease Lu Li. After all, he had no plans to join the Lin family. If this could lead to more task triggers, that was precisely what he desired. "What are you laughing at?" Lin Miao Miao huffed, her cheeks puffed in irritation. Lu Li replied, "Is it not permissible for me to smile? You are quite meddlesome. Enough. Let us go." Lin Xinghe interjected, sensing the impending verbal sparring between the two, and promptly led the way outside. Lin Miao Miao shot a glare at Lu Li before storming out in a huff. Lu Li chuckled softly, leisurely following behind as they departed from the Lin residence. Half an hour later, the Lin entourage arrived at the Shirley Xiang restaurant. Upon arrival, Lin Xinghe wore a serious expression. He no longer bore the playful demeanor, but instead emanated the authoritative presence befitting the heir of the Lin family. Behind him stood Wang Kuan and a dozen Lin family guards, all standing in perfect formation, their cultivation levels no lower than the Dan condensation realm, exuding formidable energy. prepared for any command. This lent Lin Xinghe an added aura of command, resembling a true leader of the Lin family. Lin Xinghe spoke, "The occasion today is of great significance. Be sharp and act according to my cues." "Yes, young master." Wang Kuan and the others responded in unison. Lu Li's eyes flickered with curiosity. This atmosphere felt more akin to preparing for a confrontation. What could be the purpose of the Qingyun sect gathering the three major families? Yet, he dismissed the thought. It was of no concern to him. He was here to fulfill his mission, whether it be to witness a spectacle or simply observe from the sidelines. "Let us go. Follow me inside." With Lin Xinghe's command, the Lin family members entered in single file. Lu Li trailed at the back, and as he stepped through the grand entrance of Shirley Xiang, a cacophony of noise greeted him. The spacious hall was adorned with dozens of banquet tables, laden with exquisite food and fine wines. Surrounding them were throngs of people, 200 to 300 in total, gathered in small clusters, engaged in hushed conversations. What is happening? Why are there so many people? Lin Xinghe furrowed his brow, his expression darkening instantaneously. Lu Li discerned the situation. It was evident that more than just the three major families had gathered here. Apart from the Lu family, it seemed that all the notable forces of Qingyun City had assembled. As he scanned the room, he quickly spotted a familiar face. Zhao Ting. That young man had also arrived, and to Lu Li's surprise, he was in a wheelchair. Despite having been beaten into such a state, he had chosen to appear in public. This indicated that the matter at hand was not trivial. Lu Li suddenly felt a surge of interest, extending his perception to encompass the entire venue, with particular focus on Zhao Ting. Zhao Ting, though hindered in movement, sat quietly in a corner, leaning against his wheelchair, flanked by two formidable middle-aged men whose deep breaths and vigilant expressions revealed their role as his personal guards. Sixth layer of the Xianguang realm. Seventh layer of the Xianguang realm. Lu Li raised his eyebrows. Their strength was impressive, surpassing that of Situ Mingwei. It seemed Zhao Ting, having learned from his previous encounter, had opted for stronger protectors. Alternatively, it was possible that Situ Mingwei had yet to recover, forcing Zhao Ting to arrange for additional security. Isn't that the heir of the Zhao family? How has he become a cripple in just a few days? Suddenly, a mocking voice rang out, provoking Zhao Ting to visibly fume, his temples bulging with anger. Following the sound, he spotted a youth with a sinister gaze approaching, and he retorted angrily, "Wang Jingtian, who are you calling a cripple? You're the one who's crippled. Your entire family is crippled." The individual in question is none other than Wang Jingtian, the young master of the Wang family, one of the four prominent families in Qingyun City. Wang Jingtian remarked with a condescending tone, "You're already confined to a wheelchair. Aren't you just a cripple?" Acknowledging one's physical shortcomings is essential. Denial does not alter reality. Zhao Ting retorted coldly, "I take pleasure in my wheelchair. It is of no concern to you." Wang Jingtian chuckled, "Indeed, it is not my business, yet your current state attending such a grand occasion seems rather inappropriate." "Does it not?" Zhao Ting replied, "Let me reiterate, it is none of your concern. Focus on your own affairs." Wang Jingtian, with a knowing smile, responded, "You now represent the Zhao family. Do you not fear that disciples of the Taishan sect will see your disabled form and conclude that the Zhao family lacks worthy successors, thereby missing a grand opportunity?" Zhao Ting's expression shifted. He keenly grasped the crux of the matter and inquired, "What grand opportunity? Do you know something?" Wang Jingtian merely smiled enigmatically, maintaining an air of mystery. Just as Zhao Ting was about to speak further, a stir swept through the gathering. The Lin family had arrived. 3 of the 4 great families of Qingyun City were now present, heightening the excitement. Was that Lin Xinghe, the young master of the Lin family? It is said he possesses a cultivation level equivalent to the 7th layer of the Xianguang realm, rivaling Wang Jingtian's prowess. Both Wang Jingtian and Lin Xinghe are considered prodigies, while Lu Feng of the Lu family is rumored to be even more formidable. Together, they are celebrated as the 3 talents of Qingyun, renowned far and wide. In stark contrast, Zhao Ting, the young master of the Zhao family, lags significantly behind. Indeed, in the competition among the younger generation, the Zhao family has fallen far behind, likely to be overshadowed by the other 3 families, inevitably leading to their gradual decline. Who can be blamed for this? Zhao Ting is perpetually engrossed in frivolities, indulging in pleasure and revelry, a quintessential scion of wealth, with little hope for advancement in his cultivation. Hush! Do not speak. Zhao Ting is looking this way. Hearing the discussions around him, Zhao Ting's face darkened with fury. How dare these wretched individuals not only extol Wang Jingtian, but also trample on his reputation? What evidence do they have of his indulgence in women? It's merely a fleeting infatuation with Situ Mingwei. Wait, a sudden realization struck Zhao Ting. Ever since he had associated with Situ Mingwei, his cultivation had stagnated. Could there be something amiss with her? Moreover, she had mysteriously vanished yesterday. This only deepened his suspicions. A glint of cold determination flashed in Zhao Ting's eyes. He felt compelled to investigate Situ Minghua thoroughly. As he contemplated this, his peripheral vision caught a familiar figure. Lu Li. What was that scoundrel doing here? And in the company of Lin Xinghe? Has he severed ties with the Lu family only to join the Lin family instead? Fury ignited within Zhao Ting as he fixed his gaze on Lu Li, a murderous intent brewing in his eyes. Two of his guards sensed Zhao Ting's agitation, and one whispered, "Young master, who is that person? Do you hold a grudge against him? Should we eliminate him?" Zhao Ting replied, "He is Lu Li. Do you dare to kill him?" The guards' expressions changed. The name of the young master of the Lu family was well known throughout Qingyun City. Although recent rumors suggest that Lu Li has severed ties with the Lu family, the veracity of such claims remains uncertain. In the face of ambiguity, the average person would hesitate to take drastic measures against Lu Li. However, to excel as a sycophant, one must learn to discern the whims of their master. As long as the young master issues a command, we shall not hesitate to strike. What of the eldest son of the Lu family? Offending the young master is a death warrant in itself. The two radiated an aura of lethal intent, fully committed to obeying the young master's orders. Zhao Ting nodded in satisfaction. The injuries I bear are the result of his actions. I yearn to eliminate him this very moment. Yet, his strength is formidable, and even the 5th level of the Xianguang realm cannot withstand a single blow from him. Zhang Long. Zhao Hu, are you confident in dispatching him? Both men were taken aback, their expressions turning grave. Zhang Long replied, "If we join forces, it should pose no significant issue." "Should?" Zhao Ting retorted, displeased. "I seek a definitive answer. Either refrain from action or ensure a lethal strike." Zhang Long and Zhao Hu exchanged glances, a glimmer of determination crossing their faces. Zhao Hu declared, "Young master, we possess a combined technique capable of guaranteed kills, as long as he is not at the D-Gang realm. We are certain to vanquish him." "Excellent." Zhao Ting's face broke into a satisfied smile. "However, this is not an appropriate venue for violence. Let us first extend our greetings." The two understood, and, one on each side, pushed the wheelchair towards the Lin family members. "Lin Xinghe, why have you gathered so many people? Is your sense of security so lacking?" Zhao Ting said with a smile that did not reach his eyes. Lin Xinghe replied coolly, "Indeed, recently, Qingyun City has been rife with turmoil, and my sense of security is quite diminished. Just look at you, the illustrious young master of the Zhao family, reduced to a cripple after having your limbs broken. How could I not bring a few more people?" Zhao Ting's eyes twitched. It seemed that everyone was keen to tread upon his vulnerabilities, and the audacity was simply intolerable. His previously subdued anger surged anew, and he retorted angrily, "Do not speak nonsense. My limbs are merely injured, not broken. I will recover in due time." Lin Xinghe countered, "I am not speaking in jest. Recovery is a matter for the future. At present, are you not a cripple?" Zhao Ting, infuriated, found himself at a loss for a retort. Realizing that he could gain no advantage in this verbal sparring, he shifted his gaze to Lin Miao Miao and chuckled. "Lin Miao Miao, long time no see. Have you missed me?" Lin Miao Miao, her expression frosty, replied, "Who could possibly miss you? Do not flatter yourself. Your presence repulses me." Zhao Ting remained unfazed, still grinning. "I hear you have recently been harassed by Lu Li. Would you like me to take vengeance on your behalf?" Lin Miao Miao's cheeks flushed. Being publicly confronted with such a matter left her somewhat flustered. Lu Li frowned slightly. Recognizing that Zhao Ting had not yet learned his lesson and contemplating whether another lesson was in order, Lin Xinghe interjected, "Zhao Ting, I will handle my sister's affairs. There is no need for your meddling." Zhao Ting sneered, "Isn't Lu Li right here? I am quite eager to see how you intend to manage this." After speaking, he turned his gaze towards Lu Li, his eyes exuding a chilling malevolence. By this time, several onlookers had taken notice of the scene, and upon hearing Zhao Ting's words, they directed their attention towards Lu Li, whispering amongst themselves, "Is this truly Lu Li? I heard he has been cast out by the Lu family. No longer their young master. How strange. Why is he standing alongside the Lin family? Could it be that he has defected to them? Surely not." He dared to tease Lin Miao Miao. How could Lin Xinghe possibly welcome him? But is it really impossible? Has Lu Li not transformed? Did you witness the state Zhao Ting is in? He was bested by Lu Li, who has now risen from obscurity to renown, shedding the title of a worthless young master. What family wouldn't desire to have such a young prodigy in their ranks? Is there a possibility that he has indeed allied with the Lin family, thus prompting Lin Xinghe to overlook past grievances? Surely not. Lu Li has tarnished the reputation of the Lin family's esteemed daughter. How could Lin Xinghe simply tolerate that? Why not? These scions of powerful families prioritize their interests above all else. They are capable of anything. Listening to the murmurs of the crowd, Zhao Ting's lips curled into a sinister smile, relishing his perceived victory. Lin Xinghe, could it be that Lu Li has truly joined the Lin family? Lin Miao Miao is your own sister. and she has been taken advantage of by Lu Li, yet you remain indifferent, even attempting to recruit that scoundrel. Such a cold-blooded pursuit of self-interest is truly disheartening. Lin Xinghe replied, my actions are guided by my own discretion. I am not concerned with the opinions of others. Zhao Ting turned his attention to the Lin family guards, shaking his head mockingly. You guardians of the Lin family ought to be wary of this young master. Who knows? One day he may sell you out for the sake of family profit, and you would remain none the wiser. Lin Xinghe's expression shifted. Zhao Ting, if you continue with your nonsense, do not blame me for being unkind. Zhao Ting scoffed. What? Have I struck a nerve, causing you to lose your composure? You threaten me, yet here I sit. If you have the courage, come and try to lay a finger on me. Lin Xinghe's face darkened. He truly did not dare to confront Zhao Ting, not out of fear, but due to the sensitive nature of their identities. The members of the Lin and Zhao families could squabble without consequence, but if the two young masters were to clash, it could escalate into a significant conflict, potentially igniting a feud between the two powerful families. Lin Xinghe found himself in a difficult position, caught between options. Zhao Ting, evidently aware of this, took delight in Lin Xinghe's grim demeanor. Lin Xinghe, are you not quite impressive? The three outstanding talents of Qingyun, I am so frightened. Come, strike me if you dare. Ha ha. Lin Xinghe's countenance grew even darker. The members of the Lin family glared furiously at Zhao Ting, eager to pounce on the arrogant individual at their young master's command. Unable to bear it any longer, Lu Li stepped forward, smiling. Zhao Ting, have you not learned from the last time I shattered your limbs? Are you eager for another beating? A jolt of fear shot through Zhao Ting as he quickly suppressed his laughter. The painful memory of his previous defeat resurfaced. Twisting his expression into one of terror, Lu Li, I have yet to settle scores with you. Lu Li said, I've stepped right out. What can you do about it? Watch out, or I'll beat you up again. Though your 4 limbs are all broken, there's nowhere left to strike weight. You still have your 5th limb. Wonder if it can take one hit from me? 5th limb? Everyone's eyes instinctively drifted to Zhao Ting's crotch, their expressions turning peculiar. A chill ran down Zhao Ting's groin, and he involuntarily squeezed his legs shut. Overcome with embarrassment and rage, he roared, Do you think I'm afraid of you? Go ahead and try to hit me if you dare. Seeing the situation turning ugly, Zhang Long and Zhao Hu hurried forward and stood in front of Zhao Ting. Stand back. Both of you. I don't believe he dares lay a finger on me. Young master, I said stand back. Yes, sir. Zhang Long and Zhao Hu lowered their heads and stepped back. Zhao Ting stared straight at Lu Li, laughing arrogantly. Lu Li, you're now aligned with the Lin clan. If you dare hit me, the Lin clan alone will send your head to the Zhao clan without us lifting a finger. Do you really dare? Come on, hit me. Go on. You asked for it. Lu Li's figure flickered, closing the distance in an instant. He lashed out with a kick, landing square between Zhao Ting's legs. Caught off guard in his moment of triumphant arrogance, Zhao Ting had no time to react before an unbearable burst of agony exploded in his groin. Arg! Zhao Ting let out a blood-curdling scream. He and his wheelchair went flying sideways, crashing heavily to the ground and rolling over and over. The crowd froze in utter shock. Chapter 21. Earth Vigil Realm Young Master. Zhang Long and Zhao Hu rushed over in alarm to check on him. Seeing Zhao Ting clamping his legs tight, trembling all over with his face contorted in agony, the two men couldn't help drawing in a sharp breath. Just watching it hurt. Could it have been shattered? Lu Li, how dare you assault the young master of the Zhao clan? You insolent brute. You're dead meat. Zhang Long and Zhao Hu roared and charged at Lu Li, only to be stopped by Zhao Ting's shout. Get back. The two froze mid-step, turning back in confusion. Young master, what about? Help me up first. Gasping for breath, his body convulsing in waves of pain, Zhao Ting spoke through gritted teeth, clearly in torment. Bedridden and crippled in all 4 limbs, lying sprawled on the ground like a stray dog before the whole crowd filled him with overwhelming humiliation. All he wanted was to get back in his wheelchair as quickly as possible. Daring not to disobey, the two hurried to help him up, one supporting his body and the other riding the wheelchair. They scrambled to seat Zhao Ting back in place. The wheelchair had been damaged in the fall. Creaking and groaning under his weight, it looked ready to fall apart at any moment. Lu Li smirked. Zhao Ting, you'd better hold on tight. Don't slip and split what's left of you in 2. Lu Li. Zhao Ting glared at him with maniacal fury in his eyes. I never thought you'd actually dare strike me. You're finished. No one can save you now. Lu Li said calmly. I'm standing right here. What can you do to me? Zhao Ting broke into wild laughter. I don't need to do a thing to you. You're still doomed. The Zhao and Lin clans have long set an unwritten rule. Minor disputes are allowed between our factions, but full-scale conflict is strictly forbidden. If there is a source of conflict, then it must be eradicated. Since you belong to the Lin family, you cannot lay a hand on me. Otherwise, you will find yourself on a path to demise. Lu Li bore a smile that was neither genuine nor mocking. What concerns do the rules of your two great families hold for me? Moreover, are not rules established simply to be broken? Zhao Ting scoffed. I wonder how long you can revel in your triumph. Lin Xinghe, if you wish to avoid a war between the Lin and Zhao families, you must swiftly take the head of this brat Lu Li. Lin Xinghe replied, if war is to be waged, then so be it. The Lin family has no fear. Zhao Ting chuckled darkly. Can you truly make such a decision? I suggest you consult your family head about whether to protect Lu Li or to engage in battle with the Zhao family. I believe the leader of the Lin family will make the correct choice. Ha! Lu Li interjected. You are celebrating far too early. Who told you that I am a member of the Lin family? Zhao Ting's laughter abruptly ceased. Are you not a part of the Lin family? Lu Li replied. That is merely your assumption. Zhao Ting retorted. Do not try to deceive me. Standing with the Lin siblings undoubtedly signifies your allegiance. Lu Li laughed. Are you foolish? I am currently standing with you. Does that mean we are allies as well? Ha! The members of the Lin family erupted in laughter, gazing at Zhao Ting as if he were a fool. Silence. What is there to laugh about? Zhao Ting glared fiercely at the crowd. As the heir of the Zhao family, his presence commanded great intimidation, and the laughter quickly subsided. He turned his icy gaze to Lu Li and declared, Since you are not of the Lin family, I have no need to hold back. We shall settle both old and new grievances together. Zhang Long, Zhao Hu take his life. Yes. Zhang Long and Zhao Hu grinned maliciously as they approached Lu Li. With each step, their aura intensified, causing the entire 10-leaf fragrant tavern to tremble. Such overwhelming presence. Both were of the Xianguang realm, at least at the 6th level or above. Could Lu Li possibly contend with them? He might be in grave danger. Even before combat commenced, the atmosphere was already charged. If they were to engage directly, would this tavern withstand the onslaught? The crowd buzzed with excitement, each person eager for the unfolding drama. Brother, what shall we do? Lin Miao Miao looked at Lu Li, her face etched with worry. Lin Xinghe's expression also shifted slightly. He opened his mouth to speak when suddenly a venerable voice echoed from above. Who dares to make a move here? The voice boomed like thunder, resonating throughout the venue, leaving the crowd's ears ringing and their blood surging, as if their hearts might leap from their chests. The earthly gang realm. Lin Xinghe's countenance changed dramatically. The representatives of the other factions also turned pale, particularly Zhang Long and Zhao Hu, who felt as if a mountain had descended upon them, struggling to move forward. They were forced to halt, channeling all their energy to resist, yet their bodies trembled uncontrollably, beads of sweat forming on their foreheads. The might of the earthly gang instilled awe in all. In that instant, the entire 10-leaf fragrant tavern fell into hushed silence. Every eye instinctively drawn to the second floor, their expressions a mix of tension and anticipation. What a performance! Lu Li curled his lips in disdain, thinking to himself that this mere third tier of the earthly gangs was nothing to be feared. The imposing entrance he made might lead one to mistakenly believe he was an unparalleled powerhouse. His perception expanded, swiftly locking onto a somewhat stooped figure. At that moment, an elderly man with a head of white hair descended the stairs from the second floor, each step echoing with a resounding thud that struck at the heart, stirring the very soul. The onlookers felt a wave of discomfort, nearly choking on their own blood as they watched the elder slowly make his way to the ground floor. Too intimidated to utter a sound, the elder came to a halt, his gaze sweeping over the crowd, exuding an aura akin to that of a sovereign, commanding boundless authority. He spoke in a calm yet authoritative tone, declaring, This 10-mile fragrant tavern now belongs to he, and none shall lay a hand here, should anyone dare to do so. Do not blame me for being unmerciful. Upon hearing this, the crowd erupted in a clamor of disbelief. It was widely known that the 10-mile fragrant tavern had always been under the management of the Wang family. When had it changed hands? Was this elder somehow affiliated with the Wang family? Instantly, numerous gazes turned toward Wang Jingtian. With a proud chest, Wang Jingtian stepped forward and stood beside the elder, smiling as he introduced, Allow me to present this esteemed elder, Qichong Kong, a formidable earthly gang expert and also a disciple of the inner sect of the Taishan sect. Although the crowd had begun to surmise the elder's identity, a ripple of excitement coursed through them. The mere mention of the Taishan sect evoked a sense of awe and aspiration. Qichong Kong chuckled lightly, a mere name, hardly worthy of mention. I am truly grateful for your presence today. However, it seems that the leaders of the major powers in Qingyun City have not graced us with their company, which leaves me somewhat disappointed. A tense silence enveloped the crowd. For while his words seemed amicable, an undercurrent of dissatisfaction was palpable, suggesting they felt belittled by his expectations. The elder bore an air of superiority, having kept his intentions obscured prior, yet now demanding attendance from the leaders of the various factions. Was he not being a tad presumptuous? Naturally, they could only mutter such thoughts in silence, none daring to voice them aloud. Wang Jingtian quickly interjected, Elder He, my father is currently in seclusion, striving to break through his current realm, hence his absence. I hope you will not take offense. He Kong nodded. There is no need for concern, young Master Wang. The Wang family has shown great sincerity, and I am quite pleased. Indeed, one would be hard-pressed to be dissatisfied when the Wang family had directly bestowed the 10-mile fragrant tavern upon him. Elder He, must you also intervene in my personal grievances? Zhao Ting suddenly spoke up, his expression somewhat sour. At that moment, his two bodyguards remained paralyzed, ensnared by He Kong's overwhelming presence, drenched in cold sweat. Though he felt the elder was deliberately targeting him, he could not remain silent out of fear. He Kong responded, as I mentioned, no one is permitted to act violently here. If you wish to resolve personal grievances, you may do so outside. I shall not interfere. Zhao Ting retorted. But Luli acted just now. Why did you not stop him? He Kong replied, did he? I did not witness it. Zhao Ting was taken aback, his face gradually reddening with indignation. Could it be that he truly did not see? Such a thing seemed impossible. This elder must certainly be doing so on purpose. It is permissible for others to strike him, yet he is forbidden from retaliating against them, in full view of the public. Such disparate treatment clearly demonstrates a complete disregard for the Zhao family. This is utterly preposterous. Zhao Ting was incensed. Chapter 22 This old scoundrel, He Kong. Zhao Ting's words were abruptly halted as he sensed a formidable aura locking onto him, a sudden dread enveloping him, leaving his face ashen. How dare you directly utter my name? He Kong smiled benevolently, yet his voice chilled to the bone. Zhao Ting felt as if he had plunged into an icy abyss, suddenly realizing that he was facing a master of the Earth Gang realm, someone he could not provoke. In that fleeting moment, he caught a whiff of death's breath and tremulously implored, Predecessor, please quell your fury. Humph. He Kong let out a frigid snort, causing the space around them to tremble. Zhang Long and Zhao, who were struck as if by a powerful blow, simultaneously spewing blood and staggering backward. Zhao Ting too felt a violent tremor throughout his body. A sharp pain pierced his chest, and a trickle of blood slowly escaped from the corner of his mouth. Merely a cold snort had caused the three from the Xinguang realm to cough up blood, leaving everyone astounded. He Kong declared, for the sake of the Zhao family, I shall let this pass this time. Should there be a next, do not blame me for lacking consideration for Zhao Quan. Zhao Ting's countenance darkened, his fury reaching a boiling point, yet he dared not utter another word. He now understood that He Kong was not targeting the Zhao family, but rather establishing his authority to intimidate the various powers within Qingyun City. He had merely found himself in unfortunate circumstances. So you are Lu Li, as Zhao Ting mentioned? Quite adept. He Kong suddenly turned his gaze toward Lu Li, only to find him inscrutable, a flicker of brilliance crossing his eyes. I have heard that you have distanced yourself from the Lu family. I am in need of capable individuals. Would you be interested in serving under me? The crowd was taken aback. Was He Kong attempting to recruit Lu Li? Lin Xinghe furrowed his brow, his expression darkening. Lin Miao Miao felt an inexplicable tension, concerned that Lu Li might acquiesce. However, when faced with an olive branch from a master of the Earth Gang realm, particularly with the formidable Taishan sect as a backing, who could possibly refuse? Lu Li shook his head. I apologize, but I am not interested. He Kong chuckled. Young man, do not speak so resolutely. Perhaps you will change your mind later. Lu Li replied, I shall not pledge allegiance to anyone. As long as the benefits are substantial, nothing is impossible. He Kong gazed deeply at Lu Li before turning to the assembly, proclaiming, enough of this. I shall not waste your time any longer. Let us now address the matter at hand. I am of advanced age and wish to retire from conflict. The sect has granted me permission to return to my homeland and spend my remaining years in peace. You may not be aware, but Qingyun City is my ancestral home. Therefore, I intend to establish my own branch here to propagate the He family lineage. The entire assembly was stunned. He Kong intended to establish a foothold in Qingyun City and create the He family? This was unacceptable. The immediate reaction from the various powers present was one of resistance. It was absolutely out of the question. If a formidable family, led by a master of the earthly vigor realm, were to establish itself in Qingyun City, the original 4 prominent families would inevitably expand into 5, thereby encroaching upon the interests of numerous factions. It is not merely the lesser powers and families that would object. The existing 4 great families of Qingyun City would vehemently oppose such a development. The economic pie of Qingyun City is limited. There is no room to allow additional forces to partake in its bounty. Wang Jingtian proclaimed loudly, with Elder Crane establishing the Crane family. The overall strength of Qingyun City will undoubtedly see a significant enhancement. This is a momentous occasion, one that promises countless advantages and no detriment. The Wang family wholeheartedly supports this. As soon as the words left his lips, an eerie silence enveloped the gathering. Countless advantages and no detriment. Such blatant falsehood was astonishing. It was clear that the Wang family and He Changkong had long since colluded, having settled on certain terms. The tides in Qingyun City were about to shift dramatically. He Changkong smiled. I initially felt apprehensive, doubting the feasibility of this endeavor. However, with the backing of the Wang family, my confidence has surged. I wonder, esteemed guests, do you oppose or support this? Wang Jingtian replied, of course we support it. Who would dare oppose? Let us proceed to a show of hands. The minority shall yield to the majority. Those in opposition, please raise your hands. After a brief pause, seeing no hands raised, he chuckled. Elder Crane, there is no opposition. Everyone unanimously agrees. Excellent. He Changkong stroked his beard with a smile, feeling greatly relieved. The two men engaged in their own dialogue, leaving the assembly in a state of bewilderment. Truly shameless. Yet, with the Crane family in its infancy, facing an array of challenges. Although I have gathered 20 practitioners of the profound light realm and 1 master of the earthly vigor realm, it barely suffices to maintain the family's normal operations. A significant issue remains to be addressed. Suddenly, He Changkong's brow furrowed, his face clouded with worry, though a hint of pride flickered in his eyes. 20 practitioners of the profound light realm, 1 master of the earthly vigor realm. Together with He Changkong himself, that amounts to 2 masters of the earthly vigor realm. Such strength is already on par with any of the 4 great families, and if we were to compare merely the numbers of profound light and earthly vigor practitioners, the Crane family would not fall short of the esteemed Lu family, the foremost family in Qingyun City. He Changkong intentionally revealed his strength. His intentions unmistakable, to intimidate the various factions in Qingyun City, his ambitions laid bare. A weight settled heavily upon the hearts of the attendees. Even Zhao Ting and Lin Xinghe, the young masters of Qingyun City's 2 great families, felt a tremendous pressure and threat. Only Wang Jingtian appeared to revel in a grand fortune, his smile stretching wide. However, when He Changkong mentioned a significant issue, Wang Jingtian hesitated, seemingly unaware of it prior. He inquired, Elder Crane, what might this issue be? Could you enlighten us? Perhaps the Wang family could offer assistance. He Changkong replied. It concerns the issue of heirs for the Crane family. Currently, I am but a solitary figure, too sparse in numbers. Therefore, I intend to take multiple wives and concubines, aiming to rapidly expand my lineage, striving to have 10 offspring within a year. In doing so, the Crane family will ensure its future. Wang Jingtian opened his mouth. Rendered speechless, the crowd was left in utter astonishment. While it was one thing to take multiple wives, the notion of siring 10 offspring in a single year seemed utterly absurd, especially for someone of his advanced age, whose body was already half buried in the earth. After a considerable pause, Wang Jingtian regained his composure and, suppressing a laugh, remarked, this is hardly a grave matter, if elder he wishes to marry. There are many women in Qingyun City. You do not grasp my intention, He Changkong interjected, waving his hand dismissively. If it were ordinary women, how could they be worthy of marrying into the He family? Only the daughters of illustrious and noble families can bestow a commendable lineage upon us. For instance, the 4 prominent families of Qingyun City represent an admirable bloodline. As soon as he finished speaking, an unsettling silence enveloped the room. Wang Jingtian, who had been aligned with He Changkong, found his expression shifting. How dare you, He Changkong? The Wang family aided in the establishment of your clan, and now you covet the women of the Wang family? Internally, he cursed vehemently, yet outwardly maintained a facade of ignorance, keen to observe the reactions of the Zhao and Lin families. This cunning old man. Luli could not suppress a chuckle. Lin Miao Miao retorted with disdain. He is not merely cunning. He is utterly shameless and devoid of respect. Lin Xinghe murmured, pay him no mind. Whatever schemes he concocts are of no concern to us. Before he could finish, He Changkong's gaze locked onto him, and he felt the weight of that piercing stare, instantly tensing in readiness. He Changkong's eyes gleamed as they swept over the Lin family, ultimately landing on Lin Miao Miao. You must be Lin Miao Miao, he said, his voice dripping with intrigue. I have heard of you. Indeed, you possess a beauty that could topple kingdoms. You meet my criteria for a concubine. Would you consider marrying into the He family and bearing my heirs? You old scoundrel. Who would wish to marry you? Stop dreaming. Lin Miao Miao's face flushed with indignation. Lin Xinghe's expression darkened considerably. He stepped forward, indignantly stating, Elder He, you have gone too far. He Changkong chuckled. Lin Xinghe, do not be hasty. My words are not yet complete. I possess a coveted disciple slot for the Taishan sect. Any prominent family or power present here, willing to offer their direct lineage daughters as my concubines, will have the opportunity to obtain this slot. Upon hearing this proclamation, the room erupted in commotion. The Taishan sect is a prestigious sect, one of the 3 dominant powers of the Eastern domain, with formidable experts in the Void realm. rivaling the likes of the Qingyun sect and the mysterious Sky Palace. Gaining entry as a disciple of the Qingyun sect would undoubtedly elevate one's status dramatically. Not to mention the potential achievements to come. Having a family member in the Qingyun sect would render them untouchable. For instance, the Lu family of Qingyun City, whose second son is a disciple of the Qingyun sect, enjoys the reputation of the foremost family, bolstered greatly by their connection. When one rises, so too do their kin. This temptation was immensely powerful, and the majority present found themselves swayed. While the crowd was stirred with excitement, Wang Jingtian's expression remained grim. The Wang family had long been aware of the disciple slot from the Qingyun sect. Otherwise, they would not have so readily surrendered the Shirley Fragrance restaurant to He Chong Kong. Initially believing that ingratiating himself with He Chong Kong would naturally lead to securing a coveted position, Wang Jingtian was taken aback when the old man used this as bait to pursue greater gains. With a flicker of indignation in his eyes, he could only watch helplessly. Naturally, any young prodigy who aligned with the He family, provided they possessed sufficient talent and potential, would still have the opportunity to attain this position. He Chong Kong, pleased by the crowd's reaction, turned his gaze to Lu Li and remarked with a smile, "Young man, have you reconsidered your decision?" Chapter 23. The Divine Art of Void Translocation. In that moment, all eyes were fixed upon Lu Li. The fact that he had garnered He Chong Kong's favor and had been courted multiple times was truly a stroke of fortuitous luck. If there were indeed a chance to become a disciple of the Qingyun sect, only a fool would decline. Surely, this lad would change his mind. Envy and jealousy permeated the crowd. Lu Li replied, "I will not change my mind. I am not interested in that position." The astonishment was palpable. He actually rejected it? The crowd was taken aback. This fool. Zhao Ting felt a wave of relief wash over him. He had feared that Lu Li might acquiesce. Regardless of whether he could become a disciple of the Qingyun sect, should Lu Li align himself with He Chong Kong, bolstered by the sect's influence? How could Zhao Ting ever seek revenge? He Chong Kong's smile faltered. "Young man, do you realize what you are saying? Do you not desire to become a disciple of the Qingyun sect?" Lu Li replied, "Do not paint grandiose visions for me. I am not swayed by such tactics. You are merely offering an opportunity, not bestowing a direct privilege. If I genuinely wish to join the Qingyun sect, I could take the entrance examination and have my own chance at becoming a disciple, which is no different from the position you propose." Upon hearing this, whispers erupted among the crowd as they exchanged glances. While the opportunity He Chong Kong mentioned held considerable allure, it was indeed just that, an opportunity, and seemingly of little substance. He Chong Kong could clearly sense the waning enthusiasm of the crowd. His expression darkened as he spoke more curtly. "Young man, do not speak foolishly." Lu Li shrugged. "Very well, I shall remain silent. Please, continue." "Continue?" He Chong Kong glanced around, met with skeptical gazes. Lu Li's previous remarks had sown doubt among the crowd, making it impossible to proceed. His expression became increasingly grim as he confronted Lu Li. "Lu Li, do you truly believe that the position I hold for a disciple of the Qingyun sect is equivalent to merely participating in the entrance examination? Do you think that anyone who wishes to join such a prestigious sect can do so at will? Each year, tens of thousands aspire to enter the Qingyun sect, yet only a fraction succeeds. The position I possess will not attract a throng of contenders. In light of this comparison, do you still think there is no distinction? If you do not provide me with a compelling rationale today, do not blame me for resorting to heavy-handed tactics. I will not be lenient with you." Lu Li had grown weary of the conversation. It had nothing to do with him. Whoever wished to be the fool could do so without dragging him into it. However, at that moment, a voice resonated within his mind, emanating from the system. Task accomplished, rewards being dispensed. A surge of joy filled Lu Li's heart. He had waited for half a day, and it seemed the system was somewhat sluggish in its responses. He had accompanied Lin Xinghe to the Shirley Xiang Tavern for quite some time, and only now did it indicate the task was complete. Of course, this was of little consequence. As long as there were rewards, a slight delay was inconsequential. Yet, what would this reward be? He sincerely hoped it would not be another talent or divine ability like the unyielding spear, as he had no use for such things as a solitary individual. The host has obtained a divine ability. Divine ability. Once again, a divine ability. A tremor coursed through Lu Li, causing a slight prickling sensation at the back of his neck. Indeed, it seemed that what one feared most often came to pass. However, since it was not a talent ability, there was still room for anticipation. Void teleportation. The divine ability of void teleportation. Lu Li's eyes widened. Although he had yet to comprehend what this ability entailed, the very name struck him as impressive. A divine ability represented the pinnacle of martial skills, possessing formidable power. Anything worthy of being called a divine ability was undoubtedly remarkable. Boom. A thunderous sound reverberated in Lu Li's mind as a wave of information exploded within him. In an instant, He grasped the essence of the void teleportation, much like the dragon claw technique he had previously mastered, as if he had trained for countless years and seamlessly integrated the knowledge. Void teleportation was a technique for instant movement, capable of achieving long-distance relocation across the void. The higher one's cultivation, the greater the distance one could traverse, and with sufficient strength, one could even cover thousands of miles in the blink of an eye. Haha. Lu Li couldn't help but burst into laughter, overwhelmed with excitement. This void teleportation was simply extraordinary. In the future, who could possibly catch him when he fled? And when pursuing enemies, who could escape his grasp? Kid, what are you laughing about? Are you disregarding me? Qingyun's expression darkened. Haha, no. I merely recalled something amusing and couldn't help but laugh. Lu Li managed to quell his laughter, feeling exceptionally good and unconcerned about Qingyun's unfriendly tone. Task triggered. Task content. Qingyun possesses a disciple quota for the Taishan sect. Please use force to seize it. The system had issued another task. It actually required him to use force to snatch the disciple quota from Qingyun. Did that mean he had to confront an elder? Indeed. The nefarious system was adept at mischief for a century. Nevertheless, he relished it. Haha. Lu Li couldn't help but laugh again. You dare to laugh? You are showing me contempt. Qingyun's anger flared, his face reddening with fury. The onlookers stared at Lu Li in disbelief. This fellow must have lost his mind. Laughing so brazenly, and twice at that, did he understand whom he was facing? This was a formidable expert of the earthly gang realm. A single misstep could lead to his demise. Kill him. Kill him. Zhao Ting glared at Lu Li, his eyes ablaze with fury. Wishing Qingyun would strike this insolent individual dead, Lin Xinghe and Lin Miao wore expressions of deep concern. Utterly perplexed by Lu Li's erratic behavior in the presence of a formidable earthly gang's realm expert, their silence left them powerless to interject, rendering them mere spectators. No, I truly am not mocking you. Lu Li stifled a chuckle and inquired, by the way, what was it you wanted me to say earlier? I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat it? Qingyun replied coldly, if you didn't hear it, then let it be. It is of no consequence now. You have thoroughly incensed me. If you wish to escape death, kneel and plead for mercy. Out of consideration for the Lu family, I might spare your life. Lu Li responded, please, do not extend any favors to the Lu family on my behalf. I am no longer a disciple of the Lu family. If you wish to kill me, then do so directly. Qingyun's eyes blazed with murderous intent as he bellowed. Do you think I lack the courage to act? Ah, wait a moment. I remember what you wanted me to say, Lu Li interjected. I misspoke earlier. The quota for disciples of the Qingyun sect and the opportunity to participate directly in their entrance examination are indeed vastly different. Qingyun, poised to strike, found himself momentarily stifled by this revelation, a surge of frustration threatening to erupt within him. The quota he held was pivotal for establishing his standing in Qingyun City, and he desperately needed to trumpet its advantages, ensuring that everyone was aware. If this young man could articulate some enticing words to attract numerous martial artists to his side, thereby ensuring that various factions sent him a steady stream of quality women, he might even consider letting him off lightly. What difference does it make? Qingyun glared fiercely at Lu Li, the warning in his gaze unmistakable. You should know what to say and what to refrain from uttering. Still uneasy, Qingyun resorted to sending a thought through the air. Lu Li, however, remained undeterred, chuckling. The difference lies in the fact that the Qingyun sect accepts disciples based solely on their aptitude and potential, with no restrictions on quotas. Yet, you merely offer a single quota, devoid of any concrete standards for who might receive it. It is entirely at your discretion. And it is even possible that no one will obtain it. This is akin to a wolf in sheep's clothing, casting out a bait that requires no fulfillment, compelling others to deliver women to you and serve as your free enforcers. How cunning. Before Lu Li could finish his sentence, the crowd erupted in astonishment. His words seemed to resonate with undeniable truth. Could it be that Qingyun was merely deceiving everyone? Silence. Qingyun roared, his fury palpable. Chapter 24. Have you felt the terror? Lu Li smiled. What is the matter? Have I struck a nerve, thus provoking your ire? You insolent wretch. It appears you have disregarded my warning. Even if you were to kneel and beg for mercy now, it would be of no avail. Today, I shall allow you to experience the true terror of the earthly gang's realm. With a sinister grin, Qingyun unleashed his full aura, charging toward Lu Li with astonishing speed, leaving behind only a blur. The oppressive might of an earthly gang's realm expert enveloped the arena like a mountain pressing down, rendering all present immobile and frozen in place. How swift, how powerful. The crowd was left in a state of profound astonishment. Lu Li appeared to be momentarily stunned, rooted to the spot as he watched the shadow collide with him. With a thunderous crash, the two forces met, sending one figure hurtling away with a blood-curdling scream. Before the onlookers could comprehend the unfolding chaos, A shockwave knocked them to the ground, leaving them sprawled in disarray. In an instant, the air was filled with screams, and the fragrant wine house trembled ominously, teetering on the brink of collapse, plunging the scene into utter turmoil. I do not sense any terror, do you? A languid voice echoed, laced with mockery and amusement. Upon hearing the voice, the crowd's hearts raced, disbelief washing over them as they turned to look. There stood Lu Li, unmoved, his demeanor relaxed. A few meters ahead, Qingyun City lay on the ground, shock etched on his face, blood streaming from his mouth. The formidable figure of Qingyun City, a master of the Earth Gang realm, had been defeated, and in a single, devastating blow, a profound silence enveloped the arena. All eyes fixed on Lu Li, their minds awash with tumultuous waves of astonishment. The once derided heir of the Lu family had proven to be astonishingly powerful. To defeat an Earth Gang master at merely 20 years of age was nothing short of extraordinary genius. Had he endured 2 decades of obscurity merely to reveal his brilliance today? How could the Lu family have cast out such a prodigious talent? It was almost inconceivable. If this were not a mere ruse, then surely the Lu family had lost their senses. Impossible. This cannot be real. Zhao Ting lay sprawled on the ground, limbs splayed beside his shattered wheelchair, his eyes red-rimmed as he gazed at Lu Li, muttering incoherently, his complexion ashen. Lu Li, you have grown so powerful. Lin Xinghe clenched his fists, his expression one of shock, his eyes glinting with intensity. This scoundrel. Lin Miao Miao was equally taken aback, her mouth agape. Lu Li's strength surpassed all expectations. She should have felt fear, yet inexplicably, a wave of secret delight surged within her. You, how could you be this strong? Qingyun City struggled to rise, his aged visage flushed, wrinkles trembling, rendering him somewhat grotesque. Even now, he could not accept the reality of his crushing defeat. Lu Li replied, is it possible that it is not I who is too strong, but rather you who are too weak? You. Qingyun City felt humiliated, blood spewing from his mouth as he retorted, brash youth, do not be so arrogant. I merely underestimated you and did not use my full strength. You caught me off guard. If I had fought at my best, do you truly believe you would stand a chance against me? Lu Li scoffed, a sneak attack? You dare to utter such words when you were the one to strike first? Qingyun City's composure faltered, his voice rising in indignation. I declare you a sneak attacker. And thus you are one. Lu Li responded, very well. If I am indeed a sneak attacker, I shall grant you another opportunity. Did you not claim you were not using your full strength? Come, unleash all your might upon me. Qingyun City's complexion fluctuated between shades of green and white. What do you mean by all my might? You insufferable brat. You are the one who needs to be taught a lesson. This is preposterous. Very well, very well. You said it yourself. If you get beaten, do not blame me. Qingyun City, filled with rage, suddenly leaped into the air, thrusting his hands forward as he bellowed. Today, you shall witness the legendary martial technique of the Taishan sect, Dragon Roar of the 9 Heavens. As his words echoed, a colossal dragon phantom materialized in the sky, resonating with an awe-inspiring dragon's roar that reverberated through the void. The dragon's tail swung fiercely, crashing down towards Lu Li. With a thunderous roar, the heavens trembled and the earth quaked, unleashing a terrifying force that swept outward, shattering the entire 10-mile fragrant wine house into fragments. Help! The onlookers, caught off guard, were swept into the air by a fierce gust, tumbling like dumplings in all directions, landing in disarray. The scene was chaotic, filled with screams. A single strike from the Earth Gang realm had utterly obliterated a building. The crowd, in shock, regained their composure and turned their gazes toward Lu Li's position. Such a fearsome assault. Who could withstand it? Surely, Lu Li had not exploded on the spot. Dragon Roar of the 9 Heavens. Amidst the howling winds, Lu Li's voice resonated calmly, devoid of any turbulence. The crowd's hearts tightened. How could he still be alive? Qingyun City's expression shifted dramatically. Upon landing, he staggered back, his face reflecting uncertainty. As the turbulent winds gradually subsided, the swirling debris slowly descended to the ground, revealing Lu Li's figure. The martial techniques passed down from the Taishan sect were not as formidable as they sounded. While the name was quite imposing, it had failed to breach even my defenses, impressive in name only. Lu Li stood proudly, a smile gracing his face, entirely unscathed. Not even his clothing bore a single tear. The crowd held their breath in disbelief. Qingyun City felt a shiver run down his spine. You, be quiet, it's my turn. Lu Li raised his hand and grasped the air, causing an explosive shockwave to ripple through the atmosphere, instantly locking onto Qingyun City with an invisible pressure. This is bad. Qingyun City's complexion paled as he sensed the imminent danger, propelling himself into the sky and fleeing at breakneck speed. Where do you think you're going? Lu Li shouted, the very earth trembling beneath him. Suddenly, a massive hand materialized in the air, akin to an eagle seizing its prey, firmly capturing Qingyun City. The dragon claw technique struck true. Ah! He Chong Kong screamed in agony as his body was pierced by 5 fingers, blood gushing forth. The pain tearing at his very soul. What kind of martial skill is this? How could it be so powerful? Overwhelmed with shock and fury, He Chong Kong shouted. Luli, I am a disciple of the Taishan sect. Attacking me is tantamount to declaring war against the sect, and the consequences will be dire. Before he could finish his words, another agonizing scream erupted from him as the gigantic hand propelled him downward towards the earth. With a resounding crash, the ground shook. Rocks and soil flying as a massive pit formed. He Chong Kong lay at the bottom of the pit, blood pouring from his wounds, barely clinging to life. The spectators gazed at this scene, struck silent by the horror. A formidable Earthgang realm warrior had proven to be so vulnerable. Had they not witnessed it with their own eyes, none would have dared to believe it. It was truly a tragic sight. Luli gradually approached, standing at the edge of the pit and gazing down at He Chong Kong, casually inquiring, "What severe consequences are you referring to?" Struggling to rise, He Chong Kong trembled as he pointed at Luli, fear evident in his voice. "What is your cultivation level?" Luli replied, "Do not ask. Even if you do, I shall not disclose it. Are you willing to concede?" With a sullen expression, He Chong Kong remarked, "Everyone claims that the second young master of the Lu family is a prodigy, yet I never anticipated that the elder brother would surpass him. I concede defeat today. Fate may lead us to meet again amidst the mountains and rivers. Farewell." With that, He Chong Kong turned to leave. "Stop," Luli commanded. He Chong Kong's hunched form trembled slightly, and he turned back, fury in his eyes. "What more do you want?" Luli stated. "Since you concede, then hand it over." He Chong Kong was taken aback. "What do you mean?" Luli clarified. "The quota for disciples of the Taishan sect that you mentioned earlier, give it to me." Chapter 25. The Taishan token. He Chong Kong fell silent for a moment before suddenly laughing coldly. "Did you not dismiss it as insignificant? Why the sudden interest?" Luli answered, "You offered it to me willingly. Of course, I found it unworthy. I prefer to seize it myself." "What an arrogant young man!" He Chong Kong scoffed. "You dare to covet the Taishan sect's disciple quota? Do you seek to court death?" Luli pressed, "Do not waste my time. Will you give it or not?" He Chong Kong retorted, "I will not give it." "What can you do about it? Do you dare to kill me? Do you think I hesitate?" Luli's figure flickered, instantly appearing before He Chong Kong. With a movement akin to teleportation, he closed the distance as if space itself ceased to exist. The sheer speed astonished all witnesses. He Chong Kong was taken aback, instinctively retreating, but before he could move, Luli struck him down with a single blow. Bang! Luli then pressed his foot against He Chong Kong's chest, overwhelming strength coursing through him, shaking the ground and fracturing it with countless cracks. "You wretched fool!" He Chong Kong seethed with rage, struggling desperately. As a disciple of the Taishan sect, he was accustomed to respect wherever he went. He had thought to showcase his abilities in Qingyun City, only to suffer such humiliation. How could he endure this? He attempted to resist. But Luli's foot felt as heavy as a mountain, immobilizing him completely. Moreover, having already suffered grievous injuries, blood gushed anew from 5 wounds on his body, leaving him increasingly weak and powerless. "Luli, if I were to meet an untimely end, the Taishan sect would never let you off easily." He Chong Kong bellowed helplessly. Luli coldly replied, "Do not threaten me. Even if the Taishan sect were to be formidable, should I choose to kill you now, your companions would not be able to save you." He Chong Kong howled, "What do you truly want?" Luli reiterated, "I want that quota." "I will ask you once more, will you give it or not?" He Chong Kong erupted in manic laughter. "Aren't you quite impressive? So you wish to join the Taishan sect? Let me inform you, there is no way. You shall never become a disciple of the Taishan sect in this lifetime." Luli's expression turned cold. He could not afford to let this slip. Failure to complete the task would result in significant losses. With a glint of menace in his eyes, he asked, "Do you truly wish to perish?" He Chong Kong sensed Luli's murderous intent and was startled, his bravado faltering. "If you dared to kill me, you would have done so long ago, rather than waiting until now. As a disciple of the Taishan sect, I fear not death and shall never be threatened. If you possess the courage, then strike me down. Eventually, someone will avenge me. And you will find yourself on a path to demise as well. Come, do it. Do you have the audacity? Ha ha. Then may you meet your end." With that, Luli lifted his foot and brought it down heavily upon He Chong Kong's head, unleashing a formidable force that shattered the air with a terrifying wail. Should he be struck, it would likely result in instant death. He Chong Kong, taken aback by Luli's genuine intent to kill, felt a primal fear surge within him. Wait. Boom. Luli did not withdraw his foot. With a deafening crash, the ground collapsed, and He Chong Kong's head was forcibly pressed into the earth, blood gushing forth and staining the ground crimson. The onlookers felt their hearts race, their breaths held in suspense. Was He Chong Kong truly to be crushed to death? A piercing scream escaped He Chong Kong's lips as he flailed helplessly, his his hands desperately pushing against the ground, attempting to rise. Yet, with Lu Li's foot firmly planted upon him, he could not extricate himself, and in a panic, he pleaded, "Let me go. I will grant you the position. Please release me. Why could you not have said this sooner? Must I truly beat you to this point?" Lu Li finally lifted his foot and stepped back. With a thud, Qingyun Kong's head broke free from the earth, his face a grotesque mask of blood, his features unrecognizable. Looking at Lu Li, he trembled in fear. "You genuinely intend to kill me over a mere position? Have you lost your mind?" He was truly terrified. This young man was not jesting. Had he not capitulated in time, he would now be dead. Lu Li retorted, "Enough of your prattle. How do you intend to provide that position? Hurry and present it." Qingyun Kong felt an overwhelming sense of humiliation, especially with so many eyes upon him. He wished for nothing more than to vanish into the ground. Yet, compared to the disgrace, the fear of death loomed larger. The He family had yet to flourish, and he had no heirs. How could he resign himself to death? Here, Qingyun Kong, his face a mix of anger and despair, extended his right hand, and with a flash of light from his palm, a dark, circular token materialized. Truly, as a disciple of the Qingyun sect, he possessed a storage ring, a rather valuable item. Lu Li reached out, grasping the token, but his gaze remained fixed on the purple ring adorning Qingyun Kong's finger. Instinctively, Qingyun Kong shielded the ring, wary. "Do you covet this as well?" Lu Li replied, "Look at you, trembling. Am I that sort of person?" Qingyun Kong's lips twitched, nearly causing him to spit blood in frustration. If he was not that kind of person, why then did he seek to seize the token? This insufferable fellow could be infuriating with his words. Lu Li examined the token in his hand, its surface cool to the touch, intricately patterned, with the characters Tai He Xian emblazoned on both sides. Unmistakably a token belonging to a disciple of the Qingyun sect. "Qingyun Kong, do you dare to deceive me with this worthless token?" Lu Li's expression darkened as it became evident that the system had not notified him of a completed task. Clearly, this old fellow was not being forthright. Qingyun Kong wiped the blood from his face, his gruesome appearance somewhat terrifying, and retorted, "Who has deceived you? This is the token of a disciple of the Qingyun sect, and generally, each individual possesses but one. I have previously made significant contributions to the sect. Hence I was granted an additional token, which allows me to recommend new disciples. The token you hold is blank and inactive. Merely a drop of blood is required to confirm your identity and become a disciple of the Qingyun sect." Upon hearing this, the crowd's eyes sparkled with anticipation. The temptation was monumental. Any martial artist would yearn to join the Qingyun sect, one of the three great celestial sects of the East State. With such an identity, one would be elevated above others. In that moment, countless fervent gazes converged upon the black token, and the atmosphere grew palpably tense. Lu Li scanned the crowd and nonchalantly stated, "Who among you desires this? Step forward. If you can withstand a single strike from me without succumbing, I shall grant it to you." The crowd shuddered, hastily averting their gazes. If Qingyun Kong could not withstand even one blow, who would dare step forward? Though they yearned for the token, their lives held greater value. "Humph," Lu Li scoffed, diverting his attention back to the token. After examining it intently, he remarked, "Is it truly as simple as dripping blood to become a disciple of the Qingyun sect? I find such ease hard to believe. A prestigious sect such as Qingyun would not recruit disciples so casually. Surely, you are concealing something." Qingyun Kong's eyes flickered. "I am not," Lu Li barked. "You would do well to speak honestly, lest I be compelled to strike you." Qingyun Kong trembled. "This token is specially crafted, upon bloodletting. One can only become an outer disciple, and that status is temporary. If one fails to pass the assessment within a year, they will be expelled from the sect." Lu Li inquired, "Why did you not mention this earlier?" Qingyun Kong replied, "You did not ask." Smack! Before he could finish, Lu Li struck him, sending him sprawling to the ground, rolling like a gourd. "What are you doing?" Qingyun Kong exclaimed, rising clumsily, furious. "Why did you hit me?" Lu Li replied coolly, "You did not state that I should refri." Qingyun Kong had grown weary of conversation, having never encountered such a despicable individual. Lu Li gazed at the token, his brow slightly furrowed. His interest in the Qingyun sect was minimal. He was merely intent on fulfilling his task. Yet, with the mission unaccomplished, he had no alternative but to try dripping his blood on the token. As soon as Lu Li's blood touched the token, it began to vibrate, emitting a radiant beam that enveloped him. Gradually, his silhouette emerged on the token's surface, flickering momentarily before vanishing. Could this token record images? Intrigued, Lu Li attempted to infuse it with his true energy, and indeed, his figure reappeared on the token. Mission accomplished, rewards being dispensed. The mission was complete. Lu Li raised an eyebrow, eagerly anticipating his reward. Host cultivation level has increased by 1 tier. A surge of energy coursed through Lu Li as his true energy dramatically expanded, allowing him to break through to a new realm, 5th tier of the celestial realm. What an astonishing pace of advancement. Who could rival it? Lu Li chuckled to himself. He Chong Kong, witnessing Lu Li's sly grin, felt a chill run down his spine and hastily inquired, "May I leave now?" In a good mood, Lu Li replied with a smile, "If you wish to depart, then go. I am not stopping you." Frustration surged within He Chong Kong. Just moments ago, he had nearly faced a dire fate, thus he needed clarification. "You insolent brat. Your arrogance will not last long. You dare to seize the treasures of the Taishan sect? You will surely regret this." Though his heart burned with resentment, he dared not show it. Silently, he turned, limping away. Lin Xinghe and the others observed He Chong Kong's woeful demeanor, their expressions laden with intrigue. Sensing their gazes, He Chong Kong's temper flared, and he snapped, "What are you staring at? Do you wish to die?" The onlookers quickly lowered their heads. No matter how unfortunate He Chong Kong appeared, he was still a formidable figure in the earthly realm, and none dared provoke him in such a moment. Lu Li found the situation amusing and was about to speak when the system issued another task. Task triggered. Task details. Incorporate the He family under your banner and elevate it to become the foremost family in Qingyun City. Lu Li was taken aback. He had just given He Chong Kong a severe beating and snatched the Taishan token. Now he was expected to claim the family He Chong Kong had established as his own. Wasn't this a bit excessive? Indeed, the villainous system lived up to its notorious reputation. He Chong Kong, wait a moment, Lu Li called out loudly. Since it was a system task, it must be completed, regardless of whether He Chong Kong would be infuriated to the point of spitting blood. He Chong Kong trembled, suddenly gripped by an ominous premonition. He froze in place, nervously asking, "What do you want now?" Lu Li replied with a smile. "Did you not wish to revitalize the He family? Do you not desire for it to become the leading family in Qingyun City?" He Chong Kong's expression flickered. "The foremost family? Of course I desire that, but..." Lu Li interjected, "I can assist you." He Chong Kong's eyes brightened. "Are you suggesting that you would join the He family?" "No problem. I can offer you the position of honorary elder, second only to myself, above all others." The expressions of the onlookers shifted subtly. If Lu Li were to join the Crane clan, they would possess three formidable figures in the earthly realm, thus gaining the capability to contend with the current foremost family, the Lu family. This development could be perceived as either fortuitous or ominous for the various factions in Qingyun City. That insufferable fellow intends to align himself with the Crane clan? Zhao Ting lounged in a corner, his countenance darkening. "Lu Li, what exactly are you planning?" Lin Xinghe's demeanor was equally grave. Lin Miao Miao fumed. "This scoundrel. We extended an invitation for him to join the Lin family, yet he declined. And now he seeks to defect to the Crane clan. This is utterly outrageous." Lin Xinghe furrowed his brow and murmured, "I fear the situation is more intricate than it appears. After all, he is a member of the Lu family." Meanwhile, Wang Jingtian, the heir of the Wang family, exhibited a fluctuating expression. "Lu Li, what are your true intentions concerning the Lu family?" At this moment, Zhao Ting, Lin Xinghe, and Wang Jingtian suspected that Lu Li's expulsion from his family was merely a smokescreen, and his desire to join the Crane clan reeked of conspiracy. Lu Li interjected, "You have misconstrued my intentions. I never stated I wished to join the Crane clan." He turned to He Chong Kong, who appeared perplexed. "Then what do you mean?" Lu Li replied, "You and your Crane clan will henceforth serve as my subordinates, carrying out my bidding." This proclamation left the crowd astounded. "What did you say? Repeat that." He Chong Kong thought he had misheard. Lu Li reiterated, "The Crane clan will serve as my subordinates. Do you comprehend?" "Lu Li." He Chong Kong's expression darkened instantly. "What jest is this? Do you believe that sheer strength grants you the liberty to act as you please? This is utterly inconceivable." The Crane clan was in its nascent stages, and He Chong Kong had yet to fully assume his position as head of the clan. For Lu Li to presume he could ride atop him was tantamount to relinquishing his own power. Such a demand was not only distasteful, but a blatant affront. Enraged, He Chong Kong seethed. Were it not for the disparity in strength, he would have eliminated Lu Li on the spot. Lu Li countered, "There is nothing impossible. You just stated it was unfeasible to grant me a quota, yet you did so thereafter. Do you require a thorough beating before you consent?" He Chong Kong's eyes widened in fury. "Do not push me too far." Lu Li declared, "I am indeed pushing you too far today. I shall make it clear. Either you agree to be my subordinate, or you perish. There exists no alternative." He Chong Kong gasped for breath. "Do not force my hand. Leave a line for future encounters." Lu Li scoffed. "What is there to encounter? Should you refuse, I will ensure you meet King Yen." The visage of He Chong Kong twisted in rage. "I tolerated your theft of the token, but I have my limits. I, He Chong Kong, shall never be anyone's subordinate. I would rather die than submit. If you have the audacity, kill me. Very well, I shall see if you truly prefer death over submission." Lu Li once again employed the void shift, closing the distance in an instant. Before He Chong Kong could react, Lu Li seized his arm, swinging him with force and slamming him into the ground. With a thunderous crash, Chong Kong was embedded deep into the earth, creating a massive crater in his wake. Lu Li inquired, "Do you agree?" Long Kong, spitting blood, bellowed defiantly, "I do not." With a swift motion, Lu Li seized Long Kong's body, swinging him through the air in a grand arc before slamming him back to the ground. Boom. "Do you agree?" "I do not." "Then let us continue." Boom. "Have you changed your mind?" "I do not." Boom. 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 Lu Li's arm continued to swing as if wielding a fly swatter, repeatedly smashing Long Kong's body against the earth amidst an incessant cacophony. The ground around them trembled and cracked under the force, blood erupting in a shocking display. The onlookers were frozen in astonishment, feeling the vibrations ripple through the ground, a chilling sensation coursing up from their feet to their very minds. Was this fiend truly intent on beating Long Kong to death? Such ruthlessness was unimaginable. Boom. After delivering a dozen strikes, Lu Li finally paused, sensing Long Kong was on the brink of collapse. "Do you still refuse to agree?" Long Kong roared, "I would rather die than concede." Lu Li, observing Long Kong, bloodied and gasping for breath, felt a twinge of difficulty. If this man was indeed so obstinate, the task at hand would remain unfulfilled. That simply would not do. Every individual possesses vulnerabilities, and Long Kong was no exception. After a moment of contemplation, an idea struck Lu Li. This old man, nearing his twilight years, why was he so adamant about establishing the He family in Qingyun City? Reflecting on Long Kong's boastful claims of fathering 10 offspring a year, Lu Li's gaze shifted to the area between Long Kong's legs, a sinister smile gradually forming on his face. Chapter 27, Rising Fame. Shocking the city, Long Kong sensed Lu Li's gaze and felt an icy chill envelop him, exclaiming, "What are you planning to do?" Lu Li chuckled menacingly. "Since you refuse to yield even unto death, I have no choice. I adhere to a principle. That which cannot be obtained shall be destroyed. But fear not. I shall not kill you. I will merely crush that part of you, rendering your lineage impossible, and thus the He family shall cease to exist." The crowd shuddered at his words, instinctively tightening their legs. The notion of destroying Long Kong's manhood was utterly brutal. "You dare!" Long Kong, terror-stricken, struggled to rise, but was firmly pinned down by Lu Li's foot on his chest. "This is your last chance. Will you become my lackey or face obliteration?" Lu Li threatened. Long Kong was infuriated, never having encountered such a despicable scoundrel. He roared, "If you intend to strike, then do so. You will never see me bend." "Then let it explode." Lu Li lifted his foot, deliberately adjusting its position, then brought it crashing down with force, the air whistling in protest. Should he apply full pressure? Not even the hardest shell could withstand it, certain to shatter instantly, blood splattering in all directions. "Stop." Long Kong could no longer bear the weight of his fear. Screaming in desperation, with a whoosh, Lu Li halted his descent, yet the gust of wind generated continued to press down, stirring the earth into a swirling tempest of dust and debris. Chong Kong felt an intense pressure between his legs, accompanied by a slight sting, causing his heart to nearly leap into his throat. It was a narrow escape from utter ruin. Lu Li smiled mischievously and asked, "Have you changed your mind?" Chong Kong opened his mouth, struggling to articulate a response, his face shifting from pale to flush. Lu Li's smile faded, replaced by a cold demeanor. "You are wasting my time." With that, he feigned a step forward. "Wait. I am willing," Chong Kong blurted out, his spirit seemingly drained, leaving him deflated. He had noticed Lu Li's hesitation to strike, which emboldened him to resist for so long. Yet, the prospect of complete annihilation was unbearable. His establishment of the He family in Qingyun City was solely to ensure the continuation of the He lineage. Lu Li's threat struck directly at his core, shattering his last defenses, and he had no choice but to yield. "That is more like it. Cooperation leads to mutual benefit. Why be so obstinate?" Lu Li remarked. Chong Kong's beard quivered, and veins throbbed on his forehead. Was this truly cooperation? It felt more like coercion through brute force. "Get off the ground. Rise. From this moment, you and the He family shall be my subordinates," Lu Li commanded. "Could you not phrase it so harshly?" Chong Kong slowly got to his feet, his expression one of utmost despair. This scoundrel incessantly referred to him as a subordinate. Did he not possess any dignity as a formidable figure? "It's merely a title." "Do not dwell on such trivialities," Lu Li stated. Chong Kong hung his head, appearing dejected, yet resolutely thought. "A true man knows when to bend and when to stand firm. For now, I shall endure, but in the future, I will summon formidable experts from my sect to ensure you beg for mercy." Unfazed by Chong Kong's inner thoughts, Lu Li was focused on completing his mission and reaping the rewards. Having achieved half the task, he knew that elevating the He family to the status of the foremost clan would finalize it. However, this posed a significant challenge, as the current leading family in Qingyun City was the Lu family. For the He family to ascend to the top, it would necessitate overthrowing the Lu family. Lu Li silently questioned the system. Was this intentional? Not only was he required to betray the Lu clan, but he also had to topple them. How devious. No response was forthcoming from the system, maintaining its usual aloofness. He Changkong, where is the He family? I heard there are other formidable figures in the realm of the divine and the mysterious light. Show me. Lu Li resolved to gather information before strategizing for the title of the first family. He Changkong complied without resistance, stating, I purchased a residence where all the members are settled, not far from here. Follow me. Together. Lu Li and He Changkong disregarded the gazes of the onlookers and gradually departed, leaving behind a scene of devastation. The location of the 10-mile fragrant tavern had transformed into a wasteland, with the surrounding ground pockmarked and ravaged. The crowd stared at the desolate landscape, exchanging bewildered glances. Lin Miao Miao, in confusion, murmured, that scoundrel just left like that? Lin Xinghe spoke sternly, sister. He must possess at least the strength of the Earth Gang realm to have defeated He Changkong. Please be mindful of your words in the future. Lin Miao Miao pouted and retorted, he is indeed a scoundrel. I have not spoken incorrectly. However, upon noticing the severe gaze of Lin Xinghe, she quickly shifted the conversation. By the way, having subdued He Changkong and taken control of the He family, he won't pose a threat to the Lin family's position, will he? Lin Xinghe's expression remained grave, and he fell silent. Wang Jingtian approached, his demeanor serious as he stated, Lin Xinghe. With the He family establishing themselves in Qingyun City and the unpredictable factor of Lu Li stirring up trouble, chaos is imminent. The Wang and Lin families need to discuss matters. Lin Xinghe scoffed. Wasn't the Wang family in full agreement when the He family settled in Qingyun City? Wang Jingtian replied. The situation has changed. With Lu Li causing disturbances, we are uncertain if the Lu family is pulling the strings behind the scenes. This is dire. We have nothing further to discuss. Farewell. Disregarding Wang Jingtian, Lin Xinghe led the Lin family members away. What arrogance. One day, I shall bring ruin to the Lin family. Wang Jingtian's countenance darkened as he muttered curses under his breath. His gaze wandered, and he spotted Zhao Ting being assisted by 2 guards, preparing to leave, prompting him to follow swiftly. Zhao Ting, the situation in Qingyun City grows increasingly chaotic. The Wang and Zhao families must confer. Who wishes to confer with you? Get lost. Wang Jingtian watched Zhao Ting depart, his face turning ashen with anger. Those 2 scoundrels. They disregard me now, but in the future, I shall make them regret it. Humph. He stood motionless, his eyes glinting with a dangerous light, lost in thought. The events at the Fragrant Wine Pavilion quickly spread, and within half a day, the news permeated every street and alley, sending shockwaves throughout Qingyun City. Is He Changkong, a disciple of the Earth Gang realm from the Taishan sect, truly establishing the He family in Qingyun City? Can the 4 great families of Qingyun City acquiesce? And if they do not acquiesce, what then? He Changkong has the backing of the Taishan sect. Who would dare defy him? That is not the crux of the matter. The pivotal point is that Lu Li, the discarded son of the Lu family, actually defeated He Changkong. This cannot be mere falsehood. How could it be false? I was present, and I witnessed it with my own eyes. Lu Li easily brought He Changkong to his knees. Indeed, I saw it too. He Changkong even became Lu Li's lackey. It is rather amusing that He Changkong traveled all the way to Qingyun City, only to have his ambitions suppressed before he could even make his mark, resulting in the newly established He family being embroiled in his downfall. Truly a misfortune for him. Wasn't Lu Li previously incapable of cultivation? How has he suddenly become so formidable? What incapacity? That was merely a smokescreen released by the Lu family to confuse others. Lu Li is undoubtedly a peerless genius, having secretly cultivated until now, finally revealing his prowess and gaining fame in one battle. So, the expulsion of Lu Li from the Lu family was also a ruse. Absolutely. Such a talent could never be cast out from the family. It turns out that the true prodigy of the Lu family is not Lu Feng, but Lu Li. The depth of the Lu family strategy is truly astonishing. Their ability to endure for such a long time is remarkable. Indeed. Perhaps this recent incident was orchestrated by the Lu family from the shadows, first driving Lu Li out, only for him to later seize control of the He family as a free agent. Do you not find this suspicious? It certainly is peculiar. Could it be that the Lu family harbors some nefarious scheme? They wouldn't be aiming to dominate Qingyun City, would they? The various factions in Qingyun City were thrown into an uproar, rife with speculation and diverse opinions. Meanwhile, the Lu family, upon receiving the news, was equally shaken. Chapter 28. Lu Feng's scheme in the Lu family's council hall. The news that Lier had defeated He Changkong sent shockwaves through the room. He Changkong was a master of the Earth Gang realm. When had Lier grown so formidable? Yi Ling felt a mix of astonishment and joy. Lu Tian sat at the head of the table, his expression impassive, devoid of any visible emotion. yet a hint of unmistakable astonishment flickered in his eyes. Lu Shui stood nearby, her pretty face awash with shock and disbelief. Lu Feng clenched his hands tightly, his nails digging into his skin, jealousy flashing in his eyes as he quickly lowered his gaze to conceal it. Yi Ling exclaimed with delight. He Chong Kong is an inner disciple of the Taishan sect, reputed to possess the strength of the third layer of the Earth Gang realm. For Li heir to defeat him, he must be at least above the third layer of the Earth Gang realm himself. At just 20 years old, he has already reached the Earth Gang realm. His future is boundless. My dear, Li heir is a martial genius. We cannot allow him to be lost to the world. He must return to the family immediately. Lu Tian replied sternly. To allow him to return to the family, just like that would only invite ridicule from other factions. Where would that leave my reputation? Yi Ling retorted, displeased. Are you only concerned about your own reputation? Have you not considered Li heir's future? 20 years old, and at the Earth Gang realm. Such talent may even surpass Feng heir. If he remains outside the family without guidance, it could lead to a significant loss for us due to neglect in his training. Upon hearing this, Lu Feng trembled slightly, gripping his hands even tighter. Lu Shui, noticing Lu Feng's unusual reaction, cast a quick glance at him. A shadow of worry crossing her face. Father, mother, Lu Feng spoke slowly. Before I turn 20, I will surely break through to the Earth Gang realm. Yi Ling paused for a moment, looking at Lu Feng as if a thought struck her, and she quickly said, Feng heir, your talent is rare in this world. As long as you dedicate yourself to your training, I believe it will not be difficult for you to enter the Earth Gang realm by 20. Lu Tian added, Feng heir, do not concern yourself too much. Even if your elder brother possesses some talent, he cannot compare to you. You are backed by the Xiantian sect, and the techniques and martial arts you practice are of the highest caliber, providing a solid foundation far beyond that of ordinary individuals. The path of martial arts is not about the present, but rather who can venture the furthest. In this regard, your elder brother is vastly inferior to you. Even if he temporarily leads, there will come a day when you surpass him. Lu Feng straightened his back and smiled. I have no intention of comparing myself to my brother. I merely wish to say that the children of my parents are all dragons among men. Well said. Ha. Lu Tian laughed heartily and continued. Your brother has indeed undergone significant changes recently, but he made mistakes from the very beginning. He clearly possesses the ability to cultivate, yet has deceived us for so long, harboring distrust even towards his own kin. It is inconceivable for me to entrust the future of our family into his hands. Therefore, the rightful heir of the Lu family must be you. Even if, one day, your elder brother were to return, this fact would remain unchanged. Lu Feng smiled with increasing joy, saying, I have no desire for the position of heir. As long as the family thrives, it matters not who holds the title. Lu Tian and Yi Ling, listening to Lu Feng's selfless remarks prioritizing the family, nodded in satisfaction. However, Lu Shui gazed at her once-admired second brother, feeling an inexplicable sense of estrangement. His words struck her as profoundly hypocritical, and in that moment, she couldn't help but recall the death of Xiao Mei. What is happening to me? I should not doubt my second brother. He is generous, compassionate, and possesses impeccable character and temperament. He has treated me with kindness, and there is no way he could commit such an act. Lu Shui vigorously shook her head, dispelling the troubling thoughts from her mind. Yi Ling interjected, All right, let us return to the matter at hand. My husband, what are your thoughts regarding Li heir's return to the family? Lu Tian replied solemnly, I cannot allow him to return to the family. Otherwise, what authority would I have as his father? Unless he acknowledges his mistakes, there may be room for negotiation. Yi Ling responded with delight, Leave this matter to me. I will persuade him, and he will surely admit his fault. Suddenly, Lu Feng interjected, I believe that our elder brother's return to the family is not a favorable development. Lu Tian asked, What do you mean by that? Lu Feng explained, Elder brother has seized a disciple spot from He Chong Kong of the Taishan sect, and this will soon come to the sect's attention. Such a premier sect may allow disciple positions to be given, but they cannot be taken by force, or else we will encounter significant troubles. If elder brother returns, it could even implicate the family. Lu Tian furrowed his brow, acknowledging, You make a valid point. This matter must be approached with caution. Yi Ling added, Even if your elder brother does not return for the time being, the Taishan sect will undoubtedly seek him out. What shall we do then? Shall we simply stand by and watch? Lu Feng smiled, Mother, do not worry. Have you forgotten that I am a disciple of the Xiantian sect? I will request the sect to intervene and resolve this matter. Both are prominent sects of our time, and I trust that the Taishan sect will not disregard our request. Yi Ling beamed, That is splendid. It seems that Feng heir has a solution. Lu Tian remarked, If the Xiantian sect can indeed intervene, that would be most advantageous. However, would it not trouble them to take on such a matter? Lu Feng confidently replied, There is an elder in the sect who wishes to take me as a disciple. I will approach him, and there should be no significant issues. What? An elder of the Qingyun sect wishes to take you as a disciple? Lu Tian and Yi Ling exclaimed with delight. Lu Shui also felt joy for her second brother, her beautiful eyes sparkling with excitement. An elder of the Qingyun sect. A formidable figure of the Tian gang realm. If he were to accept Lu Feng as a disciple, the Lu family would undoubtedly ascend to new heights. This is truly a momentous opportunity. As Lu Tian and Yi Ling gazed at Lu Feng, their satisfaction deepened. He was indeed the prodigy of the Lu family, and the family's rise was imminent. The atmosphere within the hall transformed into one of jubilance. Lu Feng continued, until this matter is resolved, it would be prudent for you, elder brother, to refrain from returning to the family, lest you invite unnecessary troubles. Moreover, since you have already brought the He family under our banner, should you return at this juncture, the Wang and Zhao families would undoubtedly have their own designs and might conspire to oppose the Lu family. However, if you remain unencumbered, even with complete control over the He family, the other three clans would find it difficult to justify any aggression against us. This way, you can focus on nurturing and strengthening the He family, while we provide our covert support, ensuring everything proceeds smoothly. When the time is ripe, you can return to the Lu family, merging the He family into ours. At that point, the Lu family will soar to new heights, becoming the unrivaled power in Qingyun City, surpassing the city lord's estate. Upon hearing Lu Feng's words, the grand hall fell into a profound silence. Yi Ling and Lu Shui gazed at Lu Feng, their eyes shimmering with admiration. Lu Li regarded Lu Feng with approval, his gaze lingering before erupting into hearty laughter. Excellent. Fenger, I knew I was right about you. In both talent and strategy, you are exceptional. The position of heir to the Lu family is undoubtedly yours. Lu Feng's face glowed with pride, the corners of his mouth curling upwards. Yi Ling remarked, then let us proceed as Fenger suggests. But we should also confer with Lier to avoid any misunderstandings. Lu Tian nodded in agreement, saying, that sounds wise. Find a moment to meet him and have him acknowledge his mistake. As for returning to the family, we can postpone that until Fenger's matters are settled. Half an hour later, Lu Feng and Lu Shui exited the grand hall. As they walked side by side, Lu Shui suddenly spoke, second brother. Do you know that elder brother's maid, Xiao Mei, passed away yesterday? Lu Feng's gaze flickered momentarily as he replied, I have heard. Life is often so fragile. It can vanish without warning. Why do you ask? Lu Shui turned her gaze towards Lu Feng, hesitating before shaking her head. It's nothing, just a casual inquiry. I'm feeling a bit weary. I shall return to rest. With that, she walked in another direction. Lu Feng watched her retreating figure, his expression darkening slightly. It was only after she disappeared from sight that he redirected his gaze skyward, a cold smile creeping onto his lips. Third sister, do you know something? An elder brother. Since you have distanced yourself from the family, do not ever think of returning. I shall stoke the flames of this trouble with Taishian's sect. Let us see how you endure it. Chapter 29. Uninvited guests in Qingyun City, at the He family estate. The residence purchased by He Changkong was modest, merely a third the size of the Lu family estate. Nonetheless, for the newly established He family, such a scale was commendable. While it is referred to as the He family, this is somewhat misleading, as there was no signboard at the entrance. Only a pair of stone lions and 2 guards stationed at the gate. The estate required further embellishment, at the very least. The name He mansion should be displayed prominently. Lu Li wandered through the estate, initially intending to meet the He family's inner circle, but He Changkong's severe injuries had delayed him in recuperation. Early the next morning, He Changkong arrived with a group to pay a visit to Lu Li, an elderly man at the first level of the Earth Gang realm. Accompanied by 20 middle-aged men at the Xinguang realm, stood in a line before Lu Li, resembling soldiers awaiting inspection, each one standing tall, yet visibly anxious. The news of Lu Li's brutal beating of He Changkong had spread, and the latter now appeared swathed in bandages stained with blood, a sight both ghastly and unsettling. The members of the He family felt a chill in the face of such a merciless young man. Lu Li remarked, TSK, is it merely the elderly or middle-aged? Why is there such a severe aging issue? This is hardly conducive to the family's development. He Changkong felt a tinge of frustration. It was already a feat to gather these individuals, as who would join a newly established family if they were young and promising. Lu Li inquired, are these individuals disciples of the Taishian sect? He Changkong replied, impossible. They are friends I made during my earlier adventures. Lu Li nodded. Can the disciples of the Taishian sect freely establish families? He Changkong clarified, not at all. It requires the sect's approval, and moreover, the sect's martial skills and techniques cannot be passed down to descendants. Otherwise, their cultivation will be rendered null and void, and they will be treated as traitors. Lu Li pressed, be honest with me. Have you ever considered giving the Taishian sect disciple quota to someone else? Are you planning to reserve it for your future descendants? He Changkong awkwardly replied, What use is it to discuss this now? The token has already been seized by you. Lu Li remarked. Your compliance makes me uneasy. Have you notified the Taishan sect? If I am not mistaken, disciples from the sect will soon come looking for trouble, won't they? He Chong Kong's expression shifted, and he instinctively took a step back. Lu Li chuckled. No need to be alarmed. I understand. However, I wouldn't recommend such actions. That token holds little value for me. If you desire it, take it. With that, he produced the token and tossed it to He Chong Kong. He Chong Kong was taken aback, hesitating as he said, It's of no use to me. It's a one-time use token. You've already stained it with your blood, and others cannot utilize it. It must be returned to the sect for reforging. I see. Then please return it to me. It may prove useful in the future. Lu Li retrieved the token, pondering for a moment before stating, I wish to avoid conflict with the Taishan sect. Let us engage in a proper discussion. He Chong Kong asked, What do you wish to discuss? Lu Li replied, First and foremost, I must make it clear that I hold no interest in the He family. My control over the He family is merely temporary. Once the He family becomes the foremost family in Qingyun City, I will return it to you. Really? He Chong Kong's spirits lifted. This young man possessed formidable strength and the backing of the Lu family. If he were to lend his full support, perhaps the He family could indeed become the foremost family in Qingyun City. Yet, upon further reflection, he felt a sense of unease. The implication of this arrangement was that Lu Li intended to elevate the He family to the pinnacle of Qingyun City, only to reclaim it afterward. Such a fortuitous offer seemed too good to be true, and He Chong Kong sensed a lurking scheme. Lu Li stated, I keep my word. But I have one condition. During this period, you must obey me completely. He Chong Kong's gaze flickered, filled with doubt. Lu Li continued, Therefore, let us not involve the Taishan sect in our matters. Of course, if you refuse to comply, I cannot be held responsible for any harsh consequences. A tremor coursed through He Chong Kong's heart as images of being ruthlessly beaten by Lu Li flashed in his mind. He hastily replied, Do not misunderstand. I have not informed the Taishan sect. Lu Li responded, Yet you have harbored such thoughts, and you still do you not? He Chong Kong fell silent, tacitly acknowledging the truth. Lu Li remarked, Life often presents choices, and when one makes a wrong choice, the price can be one's very life. Ponder this carefully. After a moment of contemplation, He Chong Kong inquired, What benefits do you derive from this? Once my family is restored, what will you gain? Lu Li replied, The benefits I reap are considerable, though I shan't disclose them. However, I can assure you, it will be a mutually beneficial arrangement. The decision to collaborate rests solely upon your words. He Chong Kong's expression shifted repeatedly as he hesitated for a long while before finally gritting his teeth and declaring, Very well, I shall cooperate with you. Lu Li smiled, Excellent. You have made the right choice. From this moment forth, we shall strive towards becoming the foremost family. First, we must clarify what constitutes the leading family. He Chong Kong asserted, Naturally, it is the overall strength of the martial artists that matters most. Currently, we are far from that. We must continue to recruit formidable talents. Lu Li frowned, But how long must we wait for that? He Chong Kong replied, Such matters cannot be rushed. We must take our time. Lu Li countered, That will not suffice. I cannot afford to wait. The He family must become the foremost family in Qingyun City within a month. How is that even possible? He Chong Kong exclaimed, astonished. Lu Li responded, Nothing is impossible. If necessary, we will directly subdue the 4 great families. Then the He family will naturally ascend to the top. He Chong Kong retorted, You are being reckless. A truly powerful family must first ensure the continuation of its bloodline. Currently, I am the sole heir of the He family, which is a significant issue. I believe our primary task now is to take in wives and concubines, to produce offspring as swiftly as possible. Stop. Lu Li could no longer bear to listen. This old man, whether genuinely seeking to propagate his lineage or merely indulging his own desires, seemed unashamed to speak such words at his advanced age. Lu Li declared, If you wish to procreate, I will not hinder you. But if you want the He family to become the leading family, you must heed my counsel. He Chong Kong, feeling somewhat embarrassed, conceded, Very well, what do you propose we do? Lu Li replied, I must contemplate this carefully, head of the family. At that moment, a burly man rushed in urgently. He Chong Kong asked, What is it? The man replied, There are individuals outside seeking to pledge their allegiance. Lu Li was somewhat taken aback that someone had come so swiftly, yet he was not overly concerned, knowing that He Chong Kong could handle such matters. He Chong Kong's face brightened. Who are they? What is their cultivation level? The burly man remarked, She calls herself Situ Mingwe, a master of the Shuangguang realm. He Long Kong paused for a moment, taken aback. Situ Mingwe? A woman? Lu Li's expression shifted with surprise as he interjected, Situ Mingwe? Isn't she the protector of the Zhao family's young master? Why has she come to seek refuge with the He family? He Long Kong inquired, Do you know her? If she is from the Zhao family, then she should be sent away immediately. Understood. The burly man responded, turning to leave. Luli called out, "Wait. Bring Situ Mingwei here. After being beaten so badly last time, she still dares to come here. I must see what that woman intends, if necessary. I shall deal with her decisively to prevent any future turmoil." Chapter 30. The road before long. Situ Mingwei approached, her hips swaying with each step, a charming smile gracing her lips as she came before Luli. Heilong Kong was instantly captivated by the intoxicating fragrance that enveloped her, his gaze fixated in awe. This woman exuded an undeniable allure, stirring within him a primal desire akin to an old bull yearning for tender grass. "Young Master Lu, we meet again," Situ Mingwei purred, casting a sultry glance his way, exuding boundless temptation. Luli remained unmoved, scrutinizing her with curiosity. "Situ Mingwei, have your injuries healed? You've recovered rather swiftly." Situ Mingwei rolled her eyes at him, feigning innocence as she lamented, "You say that, yet the last time. You inflicted such pain upon me without a shred of compassion, truly a rogue." When she mentioned the rogue, a playful glimmer danced in her eyes, her dulcet tones evoking myriad thoughts. Luli disregarded her charm, perplexed. "Aren't you at the 5th level of the Shuangguang realm? How have you advanced to the 7th level so quickly? Have you taken some elixir?" Situ Mingwei giggled, covering her mouth. "It seems you care for me quite a bit, knowing my realm so well." Each of her movements was enchanting, radiating an irresistible allure. Heilong Kong's eyes widened, practically shimmering with desire as he licked his lips. Captivated by her voluptuous form, what a temptress, he mused internally. With such ample bosom and a curvaceous figure, she would surely bear children well. How splendid it would be to have her in my harem. He pondered the nature of her connection with Luli, resolving to inquire later for any potential opportunity. Situ Mingwei sensed Heilong Kong's lecherous gaze but paid it no mind, instead throwing him a flirtatious wink. Luli was speechless. This woman did not even spare the elderly. Truly a vixen. Heilong Kong, caught off guard, experienced a rush of blood, causing him to bleed from his nostrils. He quickly covered it, awkwardly explaining, "I sustained severe injuries yesterday. My wounds have flared up again." "Ha!" Luli scoffed. "What a lecherous old man." Situ Mingwei giggled, her laughter like the rustling of flowers. Luli interjected, "Situ Mingwei, could you refrain from cackling like a hen? It's quite unpleasant." Gagging slightly, Situ Mingwei shot him an indignant glare, her face flushed with embarrassment and anger. Does this fellow even know how to speak? I was laughing beautifully, and he dares to say I sound like a hen. How utterly ridiculous. Heilong Kong gazed intently at Situ Mingwei, chuckling. "Do not heed his words. I find your laughter to be exceedingly melodious, indeed akin to the music of the heavens." Situ Mingwei, with her chest held high, allowed a proud smile to grace her features. This fellow may lack appreciation, yet there are certainly others who will admire her. Although they may be somewhat aged, they are still men, and if even the most weathered can be enchanted by her, it speaks volumes of her irresistible allure. Therefore, it is not that she lacks seduction, but rather that Luli has his own issues. Could it be that he simply does not fancy women? Luli interjected with a grin. "All right, that was merely a jest. To return to the matter at hand, are you here to seek refuge with the He family?" Situ Mingwei inhaled deeply, a beguiling smile reappearing on her face. "I am not seeking refuge with the He family. I am here to ally myself with you." Luli responded, "And what purpose does this alliance serve? We are, after all, adversaries." Situ Mingwei replied, "I come to transform our enmity into friendship. Having departed from the Zhao family, I find myself with nowhere to go, utterly alone. Surely, you would offer me shelter?" With that, she cast a pitiful glance at Luli, showcasing her most vulnerable side, evoking a sense of compassion that made rejection difficult. Yet, Luli remained unmoved, chuckling. "Are you not afraid of me? I am, after all, the wicked man you just mentioned." Situ Mingwei responded with a seductive smile. "It is precisely wicked men who understand how to cherish a woman. They are my favorite." Luli retorted, "Do not attempt to seduce me. I am not swayed by such tactics. What is the matter with him? Why does he remain untouched by her charms? Could it be that her allure has waned? Or is it possible this scoundrel truly has no interest in women? I refuse to believe there exists a man whom Situ Mingwei cannot conquer, even if he is straight. I shall bend him to my will." Situ Mingwei resolved fiercely within, yet outwardly displayed a look of melancholy, her pitiable demeanor indeed stirring sympathy. Heilong Kong, unable to contain himself, felt a sudden itch in his nose, as if he might bleed, and quickly pinched it shut. What is happening? Why do I feel such a strong reaction? Has this woman mastered the art of seduction? Heilong Kong realized something was amiss, though he was indeed lecherous. This was beyond typical bounds. He discreetly circulated his inner energy to maintain clarity of mind. Luli declared, "Do not seek refuge with me. I will not take you in. You should leave." Situ Mingwei hastily insisted, "I wish to remain by your side." Luli scoffed, "That is impossible. I know your intentions are anything but noble. Do not think that your mere beauty can entice me. Whatever your scheme may be, I advise you to depart quickly, lest I be forced to eliminate you. A flicker of intrigue passed through Situ Mingyue's eyes. She had indeed mastered the art of enchanting hearts with mere conversation, and few men could resist her charm. Yet, Lu Li appeared entirely unaffected, as if an invisible force shielded him from her allure, igniting her curiosity even further. Lu Li, I shall ensure that you succumb to my charms, Situ Mingyue vowed silently, determined to possess both his unique constitution and conquer this man. Suddenly, He Longkong spoke up. Situ Mingyue, since young Master Lu seems disinterested, you may accompany me. He remained fixated on the grand ambition of fathering 10 offspring in a year, and the woman before him possessed an appealing beauty, rendering her a suitable candidate for his harem. However, Situ Mingyue's expression turned icy, her charming demeanor vanishing in an instant, as if she had transformed into a different person, becoming cold and unfeeling. Why should I linger by your side? She retorted. He Longkong suddenly sensed the alluring aura emanating from Situ Mingyue dissipate, yet her frigid demeanor only intensified his desire for possession. He gazed at her with fervor, declaring, Do you not fancy bad men? I am one. Situ Mingyue was taken aback, almost unable to refrain from cursing him, even in times of desperation. She would never stoop to pursuing such an old fool. She scrutinized He Longkong for a prolonged moment, then quipped, I do like bad men, but I do not favor those who have grown decrepit. He Longkong felt as though he had been struck by 1,000 blows, his countenance darkening in an instant. Was he truly a man who had aged poorly, or had he erred? In his youth, he had been handsome and dashing, but age had now rendered him a shadow of his former self. How dare this woman mock him? Ha ha! Lu Li could not contain his laughter. Assessing He Longkong from head to toe, nodding repeatedly, she speaks the truth. You are indeed a man who has aged poorly, not only in body but in mind as well.